The story begins in the office of Ultimate High School as teacher Lee hands the credentials of all the transferred students to the principal asking what they should do. The principal responds by saying that they have worked hard to get these students, so they should act before they get taken by other schools. In another school, we see Kang Hae-hyo getting punched in the stomach by another student while recalling how he was a normal student until middle school but is now a loner. As he is suffering from the pain, Dong-pal asks him why he didn't show up in the PC room, while the other student, Kwang-soo, says that he needs a beating since he hasn't been beaten up for a while now. Kang Hae apologizes to Dong-pal, saying that his mother caught him yesterday. Dong-pal becomes angry at him and asks him if he thinks only his mother is scary and not he. He then proceeds to grab Kang Hae's head while saying that he does need a beating. Kang Hae asks him to forgive him this time and promises that he will show up in the evening with the money. Dong-pal ignored his pleas, and as he was about to hit up, an announcement happened calling all three of them to the school gate. Kang Hae gets relieved upon hearing this. Dong-pal gets surprised and wonders if there is a camera in the bathroom as they called only the three of them. He wonders why they are called to the school gate instead of the faculty room. Kwang-soo replies that he will find out once they go there. Dong-pal tells Kang Hae not to say anything to teachers, and Kang Hae immediately nods. Dong-pal then says that they should act like close friends now so the teachers don't get suspicious. At the school gate, teacher Lee is waiting for them, and when they arrive, she asks them to get on the bus. They were surprised as they did not know her and asked why they needed to get on the bus. She answers that she will tell them once they are on the bus, and that this matter has already been discussed and agreed upon by the schools and parents. Dong-pal remarks that it must be a field trip while getting on the bus, but their happiness is short-lived as the bus is filled with hooligans and troublemakers. One of the boys on the bus called Dong-pal fly shit and told him to be next to him, and while holding his neck, asked him if he used to be a weak kid in middle school and now he is the king in this shitty school. Dong-pal nods in response. Kang Hae is surprised as their school king is unable to do anything there, and he is too nervous and cannot ask any questions when even Kwang-soo and Dong-pal are not saying a word. He wondered where this bus was heading while being sandwiched by two strong, muscular guys. Teacher Lee greets everyone and starts to explain to them the reason why they were all on this bus. She tells them that the problems regarding school violence are quite serious. As she was explaining this, a few of the students started laughing while saying that there are a lot of problems because of idiots and today's youths are bitchy. She continues and says that the school district wants to solve this problem, so they rounded up a bunch of poisonous mushrooms like them and created the Ultimate High School to make them better people. The students became angry upon hearing them call poisonous mushrooms and shouted at them why she thought they would follow this trashy work. She calmly replies yes, saying that since they got on the bus, they have no choice now. They got up from their seats and told her to move aside, saying that they would leave the school, but all of them were left shocked, as when they looked out of the window, they saw the sky, and they all shouted at once that the bus was flying. We see that the bus is being carried by a helicopter in the air. Kang Hae contemplates that the Ultimate High School makes sense for the other kids, but why is he on the bus as well? Teacher Lee thanks them for not leaving and coming here together. She then congratulates them on joining the Ultimate High School. In the sky, we see many buses like theirs being carried by helicopters heading towards an island. Upon landing on the island, as Kang Hae walked around, he bumped into a blonde guy and immediately apologized, and the blonde guy warned him to look where he was going if he did not want to get beaten up. Kang Hae nodded and apologized. He contemplates that this place is too dangerous for him and how did he ended up in such a scary place. After a while, one of the helicopters landed at the nearby cliff, and from there the principal introduced himself and welcomed them all to the Ultimate High School and congratulated them. The students started shouting at him, and there is nothing to be happy about here, and demanded that he send all of them back to their homes. He ignored their shouting and asked them if they are hungry, and then after a while tells them that if they want to eat then they should come to the school, and the helicopter flew away with this. All the students were shocked at this, and one of them started to run towards the ocean while saying that he does not care if he has to swim, he will return home at any cost, but is shocked to see a shark, and they all realize that they cannot leave here. One of them remarks that it is impossible to leave and the only way to eat is to find the school. They all started to walk through the forest while cursing. Meanwhile, Dong-pal and Kwang-soo were wondering where Kang Hae was, as they had not seen him since landing on the island. As they were talking to each other, the guy in the cap shouted, telling them to go with him. They both immediately nodded and started to run toward him. and Dong Pal cursed that he would kill Kong Hei once he saw him. Kong Hei, seeing all this unfold while hiding behind one of the bushes, lets out a sigh of relief once they leave and remarks that he should be careful not to be seen by them, as they will beat him up. He contemplates that he does not know the reason why he is here, but he has to get out of there at any cost. As he started to walk away, someone called out to him from the bushes, asking him if he had a tissue. Kong Hei replied that he did not have it and started to leave, but that person shouted at him, saying that he had seen his face already and that if he tried to leave, he would find him and kill him. Kong Hei immediately plucks a leaf and offers it to the person, who in turn shouts at him that he is trying to find a hamburger in the Stone Age. Kong Hei then offered his socks. The person yells and curses at him, saying that he is probably someone who eats from the toilet, and later Kong Hei's uniform is ripped for him. After a while, a girl walks out of the bush and thanks him. Kong Hei replies that he is happy to help. The girl then tells him that his uniform is in the bush so he can either throw it away or wear it, and she then tells him that she recommends throwing it away and then leaves. Kong Hei was left speechless on seeing a girl like this. Meanwhile, as students kept walking towards the school, the guy in front shouted while telling everyone to take a 10-minute break. But since all were tires, they stopped. The guy in the cap stopped and remarked that there were all kinds of troublesome guys there. Dong Pal tried to flatter him and said that since he was strong, he would be the king for sure. The guy in the cap punches him in the face and tells him that he needs to know what kind of guys are around them. He added that these bastards are from top poor schools. They are reverse school thugs who are famous for just their school. While pointing towards a silver-haired guy, he said that he was the king of that school who took over the school of punks in his first year only. He then pointed towards a blonde guy in a hoodie and said that he was Myung in Haeyoung Suri, and he would beat up any guy if they gave him money, and he had never lost once. Then he pointed towards another guy, saying that he was Young Jinsan Haipin Hanul, and said that he is good at fighting, but since he is usually vicious, he only gets satisfied when he wins. He further added that there are even rumors that he went to a reformatory school. He then pointed towards several guys, telling them how strong they are, and said that this place is filled with monsters. He further added that there are probably about whom he does not know. He then says that to say he will be the king of all these guys. Dong Pal is trying to make fun of him, so he starts to beat up Dong Pal. Dong Pal started apologizing and begged him to forgive him just this once, and he said this as he did not know anything. The guy stops and mocks Dong Pal, saying that a loser like him would know nothing, so he will forgive him once. Dong Pal thanked him. The guy laughed and said that he was relieved that Dong Pal and Kwang Su were there. Dong Pal said to Kwang Su that they are screwed, who in turn said that they do have Kong Hei. Dong Pal then asked the guy who he thinks will be the king of this school. The guy, while thinking hard, says that he is not sure, but if he has to pick someone, then he will for sure pick Sambyul's 3-star leader. He said that that guy had control over that area's middle school as a preschooler, and he was scouted by gangsters. He further adds that it is said that when he threw a punch, dragons would come out of his fist and end it all. Dong Pal and Kwang Su were surprised to hear this and cheered that dragons come out of the fist. The guy then said that this person disappeared after middle school, and he added that if he was here then he would surely be the king of this school. They then asked what the name of this person was. The guy answered that his name was Kong Hei Hyo, leaving Dong Pal and Kwang Su speechless. Meanwhile, we see Kong Hei walk over to the girl, and he calls her a shitting girl and tells her to wash his uniform. She replies to him that she does not want to and if he is going to fight her for that. He contemplates that this place is full of monsters, and he cannot look down on her just because she is a girl, so he tells her that now he also thinks that he should just throw away his uniform. She then warns him that if he calls her shitting girl one more time, then she will kill him. She then tells him that they should now look for the school. She then picks up a baby boar while calling it cute. Upon seeing this, Kong Hei thinks that she is just like other female students. Just as he was thinking this, she suddenly lights a lighter and starts to heat the baby boar while saying that she wonders if it will taste good. Kong Hei shouts at her to let the baby boar go while shouting that its mother must be nearby. She glares at him while asking who he thinks he is, but just then a wild boar jumps out of the bushes, and they both start running for their lives as the wild boar chases them. The girl says that Kong Hei was right while running. The rest of the students arrived at the school entrance, and some of them were astonished by how the school was built in the middle of the mountains. The others started wondering where the food was as they had arrived at the school, but still no sign of food. Some wanted to go and talk with the principal, Meanwhile, in the principal's office, teacher Lee tells him that 2 students have gone missing. The principal asks her about who those 2 students are. She tells him that they are Kang Hae-hyo and Kang Hae-ri. The principal immediately confirms with her if she meant the most dangerous student, Kang Hae-hyo, and she responds. He then starts shouting while telling her to find them. He then contemplates that if Kang Hae does something awful with the female student, then it's the end for Ultimate High School before it has even started, and he does not realize that what he was saying has been relayed to all the students through the mic. After hearing this conversation, the students started talking about it, and they were all excited after hearing Kang Hae-hyo's name. Some started saying if he was the Kang Hae who controlled the middle school in Gangbuk district, then he was the most powerful candidate for king here. The guy with Dongpal and Kwang-soo started to praise Kang Hae. He told them how awesome he was. They both were sweating. Dongpal asked Kwang-soo if surely it could not be their lackey Kang Hae, and why would the 3-star leader be their lackey. Kwang-soo mentions that he may have wanted to lead a life like a normal student, which made them both freak out. Everyone kept cheering his name. The 2 guys from the 3-star school talked with each other about it. One of them said that it was so like Kang Hae to have a flashy entrance and started to get ready to welcome him back to the 3-star school. The other mentioned that he could finally get to know why he disappeared all of a sudden. Meanwhile, in the principal's office, teacher Lee comes back with Kang Hae's dirty uniform, which had been thrown away. She tells the principal that other than this uniform with poop, she cannot find anything else. The principal responded that it would be too late even if she did find them now. He tells her that he opened this school because he wanted to give all these punks a chance by letting them know that they can be bad at studies. But that does not mean that they are useless, and he wanted to provide them with a ray of hope, but it all ends now. As they were discussing it, they heard the students cheering loudly for Kang Hae-hyo. The principal immediately jumped from his seat, cursing Kang Hae and shouting that he would kill him. But once he opened the window, he was shocked upon saying that Kang Hae-ri was supporting Kang Hae to walk as they were coming towards the school. The students were cheering loudly for his name, and Kang Hae-ri was shocked to hear that his name was Kang Hae-hyo. Kang Hae, who was almost certain that he would be an outcast here and die, was shocked to find a welcoming atmosphere for him. After a while, all the students went to their dorms, and Kang Hae-hyo and Kang Hae-ri were called to the principal's office, where they told him that nothing happened, and the principal mentioned that he was glad to hear that. Kang Hae-hyo also tells him that he does not think that he should be here and that there has been some sort of misunderstanding. The principal replies that he understands and then tells them to go and rest in their dormitories. Kang Hyo went to bed happily, thinking that he would be able to return home tomorrow. But the next day, to his surprise, he was standing on the school grounds with other students, and he was also wearing the school's uniform. The principal then started to welcome all of them as students of Ultimate High, and then told them that he was proud to see them all in the school's uniform and informed them that classes had been set, so they should now pick up class monitors. The students immediately started yelling and fighting at this, and one of them took the lead and said that a study or a height contest would not do any good here. Also, it will make perfect sense for the strongest to be the class monitor. Teacher Lee gets angry at him, but the principal stops her nods in agreement and tells all of them to gather up in the gym as they will have the class monitor picking contest there. Kang Hae-hyo again approaches the principal and tells him that he thinks he misunderstood him yesterday when he told him that he should not be in this school. The principal replied and left. He started to show his gratitude to him. The principal contemplates how dangerous this guy is. He is telling such an obvious lie with such an innocent face. Just then, Dongpal and Kwang-soo came running towards Kang Hyo. Kang Hyo immediately panicked upon seeing them, as he thought that these 2 would kill him now, but to his surprise, they bowed down in front of him and started apologizing to him. They told him that they did not know that he was Kang Hae-hyo, the legendary fighter of the Gangbuk district. Kang Hyo finally understood what was going on here, why all the guys cheered for him last night, and why the principal ignored his words that he did not belong there. Kang Hyo remarks that everyone thinks of him as the legendary fighter of Gangbuk district now. He contemplates that he is feeling shit at this moment. He looked at Dongpal and Kwang-soo and thought to himself that these guys only bullied him because he was weaker than them, but he then decided to have his way now that he was the legendary King Kang Hae-hyo. He bursts out laughing in front of them and tells them he cannot help now that they know his real identity. He tells them that he will not feel good even if he blends them into a smoothie and drinks them. He further adds that he will forgive them once though, as he has a kind heart. they started thanking him and promising to pay him back for everything they did wrong in the past. Kang Hyo kept laughing and told them that they would have to, and now he would make them taste hell. Dong Pal then suggested that they should now go to the gym. Kang Hyo tells him that his legs are hurting today and he is tired, so he does not feel like walking. Dong Pal and Kwang Soo immediately understood their assignment, picked him up, and started to carry him to the gym on their shoulders. Once they arrived at the gym, everyone was shocked to witness such a scene. But Kang Hyo immediately regretted his decision. He thought that he dug his own grave and started to think of some way to get out of the situation. But by then Dong Pal and Kwang Soo started shouting while telling everyone that the Class 1 monitor would be Kang Hyo, and if anyone has problems with that, then they should step forward now. The principal was joyful at this and remarked that now Nag Hyo is showing his true colors, and no matter how cheeky he tries to act, he knows that he is the best fighter in all of the schools. Kong Ri was also shocked to see this. She wondered what this idiot was doing and contemplated that he was asking for a beating. Meanwhile, outside the school, two boys go over to Pai Han, asking why he is not in there, where all the guys are fighting over who is going to be the class monitors. He casually replies to them that they are not in middle school anymore, and he does not care about who is going to become the class monitor because if anyone bothers him, he will just beat him up. One of the boys then wondered that if Pai Han was not going to become the class monitor, then who would? The other guy replies that maybe Kang Hyo will become the class monitor. Pai Han was surprised at hearing this name, and he confirmed that they said Kang Hyo. They told him that he probably did not know since he went to a high school in the province and got transferred here. Kang Hyo was a well-known punk in middle school from Kongbuk. One of the boys tells him that he does not know because he was asleep, but he kidnapped a female student on just the first day of arriving here. Pai Han then calms himself down, thinking that he is not the guy from the middle school in Seoul, and remarks that he nearly stopped breathing upon the mention of his name. The boys mention that they should go and see the fights, as it will be interesting because all the good fighters from Seoul and the Gyeonggi district are here. Pai Han gets up and says that it should be fun, and he wants to see what kind of losers are trembling with fear. Meanwhile, at the gym, the two boys from the 3-star school were looking at all this. Then one of them suddenly tells his friend Yu Sang that he is going to beat this kid up as he is pretending to be Kang Hyo, who stops Choi Jang-woo telling him that they are only picking the class monitor at the moment, so there is no need to interfere and they will have all the time to beat him up, but first they should see what kind of guy he is. He says that they will not let go of the guy who is pretending to be Kang Hyo. Choi Woo asks if Kang Hyo really did not come here and complains that this is unfair as even a model student like him came here but he did not. Yu Sang tells him that he is probably not here as they did not see him. He further adds that it is weird to him as he feels like Kang Hyo is here. Teacher Lee complains to the principal that she does not feel that fighting is a proper way to select the class monitor. The principal asks her if she likes dogs and then tells her that he likes them and they are raising puppies. They always started to fight each other whenever they got the chance, so he brought a large dog who put all of the puppies in line, and there were no more fights after that. Teacher Lee did not understand why the principal was telling her about dogs and puppies. The principal then tells her that he has prepared something. As Teacher Lee was wondering what he had prepared, he heard footsteps next to her and saw a boy jumping while declaring that the Class 1 monitor would be him. Then another boy jumps who says that he will be the Class 2 monitor, and finally a third guy jumps declaring that he will be the Class 3 monitor. The other students wondered if someone was daring enough to challenge Kang Hyo. Meanwhile, the principal informs Teacher Lee that these are students of martial arts that he has specifically prepared as wild cards, and he compares them with dogs, calling all other students puppies, saying that these will keep them in line. The three boys who just arrived brought out several baseball bats, and two of them hit the one who declared he was going to be a Class 1 monitor with baseball bats at once, and both the bats broke. All the other students were left awestruck by this. The boy then proceeds to kick through a bunch of bats and break them all in a single kick, and he then stands in front of them and says that he will be his opponent. Dong Pal and Kwang Soo remark that if they get hit by that kick, they will die, and they say that even Kang Hae Hyo will be a goner if he gets hit by this guy's kick. Just then, Pai Han arrived at the gym and was left shocked. He exclaimed that it was the Grim Reaper. The two boys next to him were surprised upon hearing Grim Reaper and asked Pai Han what exactly he meant by Grim Reaper. They ask him that does he know 3 stars Kang Hae Hyo. He responds that are they telling him he is the 3 stars Kang Hae Hyo? He tells that he is the Grim Reaper Kang Hae Hyo. One of them asks him that he is not the 3 stars Kang Hyo but the Hell's Lion. He tells them that he is not part of 3 stars and he was number 1 in Daegu before he transferred, and he fought anyone and everyone alone and they all lost, and that is the reason he is called the Grim Reaper. He remarks that he is the reason he transferred to Seoul, but he never expected to see that monster here. The tall guy introduced himself as Park Tae-ho while standing in front of Kang Hyo and said that he was a specialist in martial arts. He started telling him about his life story and how he had lived in a men-only world till 1 week before coming here, when for the first time in his life, he met a female student on a blind date. But a day before his coming here, the female student finds out that he is a high school student. So she hits him in the crotch and warns him that if she ever sees him again, then he is dead. He blames Kang Hyo for all this, as the principal has asked him to lead all these students, and he has told him that Class 1 Kang Han Hyo is a special student. Park Tae assures the principal that he will beat Kang Hyo and become the monitor, but the principal tells him not to use violence and harm the student. Park Tae recalls all of the principal's words, and if they are true, then how is he supposed to subdue this monster without hurting him? Kang Hyo wondered why this guy was not hitting him. Then he thought that this guy also thought of him as 3 stars Kang Hyo, so that is why he hesitated. He then decides that he can escape this dangerous situation, and he just needs to act like 3 stars Kang Han Hyo. He starts laughing and mocks Park Tae, asking him if he is nervous and saying that he will give him a fair warning. Park Tae immediately starts boiling up with anger once he hears him laugh, and he decides that he does not care about the order anymore. Firstly, he is going to beat up the person standing in front of him. He then punches Kang Hyo straight in the face, which makes Kang Hyo fall, and then runs towards him, yelling that he wants to see which one of them is the better fighter. But Kang Hyo is not moving at all, and Park Tae remarks that it is the end already while laughing and says that the mission has been accomplished. All the students were surprised by this, and they started talking about how the 3-star leader lost like this, and some of them said that he was just a fake. The guy next to Pai-han asks him if he ran away from Seoul because of this loser who got knocked out by a single punch. Pai-han could not believe this, even though he had seen it with his own eyes. Meanwhile, Kang Hyo's heart started beating faster. He felt like he was going to die, but he felt calm all of a sudden, and he recalled memories of beating up several guys at once, and then he found himself standing in front of a truck about to be run over, and he suddenly snapped back to reality and got up. He stood up while wondering what those memories were, and the crowd started cheering once again. Someone shouted that there was no way that Kang Bok's ultimate legend would go down in just 1 punch. Park Tae also tells him that he was surprised, as he thought that he had passed out just from 1 punch. Kang Hyo wondered if he should be scared in this situation, but he was not. Instead, he is excited, and he is feeling confident that he can beat the guy in front of him. He provokes Park Tae by telling him to come at him and laugh. Park Tae immediately started running towards him. Kang Hyo thinks that since T had come to then, he will just go crazy. Kang Ri shouted from the crowd to stop and rush towards Park Tae while cursing him and saying that she had warned him that if she saw him again, he would be dead. Park Tae realizes that she is the female student he went out with and asks what she is doing there. She answered that she was here for school and told him that she went out on the blind date on behalf of her sister because she requested her to do so. Park Tae begins to guard his crotch with his hands while thinking if he gets kicked again here it will be bad. But Kang Ri jumps high in the air and kicks him in the head and then gives him a side kick to the face and finally a kick to his crotch that made him fall. The students started wondering who she was as she took down the big guy easily, and one of them wondered if she was going to be the class monitor of Class 1. But others said that Kang Hyo was standing so they would fight and the winner would be the class monitor. Kang Ri tells Kang Hyo to come with him, who unintentionally called her queen shit this time, and she got annoyed again and told him that if he calls her names again, then he will be dead. And they started to leave the gym. Others were asking how they could leave without fighting, but they just left. Teacher Lee asked the principal. Then one of the guys he boasted so much about saying that he would keep these students in line has already been defeated. The principal told her that it was because there was a variable in this fight, but there would be no more variables now. As the Class 2 guy, Pandol got ready and started to curse all of the students while challenging them. He was a national judo master, and anyone caught by him could not escape. The principal says that his only weakness is his loud voice and vulgar language. But then one of the guys from the crowd stepped forward, laughing and saying that he wanted to just watch from the sidelines, but the Pandol is too noisy. He mocks him and announces to every student that he will shut this pig's squealing. Pandol got extremely angry as he was called a pig. Meanwhile, we see Kang Hyo standing on the terrace while wondering what exactly those memories were. He contemplates that if he was a very strong guy like his memories had been telling him, he wondered if he could be the 3-star leader, Kang Hae-hyo. Kang Ri approached him and said that she saved his life, but she did not get even a thanks. Kang Hyo tells her that she did not save him, as that was his moment to stand up and step on the big guy. He tells her that he is only letting her go because she is a girl and says that he is the 3-star leader Kang Hyo. Kang Ri tells him that if he is going to lie, then he should at least see who his opponent is. She says that he is just spouting bullshit about 3-star and says that she knows he is just a weakling and the other members of 3-star are here, and asks him if he is going to continue to lie. Kang Hyo apologizes to her, saying that he will not lie again, and asks her how she knows about all this. She answers that it is simple because she is 3-star leader Kang Hae-hyo. Kang Hyo was surprised at hearing this. She continues that he was probably brought here for having the same name. Kang Hyo finds it funny and thought that the shitting girl is 3-star leader Kang Hae-hyo, so he took a stance and says then he is Bruce Lee. She is surprised at this reaction and tells him this is not a time to be joking around, and she is serious about this conversation. She tells him that her father was the 4th generation of the family, having only sons and the head 5 daughters and no sons. After 4 daughters, he wanted to have an heir, so he wanted a boy badly, and he ended up naming her Kang Hae-hyo ahead of time. After she was born, she was raised as a boy, and by the time she entered middle school, she had already become the leader of the Kongbuk area. Kang Hyo says that the reason she disappeared afterward was because her hormones started working, and then her breasts popped and but filled out to make her all curvy. She kicks him and tells him to stop imagining it. She says that is one of the reasons, but the other reason is that she met someone who showed her the limits of a woman's body. Kang Hyo was surprised at this and asked her who this person was. She tells him his name is Seo Jun, and he is the Gangnam area's total #1 boss. He is the guy who is standing in the gym staring down at Pandol and mocks him again, saying that is why the baby pig is waiting, and he shouts to start the fight already. Pandol thought that this young idiot was looking down on him as he was telling him to start the fight while he was still defenseless. He then decided to show him who is the boss by pinning him to the ground, lunges forward and grabbing his jacket, shouting that he got him. But Seo Jun immediately ducks and takes off his jacket and throws away Pandol along with his jacket, which leaves all the students surprised. He then calls Pandol an idiot for only building muscles and says that he does not know even the basics of fighting. Teacher Lee asked the principal if he cut all his hair. The principal replies that, of course, he is going to keep his promise. Pandol, while lying on the ground, thinks that since his opponent is strong, he will go for his legs. Meanwhile, Kang Ri tells Kang Hyo about Seo Jun, telling him that the guy has good fighting sense and is good at judo, jujitsu, and wrestling type skills. But she then continues that the most surprising thing was that he is even better at kicking some and knocking them down. She further adds that he had experience, skills, and monstrous strength, and she could not find a weakness in this monster at all. Meanwhile, in the gym, we see Seo Jun's sidekick Pandol's face, then straight kick him in the face, and to finish it off, he gives him an upper kick straight at his head and puts him to sleep on the ground. After this, Teacher Lee teased the principal that he would have to cut all his hair now. The principal then simply took off his wig. Teacher Lee felt the need to cuss him as he was bald to begin with. Meanwhile, on the terrace, Kang Ri tells Kang Hyo that, in a way, Seo Jun might be the strongest man in Seoul, since he is the one who showed her the limits of a woman's body. After hearing this, Kang Hyo climbed up the fence, which surprised Kang Ri, and she asked him what exactly he was doing. She tells him that it is dangerous there and he should come down. He tells her that in this place filled with monsters, he will just have to live with no friends and get picked on. So instead of going through all that pain, it might be better just to die now. Kang Ri calls him a loser for thinking like this and asks him if he thinks if he commits suicide then the people who did wrong with him will feel guilty. Instead, it will just make them believe that he was a loser. She then asks him to think about his parents and family. Kang Hyo asks her then what he should do in this place full of monsters. She tells him that he thinks every gangster student is a monster. They are just people like him, and she tells him that if he fights them one-on-one, then he will be able to defeat most of them. She tells him that she will teach him the technique to fight and how to defeat most of those students, so he should just get down from there. He then comes down and tells her to teach him the technique. She then tells him to go ahead and try to attack her, and she will only do defense. Kang Hyo asks her what if he hurts her. He further tells her that even if he hurts her during an attack, she cannot get mad and start hitting him back. She started laughing and asked him if he thought that he could hurt her. She tells him that there would be nothing like that, so he should hurry up and attack her. Kang Hyo then threw a punch at her, but it was so fast that she was unable to even see it. It hit her straight in the face and made blood spill out of her nose, and she fell to the ground. She was surprised as she fell to the ground and could not believe what just happened. She contemplates that she could not even see this loser's fists, and on top of that, the power of his fists is very strong. She feels embarrassed at this and gets up again and tells him to attack again. He tells her to stop, as he might really hurt her. She gets angry at this and tells him to attack. She gets ready for his punch while forming a resolve that this time she will not get hit and she will not be defeated so easily. She wondered why it was so slow this time. Maybe she just lost focus during the first hit, but out of nowhere, he kicked her in the stomach. She screamed in pain that this time it was not his fist but his kick instead. She shouts at him about why he kicked her all of a sudden. He replies that she told him to attack her and never said to use only fists. In the gym, the students were celebrating Seo Jun's victory. Some of the guys started saying that they had heard a lot about him, but now that they saw him in real life, he was even more amazing. Then Young Sang-hyun, the guy appointed by the principal to be the monitor of Class 3, took a fighting stance and told everyone that he was the leader of this class, and if anyone wanted to try to beat him, then they should come forward. Meanwhile, Teacher Lee tells the principal that the cleaver plan he thought of ended up being a failure. He replies that he knows what she means, and if Young Sang also loses, then it will be hard to control the students, and they will just have to keep an eye on them. Teacher Lee teases her that if Young Sang also loses, then his mustache should also go, and the principal agrees to it. Just then the leader of Hu Jingong High, Kang Chul-pan, stepped forward and called out to Young Sang, calling him a beanpole and telling him that he would be one facing him. The students were saying that Beanpole must be unlucky because he was going to face Kang Chul. Young Sang was getting afraid just looking at him and was wondering how a high schooler could be this strong. Kang Chul then tells him that he has a habit of nearly half killing his opponents so that he feels good, so if he does not want to die, then he should say so now and run away quietly. Meanwhile, on the terrace, Kang Ri gets up once more and tells Kang Hyo to attack him again. Kang Hyo wonders when she is going to teach him the technique that will help defeat most of the thugs here, but then he decides to try it again, and he tells her that if he hits her again and she gets mad, then she cannot hit him back. She was all focused on his next attack and did not want to lose again, and when his fist came firing at her, she managed to barely evade it by an inch. She contemplated that this loser was not just an ordinary guy, and to make sure that her thinking was correct, she immediately threw a punch back at him, which he dodged with ease, which surprised her even more. But Kang Hyo started shouting that she said that she would not attack him, and he would have been hurt by her sudden attack. She paid no attention to his words and asked him who he was. Kang Hyo replies to her that he is Kang Hae Hyo, which pisses her off even more. She shouts that she already knows that his name is Kang Hae Hyo and tries to hit him with a roundhouse kick, but he dodges it as well. He tells her to calm down and reminds her that she told him that she would not hit him. She replies that it was when she thought he was just a loser and she started to attack him and shout to have a real fight. Kang Hyo dodged all her attacks and started to run away. She asks him why he is running away. He replies, what else can he do? As he was running towards the exit, just then he got kicked by Choi Woo. He and Kyu Sang arrive at the terrace, and Kyu Sang tells him that he does have a death wish, which is why he pretends to be Kang Hae Hyo. Choi Woo and Kyu Sang tell him to get up. Kang Ri sees them, so she frees them and says that it has been a long time since they last met, and they came at the right time. Both the boys started laughing and remarked that they must be famous as a brat they don't even recognize knows them. Kyu Sang tells her to leave, saying that they have something to discuss with this fake Kang Hae Hyo. She thinks that she should just beat them up, but then realizes that they are not recognizing her because they do not know her as a girl. Just then, an idea hits her, and she decides to figure out Kang Hyo's real identity, so she tells them that before she leaves she wants to talk with him. Kyu Sang tells her to make it quick as he is getting annoyed. She then crouches to Kang Hyo and whispers in his ear, does he remember how she told him that just because they are the top dogs it does not mean they all fight well? She then proceeds to tell him that she knows these two and they are total losers and would lose to little kids in a fight. Kang Hyo thinks that if the shitting girl is telling him this, then it must be true, so he decides to beat them up while thinking that he may be scared of the top dogs. but he is not scared of preschoolers. He gets up and tells them to come at him while calling them losers, which made both of them angry. Kyu-sang immediately comes forward, saying he does want to die. Kang-ri contemplates that Kyu-sang is different from Choi-woo, as he trained in Taekwondo and is very dangerous. Kyu-sang came forward to kick Kang-hyo, and Choi-woo remarked that he had lost it again. Meanwhile, in the gym, Kang-chul tells Young-sang that if he does not want to die, then he should just leave and he is giving him a chance to live. Young-sang thinks that this guy looks even stronger than Class 1 and 2 monitors, and he thinks that he cannot win even if he gives in everything he has. But he cannot back down now as it will hurt his pride, so he tells him to come at him. Kang-chul, while clenching his fists, says that it cannot be helped if he does not want to live. Young-sang thinks to himself that if he gets hit by that fist, then he will die. But then Kang-chul tells him that they should arm wrestle like men to determine who is going to become the monitor. Young-sang was shocked at this and thought that he might not know how to fight, so he decided to take his chance and mock him, calling him a pussycat and saying that he does now know how to fight and he just looks big and strong. Kang-chul got angry at this and immediately lunged at Young-sang while shouting that he tried to be nice to him as he looked like a wimp, but it seemed that he just wanted to die. Meanwhile, on the terrace, Kang-ri thought to herself that it had been a while since he last saw Kyu-sang's 4 consecutive kicks and remarked that average punks get knocked out at 2. But what will Kang-hyo do? To her surprise, Kang-hyo avoided the first kick by bending down, but she remarks that bending down was a mistake as Kyu-sang's second kick was a low kick right away. To her surprise, Kang-hyo managed to dodge that by moving backward and sideways. She remarks that he is not an ordinary guy, but she thinks that there is no way he can avoid the third kick as well. Kang-hyo avoided it as well, and she immediately panicked and decides that she needs to stop them now as Kyu-sang's last kick was a back kick, and if you get hit by it spot on then it will hurt like crazy, but all their surprise is he managed to dodge it easily as well. But just then Kyu-sang sent a 5th kick as well. Kang-ri was shocked at this and remarks that this punk got stronger. Since last time they met and Kyu-sang told Kang-hyo that he is a goner, and Choi-woo cheered Kyu-sang telling that he was finally able to succeed in the 5th kick, but Kang-hyo easily blocked it through his guard and they immediately punched Kyu-sang in the abdomen, which makes Kang-ri scream that this guy is a monster. Meanwhile, in the gym, Young-sang noticed that Kang-chul's attack was way too slow. Young-sho easily hit his vital spots in that time and knocked him out, and he realized that this guy only had a big body and strength and nothing else. The principal became happy about his victory, and teacher Lee remarked that there was nothing to boast about as they were making students fight each other. Young-sang then took a fighting stance and announced that he would be the Class 3 monitor. The boy who was just calling him Beanhead now started to praise him and say that stance looked like a high-level martial artist stance and how he easily beat Kang-chul. But Young-sung-ri was just laughing at it and remarks that Kang-chul would have been an even weaker bastard if he did not have his large body and strength, and he knows this as he fought and defeated him because he used to be a contracted part-time fighter. The boys next to him told him that it would be great to become a class monitor as they needed marks to get out of this school, and it would be easier to get them if they became class monitors. Upon hearing this, he declares that fine, then he will become the monitor of Class 3. While on the terrace, upon witnessing Kyu-sang get defeated at the hands of Kang-hyo, Choi-woo immediately rushes towards him while saying that he will see the end of him. Kang-hyo mocks him by saying that here comes the loser number 2, and he throws a punch at him, but Choi-woo dodges it and grabs Kang-hyo by the waist. Kang-ri remarks that Choi-woo is an expert in ground fighting, and he has conquered every ground fighting technique used in UFC, such as wrestling and judo jiu-jitsu. She remarks that Kang-hyo got way too confident after defeating Kyu-sang, and he let himself easily get caught by Choi-woo. If he manages to throw him, then it will be over. We see that Choi-woo is pushing Kang-hyo to the ground, which makes Kang-ri remark that it is over as he is falling, but Kang-hyo balances himself on the ankle of one of his legs, picks up Choi-woo, and throws him away. Kang-ri was left speechless as she saw him flip Choi-woo from that position, and she again declared that Kang-hyo was really a monster. After all the dust settles, we can see that both Kyu-sang and Choi-woo are lying knocked out on the ground, and Kang-hyo thanks Kang-ri, saying that now he knows that their scrubs are even here. She was left shocked as to how a nobody like him could be this strong. She goes up to him, grabs his collar, and asks just who the hell is he. Kang-hyo gets confused and asks her why she keeps asking who he is. She asks why someone like him keeps acting weak and fragile, and now that she is so close to him and looks at him, she notices that he has a fierce gaze. Kang-hyo simply said that he was weak, which made Kang-ri lose her brain. Meanwhile, in the gym, Jung Sung asks Sung Ri why he wants to fight him even after witnessing how he defeated Kang Chul, and tells him that his courage will only get him hurt. Sung Ri tells him that he already knows that Kang Chul is a weak bastard and tells him that his fighting style is too erratic and full of openings. Jung Sung starts attacking him, but Sung Ri dodges all his attacks effortlessly. Jung Sung still tells him that he cannot even hit him back as he can only dodge his attacks. Witnessing this, Teacher Lee asks the principal if the bet about saving his mustache is still on. The principal laughs and says that it will not happen, but if he loses, then of course. Just then, Sung Ri landed a punch at Jung Sung's opponent, while telling him that he already told him that his fighting style was full of openings, and he landed another punch at his face and knocked him out. Seo Jun remarks that this hired fighter Sung Ri is not bad, and the principal immediately tells Teacher Lee what he meant. If Jung Sung loses this time, then of course he will not shave his mustache. Teacher Lee curses him in her mind. Meanwhile, on the terrace, Kyu Sang and Choi Woo got up again and got ready to attack him at once. Seeing this, Kang Hyo asks Kang Ri what he should do now, and even though they are scrubs, there are still two of them. Kang Ri gets annoyed at him for acting all weak again, but then steps forward and tells Choi Woo and Kyu Sang to stop and asks them when they started ganging up on one guy and if they should accept their defeat like men. They called her bitch and asked her why she was still here. She then calls them morons and asks them if they still haven't realized who they are talking to. She tells them that she is the friend they spoke of. She is Kang Hae-hyo. Meanwhile, Kang Hyo backs away a little bit, feeling relieved that she saved him. Upon hearing these words, Choi and Kyu Sang get mad and tell them that they should get her as well, and now she is also pretending to be Kang Hae-hyo. She easily grabbed Kyu Sang's kick, and while asking if he still had the birthmark on his ass, she threw him away. Then she jumped and avoided getting caught by Choi Woo and stepped on his head while telling him that he had still not taken care of it. They both felt really embarrassed at it, but then Kyu Sang stopped and told Choi Woo to look at that girl closely and remarked that the hair had been dyed and her style had been changed. The eyebrows have been trimmed, eyelashes have been added, and she got double eye surgery and finally the style of makeup. They both get shocked to death and scream now that she is their Hae-hyo. Choi Woo once again asked if she really was Hae-hyo. Kyu Sang told him that he had already told him earlier that he felt Hae-hyo was here. Kang Ri then apologizes to them for disappearing out of nowhere and says that they could understand it as there was a situation. Choi Woo replied that they did understand and asked that they did not know that he liked to dress up as a girl, and then he pointed towards her breasts. What did he put up there? And asked if he could touch them. Kang Ri got annoyed at this and shouted at them as if she would let them touch her chest and tell them that she was a girl. Kyu Sang then recalls that she had never once gone with them to showers or pools. Choi Woo further adds that the one time they managed to get her there, she sneaked away without going in the pool with them. He then panicked and shouted that it meant she had seen their naked bodies, and tells her that it is sexual assault. She then says that this is the reason she did not say anything to them back then, as they would not have thought of her as a friend if they knew she was a girl, and then begins to tease them by saying that, as she recalls back then, both of them immediately shut her down, saying she does not need to recall anything. They then ask her about other Kang Hae-hyo and add that he can fight well. She then asked him to stop pretending to be weak and come forward, but to her surprise, he had already run away, and they noticed that there was a door on that side as well. She then shouts at them to go and find him, and it is their fault that he ran away, as they are the ones who interfered, and they all immediately went out to go find them. As Kang Hyo was walking, he got kicked in the back by Dong Pal, and Kwon Soo asked him how dare he lie to them and pretended to be Kang Hae-hyo. The blonde guy in the hat then came forward and told Kang Hyo that he would be their delivery boy from now onwards, but Kang Hyo told him that he would not be their delivery boy. Upon hearing this, Dong Pan came in front of him and punched him while telling him to close his eyes. Just then, Pai Han arrived there along with his minions, who were asking if that weakling was really the reason he transferred schools, and he called him the Angel of Death. Pai Han shuts them up and says that he only got knocked out because of the cheap, and the likelihood of him getting knocked out again is the same as him winning the lottery. One of the guys then tells him that his so-called Angel of Death is getting beaten up there while pointing over in their direction. As Kang Hyo was getting beat up by Dong Pal, Pai Han suddenly came running in front of him, punched him in the stomach, and sent him flying towards a wall. His minions called out the blonde hat guy Ma Chun Nam and said that he is still lording over worthless shits, and then told him and his minion to get out of there quietly as Pai Han got some business with Kang Hyo. They immediately nodded and wondered how Pai-han knew this weakling. While lying on the ground, Kang-hyo wondered who this guy was and why he suddenly attacked him out of nowhere and remarked that the punch hit much harder than Dong Pal's. Pai-han then asks him if something happened while calling him the Angel of Death, Kang Hae-hyo. When Kang-hyo heard the Angel of Death, he recalled some memories where he was beating up a bunch of guys, and while he was still confused, Pai-han walked up to him and said that he thought that his head got messed up in the accident and said that he never thought he would get this lucky. Kang-hyo thinks to himself that he remembers beating this guy's ass before, and he starts to speak that he thinks that he is, and just as he was about to finish his sentence, Pai-han kicks him in the face while telling him that is right, he is Pai-han. Pai-han continues the beatdown of Kang Hae-hyo. He repeatedly keeps kicking him in the face, while Kang-hyo still wonders just what was his deal with this guy, and recalls that he surely must have beaten up this guy at some point. As the persistent beatdown continues, Kang-hyo tells Pai-han that he can only hold back for so long, and says that he might start responding if Pai-han keeps beating him up this way. This makes everyone wonder that maybe Kang-hyo wasn't as much of a coward as they had thought. However, this sudden response pisses off Pai-han even more, as he walks up to Kang-hyo and starts hitting him with relentless kicks to the head. Kang-hyo tries to cover himself, however the kicks are raining down on him at a rapid rate. As he gets beaten to a pulp, Kang-hyo wonders just what went down between him and Pai-han for Pai-han to act in this way. He understands that something truly horrifying must have gone down between those two for it to have turned out in this manner. As he tries to cover himself, Kang-hyo sees the area that they are in properly, and this triggers a memory inside of him, the memory of Pai-han once coming to this exact place with him in this exact place. Kang-hyo makes fun of Pai-han, saying that he must be really a huge coward for him to have brought so many people to beat up Kang-hyo. And Kang-hyo further adds that he will heat up everyone that stands in front of him, with no exceptions. Pai-han mocks Kang-hyo for having such ridiculous thoughts. Pai-han tells Kang-hyo that this is no manhwa, so him going on and taking out so many guys is impossible. However, Kang-hyo gears up and says that he will take everyone on for real. This surprises Pai-han, as he wonders if Kang-hyo is really brave enough to pull off a one versus all type of fight. However, just at that very moment, the fight begins and Kang-hyo makes a run for it. Pai-han understands just how brave he is by this, and everyone chases after Kang-hyo, asking him about what really happened to him. Why did he say that he will beat up everyone, and now that he has said it, how is he going to do it by running away? However, Kang-hyo tells Pai-han that he will be back and he will be the one that will take him out for good. Kang-hyo then runs into his friend Choi Suk-won, who says that he is sorry for being late, to which Kang-hyo tells him that he is indeed late. But the two put the argument aside and go after all the goons from Pai-han's side. They beat them all up with relative ease, as the smug look from Pai-han's face wears off. We then see that after everyone is done getting beat up, a beaten down Pai-han goes down to his knees to beg for mercy. Pai-han apologizes to both Kang-hyo and Suk-hwan, and also tells them that he will now acknowledge them as seniors. Kang-hyo is genuinely pissed off, and he wants to beat up Pai-han some more, but Suk-hwan stops him from doing so, and convinces him to go away. Choi Suk-hwan then tells Pai-han that they're the same age, and even went to the same elementary school as kids, so he doesn't need to respect them as seniors. They can just be friends. We then get to know that Suk-hwan, Pai-han, and Kang-hyo become great friends and form a powerful trio of their own. However, this wasn't sitting well with Pai-han, as one day, Pai-han and Suk-hwan were waiting for Kang-hyo, wondering why he hadn't arrived yet even though he told them that he was coming an hour ago. Pai-han told Suk-hwan that they must comply with everything Kang-hyo does, because after all, they are just mere underlings to the much greater Kang Hae-hyo. Suk-hwan found this weird and said that the three of them are friends. What's the whole deal about being underlings and all? To which Pai-han said that everyone thinks of them as lackeys to Kang-hyo, and even though they are friends, there is a discrepancy between them. That being that Kang-hyo is above them all, followed by Suk-hwan, and at the bottom was Pai-han himself. However, they make a good trio when together, but the fact remains the same, Kang-hyo is above them. This puts some thoughts into Choi Suk-hwan's head, as he wonders if they're really friends or not. Back to the current time, we see Pai-han's minions coming over to stop him from beating up Kang-hyo even more, saying that he will be finishing him off for good if he continues at this rate. Pai-han stops and tells Kang-hyo that he must absolutely remember this beatdown and remember to never mess with him again. And Pai-han's minions tells the bystanders to take all the blame for this beatdown and tell all the people that they were the ones who beat down Kang-hyo. The bystanders aren't pleased to be all mixed up in this, but they scoot over to Kang-hyo, who falls there unconsciously and show pity for him. Meanwhile, Kang Hyo sees weird dreams of a fight where a lot of people are going at it with each other. In that fight, Kang Hyo is going up against Pai Han, and there he tells Pai Han that he will finish him off for good. Just when Kang Hyo is about to finish him off though, Choi Suk-hwan intervenes and hits Kang Hyo hard. Suk-hwan then tells Kang Hyo that Pai Han won't be the one going down. Instead, Kang Hyo himself has to go down now. This suddenly wakes up Kang Hyo, and this also angers him a lot. Kang Hae-hyo then cusses out the dastardly Pai Han-ul as he was walking away and tells him to wait for him, as he gets back up with a look that means business on his face. Back to the school building, we see that Kang Hae-ri, Choi Woo, and Gyu Sang are looking for Kang Hyo, who they refer to as Top Knot. Gyu Sang says that he is out of breath and Hae-ri told him that he should stop smoking if he feels that bad after doing nothing, to which Gyu Sang agrees. Choi Woo, who refers to Hae-ri as Kang Hae-hyo now, asks her the reason why she is chasing after Top Knot. Kang Ri is a bit taken aback by this question, but she quickly gathers herself and asks Gyu Sang and Choi Woo about what they thought of her when they found out that she was a girl. They're all conflicted about this. One of them says that he finds her pretty, while the other points out how they managed to find out the magic of plastic surgery and makeup thanks to Kang Hae-hyo's dynamic transformation, which annoys Kang Ri. But she asks them another question, that being that what they think will be the reaction if everyone found out that she was a girl, it would be bad. Because all the people she has ever beaten up will come chasing her for revenge, because they will feel bad about getting laid out by a girl. Choi Woo agrees with this and says that even he felt extra bad and pissed off when he realized that a girl was the one who beat him up. Kang Ri then tells them that this is the reason why they gotta go and find Kang Hyo before he goes on to tell everyone about this, because that will cause her trouble if her identity is leaked. Kang Ri also tells Choi Woo and Gyu Sang that they shouldn't be referring to her as Kang Hae-hyo, and instead, they should call her by her new name that is Kang Hae-ri for safety purposes. Choi Woo and Gyu Sang finds this ridiculous that she can't even use her name, but Choi Woo tells Kang Hae-ri that he will be the one taking care and handling 3 stars from now on, to which Kang Ri mocks him and tells him that someone like Choi Woo, who got called a loser and beaten by Top Knot, has no rights to be the one leading 3 stars. Choi Woo replies to this by saying that he was just taken in by surprise, and Kang Ri tells him that she finds it funny how he got taken in by surprise even though he had just saw Gyu Sang fight Top Knot moments before his own fight. Gyu Sang then asks Kang Ri if she is planning on making Top Knot the leader of the 3 stars, to which Kang Ri asks if she can't do that or what. Gyu Sang quickly lets her know that he opposes that decision and also tells when that the 3 stars is something that is only between them and something that is deeply precious and important to him. Choi Woo also joins in and agrees, and they both put forward the thought that they'd much rather have her, a girl, as the leader of the 3 stars over a fake guy who doesn't have anything to do with this. After all, male or female, she is still Kang Hae-hyo, and she can really beat up anyone on her path, so who really cares? Kang Ri doesn't quite know what to say about this, but she figures something out and decides to tell them about it. As she is about to tell the real reason why she doesn't want to out herself as Kang Hae-hyo, a purple-haired girl named Sang-ah interferes. The girl comes out and tells Kang Ri that she is impressed that she has 2 guys around her despite being a tomboy, which gets on Kang Ri's nerves. However, Choi Woo and Gyu Sang are pleased by seeing her, as she is very pretty. Sang-ah then introduces her boyfriend, Seo Jun, to Kang Ri. Seeing Seo Jun pisses Kang Ri off. Back to the fight, we see that Pai Han turns back around to see that it was Kang Hyo who had called him out, and he also sees that Kang Hyo is back up on his feet. Pai Han then says to Kang Hyo if he wants to lose his life because it's not going to go down well for him, and that he will beat him into oblivion now. Kang Hyo got his mojo back, so he also talks back with equal confidence and anger, replying that he will be the one doing the beating up from now onwards. This pisses off Pai Han, and we see that Kwang Soo and Dong Pal are worried about the stuff that Kang Hyo is spouting out. Dong Pal asks Kang Hyo if he is crazy, and that there is no way he will be able to take on Pai Han, and that if he wants to do so, he should do it by himself. Kwang Soo also tells Kang Hyo that he should do stuff on his own and not get them dragged into his mess. Kang Hyo replies to them by saying that he doesn't have time to mess with such sorry and vile people such as Kwang Soo and Dong Pal, so they should just get the heck out of his way. Kwang Soo and Dong Pal realize what Kang Hyo had just called them, and this pisses them off, so they decide to attack Kang Hyo simultaneously and guarantee it that he can't make it to Pai Han. As the duo are about to punch Kang Hyo, what strikes them is so quick that they can't even see it, but they sure as heck just felt it. They went down from being attacked by Kang Hyo, however, it was too quick for them to even see it. This shocks Pai Han and his men too, but Pai Han quickly recovers, tells his men to go and take out Kang Hyo. As his men go to take out Kang Hyo, Pai Han feels quite secured, knowing that this Kang Hae Hyo isn't the Kang Hae Hyo of the past, and that he has been severely nerfed after his accident, so he doesn't need to be afraid of him. However, what happens next is shocking, as the first guy that approached Kang Hyo gets a punch from the man that knocks him out. The second guy sees this, but he knows that Kang Hyo is in a vulnerable position from the follow-through of the punch. However, Kang Hyo leans into it and performs a front hand spring to hit a kick to the other lackey, taking him out for good. This leaves Pai Han flabbergasted, as he realizes that nothing has changed, and that Kang Hyo is just as scary as he always has been. Kang Hyo also realizes that Kang Hyo wasn't pretending to be weak because he got injured by his accident. It was because he really had amnesia. Just at that moment, Kang Hae Hyo delivers a solid cross punch to Pai Han, which he manages to block, but the sheer impact of the punch is so much that Pai Han is sent flipping back. However, the punch didn't really break through Pai Han's block, so Pai Han feels comfortable because unlike last time, he can keep up with the tempo of Kang Hyo to actually block the punch, and also states that he isn't the same guy from before, and that he can hold his own against Kang Hyo. Kang Hae Hyo scoffs at Pai Han's false sense of hope, and tells him that he didn't even intend to hit him hard, and that he did what he did on purpose. Pai Han doesn't quite understand what Kang Hyo meant, but he then checks his surroundings to understand that Kang Hyo had purposefully punched him like that to push him against the wall, and realizes that now he has nowhere to go as the dangerous angel of death Kang Hae Hyo approaches to hit him. Kang Hae Hyo then spins around to hit Pai Han with a picture-perfect spinning back kick, which gets amplified even more by Pai Han's back being against the wall. Kang Hae Hyo then lets Pai Han all know that the wall had hurt him more than Pai Han's weak punch ever. We then see that Kang Hyo is beating the heck out of Pai Han. He starts kicking Pai Han in the face just like Pihan had kicked him in the face, and he keeps counting the blows while he is doing so. Pai Han can't really handle the beatdown anymore and decides that if he has to go down, he might as well go down swinging, and that's why Pai Han tries to break free from the wall and goes ahead in hopes of landing a takedown on Kang Hyo, from where he would be able to control the fight. However, Kang Hyo is an expert at combat, so he sees this coming and counters the takedown attempt from Pai Han by landing a vicious knee strike to the face, which knocks out the lights from Pai Han. Kang Hyo says that it is all good because he wanted to hit a knee strike to Pai Han to even them out. We then see that Pai Han's lackeys are back up from the beatdown, and they tell Kang Hyo that he has to pay for what he did to them and Pai Han. However, instead of taking Kang Hyo on, they run away, citing that they are going to find more people for reinforcements. This leaves Pai Han alone with the monster that is Kang Hyo, and he can't believe that his lackeys left him alone, high and dry with Kang Hyo. Kwang Soo and Dong Pal are also shocked seeing this monstrous version of the Kang Hyo they used as a minion. Meanwhile, back at the school, we see that Gyu Sang and Choi Woo are shocked to know that Seo Jun, the top fighter from Gangnam, is standing in front of them. Seo Jun tells Kang Hae Ri that he would like to get along with her, because he has heard stuff about her from his girlfriend Sang-ah. Sang-ah tells Seo Jun to drop the nice guy act, and tells him to go along with the original mission, which was for him to beat him Sang-ah. Seo Jun tells Sang-ha that he doesn't feel right about hitting girls, so he doesn't want to do it, to which Sang-ah tells Seo Jun to find people who would come and beat her up from them. This angers Choi Woo and Gyu Sang, who call Sang-ah names despite her being pretty, and asks Seo Jun and Sang-ah if they know who they are talking about. This pisses off Seo Jun, who tells both Choi Woo and Gyu Sang that they made a mistake by calling his girlfriend names, and that he might as well beat them up instead of Kang Ri. Choi Woo and Gyu Sang are also fired up. However, Kang Ri intervenes and tells Choi Woo and Gyu Sang to back off, and she starts talking to Seo Jun herself. Kang Ri apologizes to Seo Jun and asks to be let off this time. Seo Jun makes fun of Choi Woo and Gyu Sang for hiding behind a girls, and Sang-ah tells Kang Ri that even though she got off easily this time, however, she will not be let off the next time. That's for sure. Sang-ah and Seo Jun then leave the scene, as we see Choi Woo and Gyu Sang walk up to Kang Ri and ask her if she chickened out or what, because they didn't expect her to apologize. Kang Ri admits that she had indeed chickened out. Kang Ri then goes on to tell about how before their graduation in middle school, she had thought of revealing her gender to them. However, while she intended to do so, she received a parcel from someone, and upon opening it, She found a shirt with a lion mark and a message that read that some competition was being hosted to determine the best and strongest fighters amongst middle school students, and that she was invited to go there while wearing that shirt. Upon going there, she ran into Seo-jun, who was wearing that shirt with a lion mark as well, and the two of them got into a fight. She fought her best fight, but it was for a fact that Seo-jun was the stronger person there. This shocks Choi Woo and Gyu Sang, as they say that they weren't aware of her losing to Seo-jun already, to which Kang Ri says that it wasn't a loss on technicality, as she did manage to snatch away Seo-jun's badge and run away. However, Seo-jun landed a few more blows than she landed on him, so she considers that a moral defeat, and that defeat had showed her the limitations she has. After that, she decided to quit doing these things and live her life as an ordinary high school girl from then onwards. This new piece of information shocks both Choi Woo and Gyu Sang, as they would have never guessed that something like that went down with Kang Ri. However, Gyu Sang wonders just what the whole tiger logo thing is all about. Back to the outside, where we see the relentless beatdown of Pai Han from the hands of Kang Hyo continuing from before. As Pai Han takes the beating hopelessly, we see a blonde-haired guy come into the scene and ask them just what kind of thing they are doing. Pai Han quickly recognizes him as the contract fighter named Young Suri and offers him a deal. Pai Han tells Suri that he will give him whatever amount he asks for if he fights from his side and beats up Kang Hyo. Kang Hyo also listens to this and asks Young Suri if he is another one of Pai Han's lackeys. We then see that Young Suri has a lion mark on his jacket, just like how Kang Hae-ri had described to her friends. The story then cuts back to the inside of the school, where we see that Gyu Sang is wondering just why would someone run a battle royale with real people to check their strength. What could be the reason behind running it? Choi Woo also asks the question that if such a battle royale was happening in the city, why wasn't he invited? Gyu Sang gets annoyed by this question and tells Choi Woo to not joke at all times. It is then that Seo-jun returns from before to confront Choi Woo and Gyu Sang. Seo-jun asks the duo if they were the members of the 3 stars that was once very popular in northern Seoul. This question puts Choi Woo, Gyu Sang, and Kang Ri under a lot of pressure. Meanwhile, outside of the school, we see that Kang Hyo has finally seen the logo on Young Suri's jacket, and it reminds him of something of the past. Kang Hyo remembers how one day, Choi Suk-hwan was telling him about how he had opened a group chat on Naver called Cage of Predators, and how it had already amassed a solid 2,200 members by that point. Choi Suk-hwan went on about how the group is cool, but everyone in the group pretends as if they were the strongest and most skilled fighters in the world, and jokes about how if that were to be true, then their country would be dominating the UFC and other combat sports promotions. Kang Hyo then suggested to Suk-hwan that he should just open an invitational battle royale-esque tournament to actually make the people fight, and to see if they're really as good as they say they are. Kang Hyo suggests inviting people from northern, southern, eastern, and western parts of Seoul and telling them to go at it physically, and later expand it more, and invite people from outside of Seoul. This idea really interests Choi Suk-hwan, who says that he wants to do it, and that he will give the winner some clothes with the chat group's logo imprinted on it as the prize. Back to the present time, all of this came back to Kang Hyo, and he can't believe that Suk-hwan actually went ahead with it and pulled it off for that fact. Then we see Young Suri getting near Kang Hyo and asking him if Kang Hyo really thinks that Suri is a lackey of Pai Han's, to which Kang Hyo replies by saying that from the way he is dressed, he can tell that Suri is not a lackey. Pai Han then tells Suri to attack Kang Hae-hyo, and says that he will give him any amount of money for doing so. This worries Kang Hyo a bit, because he is exhausted already and doesn't want an extra person to fight. Young Suri asks if he can really name any amount and if that will be paid. Suri then tells Pai Han that he is willing to fight for him if he offers him 1 million bucks. This bamboozles Pai Han, as he tells Young Suri that it is a ridiculous amount and tells him to be serious about it. Suri says that he should probably retire the contract worker moniker and says that he has stuff to attend to, so he can't fight for Pai Han. Pai Han asks him just what is the important thing that he has to attend to, and Suri replies to this by saying that he has to buy pizza for his little sister before walking away from the scene. Pai Han is left helpless, as he can't quite understand what to do anymore, now that he has no one to get help from. Kang Hyo also takes advantage of this and goes to attack Pai Han again, telling him that he has always dished out double the punishment as revenge. We then see that later that night, Kang Hyo is sitting on his bed wondering why he is feeling so empty. Kang Hyo says that beating up Pai Han was supposed to feel good, So why is it hurting him so much? We then see that earlier on, Kang Hae-hyo beat down Pai-han to a pulp, and to the point that he was basically a sitting duck waiting to be hunted. Kang Hyo then told Pai-han that he can apologize, and then Kang Hyo will stop the beatdown because after all, they were once friends and Kang Hyo will respect that. Pai-han, despite being beaten up, is still defiant. He yells out that he will never apologize to Kang Hyo, and tells him that he might have thought of Pai-han as a friend, but Pai-han didn't reciprocate that feeling. Because to him, Kang Hyo was a monster. Pai-han told him that Seok-hwan turned on Kang Hyo, not because Pai-han got in his ears, but because he was tired of Kang Hyo's antics. He says that Kang Hyo must now know that being a lackey feels very bad, because of how he spent his days after amnesia. However, Kang Hyo isn't much different himself. He is just as much of a tyrant as the ones who bullied him. And this is why Kang Hyo is very sad. He understands that there might be truth to what Pai-han said, and wonders if he really was as bad as the people who bullied him, and wonders if that's why things went sour with Choi Seok-hwan. It is then that Choi Woo suddenly enters Kang Hyo's room and starts behaving with him all politely. Kang Hyo is a bit taken aback by this behavior and says that if he wants to fight, then he will suffer a lot. But Choi Woo clarifies that he doesn't want to fight. He came here to tell Kang Hyo that someone was calling him to the rooftop. Kang Hyo got curious and went with Choi Woo. Kang Hyo was kinda annoyed though, so he was asking if it was the weird girl who was calling him out. However, upon arriving to the rooftop, Choi Woo told Seo Jun that he is the one, and Seo Jun welcomed Kang Hae-hyo and asked him if he really thought that Seo Jun won't be able to track him down. Seo Jun makes fun of Kang Hyo, saying that he would have never thought that the leader of the 3 stars would do plastic surgery to change his face. Kang Hyo is confused, as he doesn't understand what he means by plastic surgery, and further on, he is just confused as to what is happening. Kang Ri speaks up and tells Kang Hyo that they had already told Seo Jun about everything, so he can just drop the act now. Kang Hyo notices that Kang Ri is here too, and he wonders just what these guys are doing with him. Kang Ri then tries to do a sexy pose to seduce Kang Hyo into beating up Seo Jun because he was bullying them, but the skill she learned from the internet failed badly. Kang Hyo asks her why he would do that for them, to which Kang Ri says that it's because she is his girlfriend. This shocks Kang Hyo, as he asks her when did they even start dating, but Kang Ri interrupts him and whispers to him about how Seo Jun bluffed his way into becoming the #1 in Southern Seoul, and that if Kang Hyo beats him up, then he will get a huge status upgrade. Hearing this, Kang Hyo gets excited as he wonders just what this upgrade is about. Kang Hae-ri further goes on to say that if Kang Hyo beats up Seo Jun, then he will be crowned as the new king, the new #1 of Southern Seoul. So that's why he should go ahead and he should do it. Kang Hyo is all excited about this opportunity and he says that he will do as Kang Hae-ri says. This makes Kang Ri happy, but Kang Hyo was just acting, and he tells them that he isn't going to do anything for them because he already has a lot of stuff on his table and he can't afford to add even more to that. Just at that moment, Seo Jun starts laughing out loud. Everyone wonders why Seo Jun is laughing so loudly, and Seo Jun replies by asking if they want to take him out by making him laugh. After a while, Seo Jun calms down his laughter, and as he does so, Seo Jun says that it is a real shame with how things are. Seo Jun then further adds into it by saying that he would have never thought that the infamous leader of the 3 stars group, the #1 in Northern Seoul, Kang Hae-hyo, was just a cute little girl. This shocks everyone as they understand that Seo Jun has figured it out, that Kang Hae-ri is the real leader of the 3 stars group. Seo Jun says that even though they tried to fool him by luring him in to meeting them at nighttime, he isn't blind, and he recognized Kang Hae-hyo the moment he saw her as Sang-ah's enemy. After all, he is quite good with the girls. Kang Ri understands that she has been figured out, and with no other choice left, Kang Ri admits to being Kang Hae-hyo, and says that if he wants to fight her then they can fight right then and there. However, Seo Jun says that he doesn't want to fight girls, but he finds it commendable that she was able to fight on his level despite being a girl. Seo Jun then says that despite all of that, Kang Ri's life isn't going to be easy, because she and her friends now need to serve as Seojun's lackeys. The thought of that annoys Kang Ri, and she wonders how she should get out of this. Right then, Kang Hyo starts talking and tells Seo Jun if he ever thought of this situation from the point of view of the one getting bullied. They probably want to finish off the bully in one go, because the bullies have well and truly ruined their lives. After hearing this, everyone is left speechless, as what Kang Hyo said hits home. Kang Hyo then says that they should think about it properly. After saying this, Kang Hyo starts to leave the rooftop, but he is called out by Seo Jun, who wants him to listen to his reply on this topic. Back at the school, we see that principal of the school is talking to the students of the 3 classes about how Kang Ri, Young Suri, and Seo Jun have all been causing issues to the school from the beginning, and tells them that it is quite the problem. The students then apologize to the principal, and the principal tells them to take care of the situation in hand, to which the students replies by saying that they'll take care of it. The principal then dismisses them. Teacher Lee then comes into the room and asks the principal about what he wants to do about this situation. The principal says that they should focus on using the negative energy the students have and convert it into energy for self-betterment. The teacher says that these students don't really have a goal in their life, so they create problems and have unreal goals of making it to top college. So, they should teach them to have goals and work for them, and teach them that going to a top college isn't everything. However, Teacher Lee says that there are some good students among the delinquents with great grades too, such as Seo Jun at their school. Back at the rooftop, we see that Seo Jun is telling Kang Hyo how he is not one of those stupid weaklings who care about others, and goes on to attack Kang Hyo with a massive haymaker, which he manages to dodge. Kang Hyo then shimmies away and tells Seo Jun that he never called him a weakling, before loading up a punch of his own and throwing it at Seo Jun. However, Seo Jun manages to catch the punch from Kang Hyo, which leaves Kang Hyo shocked. Seo Jun then tells Kang Hyo that he isn't a weakling either. Back in principal's office, the principal tells Teacher Lee that Seo Jun is quite different. While he does have great grades and everything else, he doesn't have a goal, so he is clueless. And because he is so talented, he gets complacent, which is not good. Teacher Lee asks the principal if experience will fix that for everyone. The principal says that that's what they will try to do, before correcting himself and saying that they will have to make it happen, because he wants his students to be prepared for the new students that are going to come from Outer Seoul in a month. We then see the picture of someone who is going to transfer into the school, and that someone is none other than Kang Hae-hyo and Pai-han's friend from the past, Choi Soo-kwon. Back to the fight, we see that Seo Jun has Kang Hyo's punch caught up, and Kang Hyo tells Seo Jun that he doesn't want to fight him as he has a lot of stuff going on for him and he needs to focus on that, so he doesn't want to fight with him. Seo Jun says that Kang Hyo isn't as weak as he thought. However, he thinks that whatever Kang Hyo said about thinking about the weak ones is all crap, because in a world where only the strongest and fittest survive, it is only fair that the losers are treated the way they are. Saying this, Seo Jun tries to throw a punch at Kang Hyo. However, Kang Hyo twists his way out of Seo Jun's grasp and manages to duck under the punch that was thrown at him. This shocks Seo Jun, as he can't believe Kang Hyo managed to dodge again. Kang Hyo finds a perfect opening to land a hook to the midsection of Seo Jun. However, as he is about to commit to the punch, he remembers what Pai-han told him about Kang Hyo being just as bad as the oppressors he hates, and that moment of hesitation is that's needed for Seo Jun to deliver a counter right to the chin of Kang Hyo, which knocks him down. Seo Jun then says that he thought that he had almost met his match today, and was going down. However, it turns out that no one is nearly as good as him, and everyone is a loser compared to him. Later that night, we see that Kang Hyo is lying down on his bed, with blood still dripping from his mouth thanks to the hit from Seo Jun earlier. While he lies down on his bed, Kang Hyo thinks about what just happened, and understands that the words of Pai-han did leave a huge mark on him, as he can't even fight normally anymore thanks to that. Kang Hyo then decides to divert his mind from such thoughts by thinking about Kang Hae-ri, and the sexy pose she did to convince him to fight for her, and it immediately gets him acting up and feeling all shy. She also thinks about when she said that he was her boyfriend, and wonders if she really meant it, and if Kang Ri really likes him or not. The next day at school, we see Seo Jun's girlfriend, Lim Sang, giving away various gifts such as Louis Vuitton bags and Chanel earrings to her supposed friends, and they get very happy upon receiving them. Sang says that's nothing much, as she is just recycling the stuff she doesn't need anymore, and tells them that there's going to be more stuff delivered to her by her family, and they can take stuff from there too. This annoys Kang Ri, as she tells them to not do it here. She tells them that this isn't even their classroom, so why are they here playing some games among themselves and bothering others? This annoys Sang-ah and her lackeys, and everyone in the classroom wonders if this is the start of the war between Sang-ah and Kang Ri, and wonders if it will be okay, because Seo Jun can get involved too. However, Sang-ah doesn't start anything right there, and says that it's true, they shouldn't be doing this in another classroom, and leaves. Before she leaves though, she taunts Kang Ri about her boyfriend getting beaten up by hers, referring to Seo Jun defeating Kang Hyo. Kang Ri understands that Seo Jun hasn't really told anyone about her former identity yet. Meanwhile, Kang Hyo looks at Kang Ri and notices that she really is very pretty and very hot too, and wonders how he hadn't noticed it before. Kang Ri sees Kang Hyo making weird faces after seeing her, and gets creeped out by his rather weird behavior. Later on, we see that Kang Ri is telling all of the things that went down to Gyu Sang and Choi Woo, and they tell her that it's better for her to not mess with that stupid Sang Ah and her boyfriend Seo Jun. Kang Ri tells them that if push comes to shove, then she might as well fight that Seo Jun again, and this fires up Gyu Sang and Choi Woo as they want to see the old Kang Ri back in action, and tells her that they'll support her. Kang Ri tells them that if they support her, then Seo Jun's lackeys will get involved as well, as they won't let him do a 3-on-1. Instead, it's better for her to fight Seo Jun 1-on-1, but she's unsure if she would be able to defeat Seo Jun. Kang Ri then enters the ladies' washroom, and upon going there, a bucket full of water is splashed all over the face and body of Kang Ri by Kim Sang-ah and her lackeys. Kang Ri is all disappointed by this and asks Lim Sang-ah to grow up for once and act her age. Sang-ah says that she didn't want to do it, but her BF told her to do it. He told her to undress Kang Ri and check if she's really a girl. They then forcefully take off Kang Ri's shirt, leaving her in her underwear. Sang-ah takes a photo of her and tells her that she must have been a huge tomboy for Seo Jun to not believe her being a girl. The lackeys also make fun of Kang Ri, telling her to act her age and start wearing proper underwear instead of such childish cartoon ones. Sang-ah says that the only thing Kang Ri has going on for her is her breast size. Just when they are about to leave, Kang Ri calls them out and she turns on her delinquent mode. She cracks her knuckles and tells them that she is tired of being nice and that she will not behave like a girl now. We then see Kang Ri tie her shirt and get ready to fight. She thanks Sang-ah for knocking some sense back into her and challenges all 3 of the girls to fight her at once. Sang-ah laughs hearing this challenge and says that she heard about Kang Ri being good, but is she good enough to take on all 3 of them at once despite also knowing the fact that Seo Jun is Sang-ah's boyfriend? Kang Ri says that she will beat up Seo Jun too, to which Sang-ah laughs and tells her 2 minions to attack Kang Ri. The 2 girls dash in to attack Kang Ri and talk trash about being undefeated, to which Kang Ri says that she will end their winning streak. We then see Kang Ri adjusting herself to land a jumping scissors kick to both girls at once, which takes them both out for good. This shocks Sang-ah, as she didn't expect Kang Ri to be so strong, and realizing this, she tries to run away, but Kang Ri hits her with a roundhouse kick to the face to knock her down. Kang Ri tells her that she doesn't need to go call Seo Jun, because Kang Ri will do that job for her, before hitting her with a massive punch to the face to knock her out. Outside of the washroom, we see Gyu Sang and Choi Woo listening to these sounds and wonder what's going on. Inside, and they soon realize that it's a fight. They try to use that as an excuse to get inside the ladies' washroom, but Kang Ri comes out and tells them to stay away from the ladies' room. They then ask Kang Ri about what's up with her clothes, and Kang Ri says that she had a fight with Sang-ah and her lackeys, saying it wasn't much of a fight as she knocked them all out. This creates panic between the guys, as they question her why she had done so despite knowing that Seo Jun is her boyfriend. Kang Ri tells them that she no longer intends to hide anything, and that she wants to live with pride as the leader of the 3 stars. This surprises the guys as they are happy hearing this, and they decide to gear up to fight Seo Jun. Later, we see that a girl has called Seo Jun to the toilet, where Seo Jun sees that his girlfriend Lim Sang-ah lays there unconscious. The girl says she doesn't know who did it, and a livid Seo Jun can't believe someone did something like this and wants to know just who had the guts to mess with his girlfriend. Right then, he finds Sang-ah's phone lying around, which he picks up and sees that there are pictures of Kang Hae-ri in her underwear on that phone. Seeing this, Seo Jun laughs out in anger, as he realizes that it was Kang Ri who did it, and he vows to make her pay for it. He then orders his lackeys to go around and find Kang Ri and drag her to the rooftop. However, to his surprise, Kang Ri was already there and she hits him with a flying back kick. Seo Jun blocks it with his hands, but manages to feel the force of the kick on him. Kang Ri says that she came back to delete her pics from this phone, but she's glad that she found Seo Jun because she wants to beat him up. Seo Jun tells her that he won't be going easy on her just because she's a girl, and Kang Ri also replies by saying pretty much the same thing, with her saying that she won't be going easy on Seo Jun because he is a guy. Later, we see that this news was spread around everywhere in the school, and even in Kang Hyo's class, where a guy came in to report that the representatives for Class 1 and Class 2 are going at it on the rooftop. This excites everyone and they leave to see it live. Meanwhile, Kang Hyo thinks that people are too power-hungry, which is why they're fighting despite being the top of their respective class. It is after a while that Kang Hyo realizes that the two people in question are Seo Jun and Kang Ri. We then see Kang Hyo running through the school's hallway as he is desperate to stop the fight between Seo Jun and Kang Hae Ri. Kang Hyo says that even if Kang Hae Ri is the leader of the Three Stars faction, she is still a girl going through puberty, so she stands no real chance against a monster like Seo Jun, who even beat him up. And that's why Kang Hae Hyo is making a run for the rooftop, so he can save Kang Ri and stop the fight as well. Just as he is running, Kang Hyo runs into someone, and they both stumble and fall down. Kang Hyo then realizes that the person he ran into was none other than Young Suri. Kang Hyo sees a lot of weapons in his hands and asks him if he was going to see the fight on the rooftop, because with all these weapons on him, it sure is looking like that, and if that is the case, then whose side is he even on? Young Suri scoffs at Kang Hyo and says that not everything is a weapon, and says that those are tools for the agricultural section, and that he needs to get them to the class before it starts. Kang Hyo then asks Young Suri another question. He asks him if he really was the contract fighter, and if so, if he is still doing that sort of work now. Young Suri says that he isn't doing that kind of work anymore, and that he doesn't resonate with that kind of work, now that he has other things to think about. Kang Hyo says that the other thing Young Suri is mentioning must be him buying pizza for his little sister, to which Young Suri says that it is indeed the case. Kang Hyo doesn't understand what Young Suri means by this, so Young Suri says that he will explain it in easy terms, so that even a dumb guy like Kang Hyo can understand it. He says that he basically means that he wants to protect his sister at all costs and that it is his main priority. Kang Hyo now understands what he means. However, he has another question to ask to Young Suri, which is annoying the man, as he is being constantly stopped. Kang Hyo asks Young Suri, if it were for his sister, would he fight right now? And says that Young Suri's answer will determine everything. To which Young Suri says that it's a dumb question that he asked. Young Suri says that there is a reason why he is being a good guy, an ideal class representative for now, and that is because he wants to get out of this suffocating school. He says that it would have been a whole lot easier if just fighting was enough as a means to protect his sister. However, it doesn't work that way in the world. Young Suri further adds that fighting wouldn't even help him get out of this place, so it's not really something that's useful here, and he says that this is the reason why he has decided what the adults tell him to do, even if it's for just now. Young Suri then looks around to see that Kang Hyo had already left and he was talking alone, so he turns back around and goes to work while wondering how dare he had left him alone. After all, he was the one who asked questions to him. We then see that a huge crowd has gathered around the rooftop to see the fight between Kang Hae Ri and Seo Jun. We see that everyone is thinking about how this fight is happening sooner than what most had expected, and they also talk among themselves about who is the likely winner, and most people went with Seo Jun for his skills. One of the guys says that Kang Ri is just another girl, whereas Seo Jun took down his entire region on his own, so this should be easy pickings for him. And besides that, Seo Jun had come with an entire entourage of people, so it's not like they can get away with any sort of cheating. The people also wonder what a girl has to do with the Three Stars faction. Meanwhile, Kang Ri asks Seo Jun just what will be the reaction when a girl like her eventually defeats Seo Jun, to which Seo Jun says that it's impossible for someone like her to beat him. However, he is surprised to see how open Kang Ri is being about her identity. Kang Ri then decides to speak up and tell everyone about her identity. She tells everyone that what she's going to say is going to hurt the ego of a lot of people. However, she isn't going to hide it anymore. Choi Woo and Gyu Sang try to tell her not to reveal herself to everyone. However, Kang Ri tells them that they're already aware of her stubborn nature, and that if she wants to do something, she will do it. At the principal's office, we see that Pai Han has snuck inside and managed to make a call to Choi Suk-hwan, who was beating up someone. Pai Han tells Choi Suk-hwan that he snuck into the principal's office to call him, and that phones aren't available at Ultimate High. Suk-hwan tauntingly asks if that was the reason why Pai Han has ghosted him for a year now, to which Pai Han says that it's not the case. Suk-hwan says that he is not interested in his yapping, but Pai Han tells him that Kang Hae Hyo is also at the same school, which shocks Suk-hwan. Back to the rooftop, Kang Ri then continues, telling everyone who gets offended by this to come at her at once, because she doesn't care. The people get restless and tell Kang Ri to speed up the introduction, and then as Kang Ri is about to out herself as the leader of the Three-Star faction, we see the sudden entrance of Kang Hyo, who proclaims himself to be the legendary leader of the Three Stars faction. This shocks Choi Woo, Gyu Sang, and Kang Ri, as they didn't think that Kang Hyo would show up. Kang Hyo then also challenges Seo Jun to a fight, saying that this time, they will have a proper and real fight to determine who the strongest is. We then see that everyone in the crowd are saying that they already know who Kang Hyo is. What they want to know is about the identity of the first-class representative. Kang Hyo walks up to Kang Ri and blushes before telling her that everyone really wants to know more about her. Kang Ri is weirded out by this, but she tries again to tell everyone that she is Kang Hyo Hae. But Kang Hyo pulls her towards him and interrupts her to tell everyone that she is Kang Hae Hyo's girlfriend. Everyone understands this, but they don't understand what this has to do with Seo Jun. Kang Ri asks Kang Hyo what this is all about, but Kang Hyo ignores this and tells her that he will be fighting for her. Kang Ri tries to clear up what she said yesterday at night was just a misunderstanding, but Kang Hyo interrupts her again to tell her that he has the same feelings as hers and apologizes for not accepting her feelings yesterday, and says that it must have been hard for a girl like her to confess. Kang Hyo then says that he will be protecting his woman from now on, and steps forward to fight Seo Jun. Kang Hyo thinks that what he is doing is very cool, and that Kang Ri will definitely fall from him. However, in actuality, Kang Ri is cringed out by this, and wonders if Kang Hyo has gone mad. Gyu Sang and Choi Woo tell Kang Ri that it's best that she doesn't fight Seo Jun because if she wins, then it'll be good. However, if she loses, she will have extra targets on her back. Kang Ri says that she understands that very well. However, Kang Hyo was already dropped by Seo Jun once last night, so there's no one but her who could take him on. Gyu Sang replies to this by saying that maybe Kang Hae Hyo can pull off something with the power of love. We then see Kang Hyo making eye contact with the much taller Seo Jun, as they get inside each other's hitting zones. Seo Jun scoffs at Kang Hyo and asks him if he really means all this, and asks if he really is going to claim to be Kang Hae Hyo now, because it is getting comedic with how they're treating this. Kang Hyo says that Seo Jun might as well fight him, because Kang Ri is a girl, and Seo Jun doesn't feel good fighting with girls. So it's a lose-lose situation for him anyway, because he doesn't want to beat up a girl. However, he can't even afford to lose to one. This angers Seo Jun, who says that Kang Hyo sure does talk a lot for someone who got himself knocked out by a single hit from him. Saying this, Seo Jun lunges forward with his hook-adjacent punches, which Kang Hae Hyo ducks down with rather ease. Seo Jun throws another hand at Kang Hyo, which he once again dodges. As more and more blows are being thrown at Kang Hae Hyo, he manages to dodge them all and create momentum for himself. Kang Ri sees this and gets hope because Kang Hyo is fighting exactly how she planned on fighting. Kang Hyo then uses the momentum he gained to hit a spinning leg sweep. However, to his surprise, Seo Jun manages to dodge it easily. Kang Hyo is a bit shocked seeing Seo Jun dodge the kick, and Seo Jun wastes no time by going for a kick, which Kang Hyo is ready to parry away. But this kick was different from other roundhouse kicks, and it knocks Kang Hyo down. Turns out, this kick was a Brazilian kick, a kick popularized by Glob Feitosa. This kick functions as a normal roundhouse kick. However, instead of the upward motion, the one executing needs to twist their hips at the final moment to create a downward slashing method. Seeing Seo Jun pull this off also shocks Kang Ri, who can't believe that Seo Jun had such a tough move at his disposal. Meanwhile, at the principal's office, we see that Pai Han is still talking to Suk-hwan, saying that he had already been beaten up by Kang Hyo, and that nothing has changed about him. Suk-hwan is annoyed by this, and tells Pai Han that he doesn't want to hear his whining. Pai Han thinks to himself that Suk-hwan has changed a lot, before he notices the documents on the principal's desk. The documents are about Suk-hwan, and Pai Han tells him on the phone that there are documents about him at the Ultimate High. Pai Han then says that they seem to have the documents for all the tough and gritty delinquents in the country, and Choi Suk-hwan wonders if that is because they plan to gather all the tough ones to the same place. Just then, Pai Han hangs up on him, and this annoys Suk-hwan. However, Suk-hwan says that he doesn't really care about any of that. Even if he is drafted to the Ultimate High, it will just make his job to find the wannabe tough guys and beat them up much easier. Suk-hwan's friends also seem excited knowing that this school will fit them like a glove, whereas Suk-hwan is excited because he will finally get to have his hands on Kang Hae Hyo. Meanwhile, back at the fight, it seems like Kang Hyo is tumbling down from the Brazilian kick, and the crowd are all riled up by Seo Jun's prowess. Seo Jun wastes no time and tries to double down on the kick with a finishing blow. However, Kang Hyo uses the motion of falling down to suddenly spin around and land a combo kick. He lands a spinning hook kick, and immediately follows it up with a roundhouse kick on the follow-through, and this draws blood from Seo-jun. Kang Hyo's kick takes down Seo-jun and his head bounces off the floor thanks to it, and this sends the crowd into full frenzy, as they can't believe that Kang Hyo actually pulled it off, that he actually landed such a complex and powerful kick, while being groggy from getting his head shifted in by a Brazilian kick by Seo-jun, and they say that that is exactly why the people call him the best to come out of Gangbuk, and that he is a beast. Kang Hae-ri is shocked too. She couldn't believe what Kang Hyo pulled off. Kang Ri already knew that Kang Hyo is a strong guy, but she would have never expected him to be this strong and skilled. We then see that both Seo-jun and Kang Hyo are making it back on their feet after that explosive round of fighting, and Kang Hyo taunts Seo-jun by telling him that he had already said to him that he isn't the same guy who Seo-jun knocked out the night before. He is a changed guy. Seo-jun, still groggy, replies by saying that maybe he wasn't lying when he said that he was a different dude. The first one to make it back on their feet is Kang Hyo, and he uses that as an advantage to hit a capoeira-esque kick to Seo-jun, who wasn't fully back up. However, Seo-jun is a very skilled fighter himself, so he quickly manages to get out of the way from the oncoming kick. Kang Hyo is disappointed because he knew that if he was a bit faster and managed to land that kick, it was lights out for Seo-jun, but he also praises Seo-jun for his skills, saying that he isn't half bad either. Kang Hyo then moves forward and starts throwing rapid fast combo punches which keep pushing Seo-jun back. Seo-jun tries his best to defend himself, however the punches are too fast and too strong, and even his block isn't working against Kang Hyo. The crowd goes bananas seeing this. They're talking about how this is not a fight, but a one-sided beatdown from Kang Hyo, and they say that if and when Kang Hyo wins this fight, he will not only be the best of Gangbuk, but also the best of Gangnam, such as his skills. Kang Hae-ri is also seeing this, and Gyu-sang, who is all excited from seeing this, tells Kang Hae-ri that he already told her that Kang Hyo might just beat Seo-jun because of the power of love. Kang Hae-ri is calm in her assessment as she tells Gyu-sang that it is not the power of love that has suddenly made Kang Hyo strong. Instead, it is just the fact that Kang Hyo was always better than Seo-jun. Kang Ri continues by saying that Seo-jun has finally met his match today, and that he, himself, is probably having a tough time believing what is happening with him, as no one, in their right mind, would have expected the mighty Seo-jun to fall prey to a third-rate loser like Kang Hae-hyo. However, from what it seems like, that is what's happening. As the systematic beatdown of Seo-jun continues, we see that the principal has made his way back into his office, and to not get caught, Pai Han-ul has snuck underneath the work table. The principal picks up a call from someone who seems like an influential person, and the principal confirms to the person that they've indeed blocked off all communication methods for the students. The principal then adds to that by saying that according to their plan, they've managed to assign 3 representatives for each class. However, among the 3, it seems like Seo-jun is the one person who best fits their mold. Pai Han listens to this from underneath the table and wonders just what does the principal mean when he says that. The principal then goes on to say that Seo-jun is just a protected kid from a rich family, so he fits that part, and that Seo-jun is very good at fighting too. We then see the principal opening up his laptop to see the fight between Kang Hae-hyo and Seo-jun while he was talking to the person on phone. The principal then says the most standout thing about Seo-jun is that he has a never-say-die attitude, and that he surpasses even his own limits. He further adds that he has no idea just how he has so much stamina and perseverance. We then go back to the fight, where we see that Kang Hyo has finally slowed down a little, as he has been frustrated by Seo-jun. Kang Hyo wonders just how Seo-jun is capable of taking such damage. Seo-jun then finally speaks up after a while, and he taunts Kang Hyo by asking if he is done already, and that he looks tired. Kang Hyo gets riled up by hearing this, and to prove Seo-jun wrong, he loads up and tries to go from the finishing blow, saying that he ain't tired, because he isn't the one who took the bulk of the hits so far. However, as he is in motion, Seo-jun replies by saying that it doesn't matter if he gets hit, as long as he isn't hit in the head, his opponents will be the ones getting tired, and right then Seo-jun lands a massive back fist that knocks down Kang Hae-hyo to the ground. This shocks everyone as they can't believe how Kang Hyo suddenly went down, while others understand that Seo-jun isn't called the number 1 for no season. Kang Ri also sees this and she can't quite compute why Seo-jun has such otherworldly stamina, while to others, it's already a foregone conclusion that Seo-jun has won the match, as he has his finishing blow loaded up. Just as Seo-jun is about to hit the final blow though, Kang Hyo lands a massive kick from the ground to Seo-jun's face, which changes the momentum of the fight again. We then also see that the principal said to the person on the phone that their actual ideal choice for this project is Kang Hae-hyo. We then see that the kick has made Seo-jun groggy and, Everyone, including Kang Ri and her two friends, are shocked after seeing the tides turn again. Kang Hyo sees Seo Jun struggling after the kick to the face, and he quickly follows it up with a round sweep kick, which connects and makes Seo Jun fall down, and his head bounced off the floor, it making a thudding sound. Kang Hae Hyo then says that there's no way he was losing this one, and that it was decided that he would be beating Seo Jun the moment when Seo Jun started getting cocky about the things. Kang Hae Hyo then pivots to deliver a crushing punch to the face of Seo Jun, while saying that he only hurt a scared little kid, when Seo Jun was boasting about his greatness. The punch lands flush on the face of Seo Jun, and just like that, the match was over, and Kang Hae Hyo was victorious of Seo Jun. Seo Jun's lackeys are shocked by this, as they can't believe that their strong leader had fallen to someone like Kang Hae Hyo, and they find it unbearable that they have to just stand and watch as Seo Jun gets beaten to a pulp. Kang Hyo then celebrates his monumental victory of Seo Jun by kissing the fist which he used to deliver the emphatic final blow, and then pointing it towards Kang Hae Ri and saying that he fought this fight and won it all for her while blushing a lot. This act unexpectedly makes Kang Hae Ri blush as well, but she plays off cool by saying that Kang Hyo is just embarrassing her at this point. As Seo Jun lays there, knocked out, he thinks of a core memory from his childhood. In the flashback, we see that Seo Jun's father had come back from work to see Seo Jun and the housemaid greeting him. However, Seo Jun's father notices the bruises and scars on Seo Jun's face and asks the maid what had happened to his little boy, to which the maid said that the young master had gotten into a fight with Park Man-bok, and that it all happened while Seo Jun's mother was busy, and the maid herself was doing the chores, so by the time she went there, the fight was already happening. Seo Jun's father tells her that it's okay, and says that it's only normal for boys to fight when growing up. Seo Jun's father then asks Seo Jun if he had won that fight with Man-bok, to which Seo Jun tears up and replies that he had lost the fight, citing that Man-bok is the much bigger boy and is also learning taekwondo. Seo Jun's father pats his head and tells him that it's okay, and that men shouldn't be crying over such little things. Seo Jun's father then tells him to go to bed and have some rest with his pet dog Aji. Seo Jun listens to this and goes to sleep with his dog. However, upon waking up, Seo Jun doesn't find his pet dog. Seo Jun then goes to his father and asks about where Aji went to which Seo Jun's father responds by saying that he had given away the pet dog to Park Man-bok, because according to him, it's only fair that the strong take from the weak. So he tells Seo Jun to get stronger to protect the things he has, instead of crying around and making silly complaints about the other person being bigger or being better trained, as that's only an excuse for the weak. This pep talk really changed Seo Jun, so he later went to take back his pet dog from Man-bok and beat him up badly with a baseball bat. From that day onwards, Seo Jun realized what he needed to do. Back to the current time, Seo Jun suddenly wakes up, and he gets back up saying that it's not so easy for him to lose. Kang Hae Hyo says that he feels bad for himself, because he needs to put in the work again. Seo Jun decides that he needs to do something outrageous, something out of the ordinary, for him to win this right from the position that he was currently there in, and so Seo Jun decides to do something out of the box. We then see Seo Jun dashing towards Kang Hae Hyo to land a double-legged takedown, taking the fight to the ground to counter Kang Hyo's striking prowess. Meanwhile, we see Sang-ah and her minions walking to the rooftop to see what's up. Sang-ah says that her man must have already beaten Kang Hae Ri to a pulp. One of the chumps asks about Seo Jun's refusal to fight girls, but the other one replies by saying that Seo Jun wouldn't just let off someone who hits his girlfriend Sang-ah. Sang-ah says that even she is afraid that Seo Jun might go overboard. Sang-ah then goes to see the fight at the rooftop, where she sees that her boyfriend Seo Jun is caught up by Kang Hae Hyo, who then delivers a massive brainbuster spike, which Arn Anderson would be proud of. Choi Woo sees this and understands that it's game over for Seo Jun right away, because he had also taken that move. Kang Hae Hyo sees that Seo Jun is down and out, and he wishes that Seo Jun doesn't get back up this time, because that would all but prove that he isn't a human. Meanwhile, Seo Jun's lackeys have also realized that Seo Jun has been beaten for real, which is why they get angry and try to act on it by trying to attack a tired Kang Hyo. However, just as they're about to attack him, Gyu Sang and Choi Woo come to the rescue. Gyu Sang hits a gorgeous-looking flying side kick to one of the lackeys midsection, whereas Choi Woo hits one of them with a wicked right hand to knock them out. This makes the lackeys retreat for a bit. Choi Woo and Gyu Sang make it clear on who they are siding with and tells the lackeys to mind their own business as Seo Jun is already down and out. They also warn anyone to step up if they want to, saying that they'll beat up anyone who wants to pick a fight with Kang Hae-hyo. Gyu Sang then tells a lackey to take Seo-jun to the infirmary, as he is severely hurt, and the lackey agrees, saying that they'll take care of Kang Hyo once they're done taking care of Seo-jun's problem. We then see the entire horde of people chanting Kang Hae-hyo's name, as Gyu Sang and Choi Woo offer him their support to stand tall once again. Kang Hyo asks why they're being so nice all of a sudden, to which they reply by telling if that they were already friends, and whispers to him that they should act friendly in front of people. The three then start acting all friendly and giddy to each other, and they start laughing. Kang Hae-ri sees this and wonders just how mysterious Kang Hae-hyo is, because he just beat the mighty Seo-jun out of nowhere. However, she wonders why the three of them were laughing so much. We then see Gyu Sang and Choi Woo are getting closer to Kang Hyo, and Kang Hae-ri doesn't quite like this, because she feels like they're replacing her from the 3 stars. Back at the principal's office, we see the principal informing the higher power that Kang Hae-hyo has won the fight. However, at that moment, Teacher Lee suddenly gets inside the office, and the principal quickly gets out of the footage of the fight and hangs up the call he was on. He tells the teacher to knock before coming in, but the teacher informs him about the fight between Seo-jun and Kang Hae-hyo, and the principal reacts to this as if he had no idea and show fake worry to rush to the scene, even disregarding his call as secondary to the student's safety. After they get out of the room, Pai-han gets out off from the underneath of the table and wonders just what is going, as the teacher was surely aware of the fight going on, so why did he suddenly act shocked? Later on, we see that Kang Hae-hyo has gotten out of the principal's office after some talk. Choi Woo and Gyu Sang are worried about the punishment that was being served to Kang Hae-hyo, so they get extra shocked to learn that not only was he left off the hook after a simple warning, but was also told about receiving a parcel from home. They're really shocked knowing that he wasn't given any serious punishment, and they start celebrating with him, and even plan to go with him to see what Kang Hyo had received from his family, but Kang Hae-ri doesn't like that. Kang Hae-ri tells her 2 friends that they're acting too happy, and that outsiders would think they're super close with Kang Hyo. However, Choi Woo and Gyu Sang take offense to this. They say that all this was directly caused by Kang Ri's issues with Seo-jun, and that Kang Hae-hyo defended her, and raised the reputation of the 3 stars by defeating the mighty Seo-jun. So they think that Kang Hae-ri should consider thanking Kang Hae, and should befriend him for now. This further angers the already angry Kang Hae-ri, as she says that she didn't get on her knees to ask someone to help her with this situation, so she has no reason to thank him. She also goes on to add that she is not Kang Hae-ri, and that she is the one true Kang Hae-hyo. Her temper had gone over the limit, so she decides to run away from the place, while thinking that she was really done wrong by God, because God made her a girl. This leaves Kang Hae-hyo all confused and worried. Meanwhile, Choi Woo and Gyu Sang have no idea on why she is behaving this way. They come to the conclusion that even though Kang Hae-ri acted like she was a male during junior high school, she is still a girl at heart. Then the 2 perverts speculate if she is going through periods or not, while getting all excited. Then they all decide to see the parcels that were sent to Kang Hae-hyo by his family. We then see that Kang Hae-ri has also received a parcel, but she didn't understand why it was there. Young Suri checks his parcel to see the same gift as well. It's the logo of the group that was made by Choi Suk-hwan. Kang Hyo also checks his parcels, and he also finds a lot of stickers from the same group, and he also gets surprised by this, as the mystery deepens regarding why such weird acts start to come all of a sudden. We then see Young Suri wondering just why would his family members send him these things. Just then his friend comes in and tells him about how Kang Hae-hyo had defeated the number 1 of Gangnam, Seo-jun. To which Young Suri replies by saying that he doesn't care about that stuff, and then his friend lets him know that because of Kang Hae-hyo's victory over Seo-jun, he is being touted as the number 1 of the entire ultimate high school. Young Suri is once again unfazed by this, saying that he doesn't care about what people think about. His friend then notices the 2 lion badges that Suri has on him, and Young Suri tells him that he had won one of those badges by beating him, and that's how he got the huge logo of the lion which sits proudly on his back. Suri's friend tells him that he should have 2 more of those badges, as to be the number 1 in Seoul, it was required for one to have 4 of those at once. This puts Young Suri on the spot, and he doesn't really have anything to refute the claims. In another scene, we see that Kang Hae-ri is in the hospital room, where a banged-up Seo-jun is staying. There, Kang Hae-ri gives Seo-jun back the badge she once took from him, saying that it's his badge. Seo-jun denies taking this, saying that he doesn't want her pity. Kong Ri makes it clear to him that she unfairly took it after losing the fight, so he is the desired holder of the badge. Seo Jun asks Kong Ri if she is doing all this to make fun of him after he lost to the fake Kong Hae Hyo. She replies to him saying that it's nothing like that, and that he didn't lose to Kong Hyo because he was weaker or anything. She reckons that he only lost the fight because he underestimated Kong Hyo. He only thought of him as an imposter, and when he started showing his skill, Seo Jun got overwhelmed and got outpaced by Kong Hyo. She reckons that only if he fought at his own pace and didn't let his guard down, he would have been easily beating guys like Kong Hae Hyo. Kong Ri is then about to leave after giving Seo Jun the badge. However, Seo Jun calls out to her and says that she doesn't want him to thank her. Seo Jun finally asks his question, asking that if he reopens the same group as the Predator chat group that ran the Survival of the Fittest challenge in Seoul, would she be interested in joining, to which Kong Ri says that it's a no-brainer for her and that she will definitely join. Kong Ri then tells him that she will be back to get back her badge, and as she is about to leave, she thinks about how she needs to prove her worth to everyone once again and break the misconceptions that girls can't be badasses. Seo Jun then calls her again. However, this time this isn't about anything important, as he just wants her to give back Sang-Os jersey. As it is a couple match with him, this embarrasses Kong Ri, as she complies with the request. We then see that Kong Hyo is sitting in his room and wondering why he was sent these badges instead of some actual clothes. Kong Hyo then remembers that particular day. We see the flashback where we see that Kong Hyo is being kicked in the face by Choi Suk-hwan, and Pai-han takes the opportunity to tell his chumps to take out Kong Hyo forever. However, Kong Hyo easily fought them off, but what really shocked him was that Choi Suk-hwan who attacked him again and said that he is not Kong Hyo's lackey, which Kong Hyo didn't understand what it was about. Kong Hyo then got beaten up by everyone there. Kong Hyo then vowed to take revenge on both Suk-hwan and Pai-han. However, as he was already down bad from the beatdown, he lost control and got hit by a truck, which totally ruined his life, as his next memory was going to a new school, where was bullied severely by others. Back to present time, what bothers Kong Hyo the most that he can't remember what took place between his accident and admission to a new school. Just as he was getting more and more frustrated, Kong Ri comes to his room and asks Kong Hyo if he is free. If so, she wants to fight him. Kong Hae Ri further puts her lion badge on the line, saying that she will give it to him if he wins. Kong Hyo then sees the lion badge while Kong Ri goes on about how the lion badge might look like it's nothing, but it is indeed one of the most valuable things out there, because it means that you are the strongest of your area, so she wants to fight him and prove it once and for all that who is the stronger one. Kong Hyo then calls her, and when she does come, he dumps all the badges he got in front of her, telling her to take as many as she wants. Kong Ri is overwhelmed by all this. Kong Hyo says that all the things she holds valuable to her might not be as valuable as she thinks it is. Kong Ri is feeling little when she sees that Kong Hyo has so many badges, and so Shade asks him just who is he, to which Kong Hyo replies that he doesn't quite know for sure himself, but he knows that this badge thing, everything about it, is the product of a joke he once did, and it was turned into a real thing by someone who can't take jokes. Kong Ri says that it doesn't matter how it was made, what matters is that he said that what she holds valuable now will have no value in the future. Kong Ri says that she is the kind of person who can't give a damn about the future, as her full focus is on the present. And that's why she wants to fight him. However, Kong Hyo directly rejects the challenge to the surprise of Kong Ri. Kong Hyo says that he doesn't want to fight her. Kong Ri asks him why he doesn't want to fight her, to which Kong Hyo simply replies by saying that he doesn't want to fight her because he likes her. This makes Kong Ri blush, and she says that she only flirted with him because she wanted him to fight Seo Jun, but Kong Hyo says that he already knew that, but that was the first time a girl had behaved like that with him, so he fell for her. Kong Hyo then asks Kong Ri out on a date. Kong Ri starts blushing profusely and says that she doesn't want to date him and calls him stupid for asking out the person who wants to fight him on a date. We then see the scene changes to 4 days later, where we see Young Suri being interrupted by his fat friend. The friend asks for his badge back, and Young Suri finds this amusing and asks him why he wants it, among other stuff. The friend replies by saying that he feels ashamed, knowing that he was the only one Suri beat while on his path to winning the crown of #1, and so he wants it back. Young Suri tells him about how he had challenged leaders from all regions, however, all of them were scared, and that they ran away like kids hearing that he was in their area. The friend understands this situation, decides to hold back on fighting. Right then and there, we see the sudden return of the mighty Seo Jun, who says that his lion badge was stolen by Kang Hae-ho. Sori and his buddy are a bit shocked after the return, and Seo-jun doesn't miss any time to argue. Seo-jun says that this is the only way they're going to figure out who is eligible to keep the badge. Sori dismisses him, telling him he was already disqualified because he lost to Kang Hae-hyo. Seo-jun tells him that the guy he lost to isn't the 3 stars Kang Hae-hyo, and Sori responds to this by saying that Seo-jun isn't making any sense. Seo-jun says that he is done talking and goes on the attack against Young Sori. Meanwhile, on the other hand, we see that Kang Ri is returning Sang-ah her jacket, which Sang-ah throws away. Kang Ri wonders why she threw away her couple jacket and asked if it is because she wore it. Sang-ah says that it is no longer a couple outfit because she doesn't want to associate with weak guys like Seo-jun. Kang Ri tells her that Seo-jun is starting again, and besides, he is doing great, and he will make a move again. She also further adds that the jersey jacket is expensive. Sang-ah replies by saying that not only is it an expensive piece of wear, but it is exclusively made too. Sang-ah also wonders if she rushed her breakup with Seo-jun. Meanwhile, Kang Hae-ri is happy because she got expensive clothes for free. Back to the fight, we see that Seo-jun's wild swing was countered by a counterpunch to the midsection by Young Sori. Young Sori then followed it all up with a barrage of punches to the same area of Seo-jun to devastate Seo-jun and hurt him. We then see that the punches have really taken a toll on Seo-jun, as we can see that he starts choking out thanks to those punches. After taking control of the fight with the midsection blows, Young Sori delivers an emphatic uppercut to the chin on Seo-jun to knock him down. Seo-jun is out of it after this beat down, but he tries to get back up, while Young Sori teases him by saying that Seo-jun doesn't have any excuses to call back to this time, as he just lost badly anyway. This angers Seo-jun, as he retorts back to this by saying that he is the best of Gangnam, so Young Sori shouldn't take him so lightly. Saying this, Seo-jun tries to get up and restart the fight. However, he feels a sudden pull around his stomach area and immediately holds on to that area, and this was the perfect chance for Young Sori to land a quick hook to knock him down, as we learn that those midsection shots really messed up Seo-jun. Despite pretty much winning there, Young Sori decides to continue the beatdown by getting on top of Seo-jun and continuing the beatdown with some non-stop grounding and pounding. Young Sori says that what he enjoys the most is beating up people like Seo-jun, saying that he finds another kind of pleasure from beating up rich kids who think they're the real deal. Young Sori's friend was shocked, seeing this cynical version of his friend. He wonders why he is being so aggressive towards Seo-jun in particular, and thinks about how it wasn't the same when he had fought him. We then see a flashback of sorts where Young Sori is beating up a guy. After that, Young Sori and his friends are talking about how people aren't the same as people make it out to be, and that class distinctions do exist. His friends then talk about how people of the higher class aren't loyal, just like how the friends of the people they just beat up when they started losing. Young Sori replies to this by saying that his friends ran away when they had the chance to which his friends replied by saying that they let him do that on purpose because they knew that he could handle it. They then go on to praise Young Sori as a hero who slayed 17 opponents on his own. Young Sori is obviously flustered up by this, and he wants to exaggerate the claims by asking them to say that he took out 50 to 100 guys on their own, when even 17 was a huge stretch. After this, we learn about Young Sori's viewpoint. He thinks about how there's a gap in classes even between him and his friends. He thinks that this class disparity is made even more clear in the adults' world. Like how his friend, Duckman's father, is the head of a departmental store. That's why people call him President Kim. Meanwhile, Jingu's father works at a small company, so he is called Manager Lim. However, Young Sori's father, he is just plain old Mr. Young. We learn that Young Sori's father, Mr. Young, is just a poor construction worker. It is seen that a man is ordering Mr. Young around to load up the bricks. Young Sori then wonders just where Mr. Young falls in the social hierarchy. Just then, we see that Seo-jun has arrived at the scene on his sports bike. Seo-jun talks to the person ordering around Mr. Young, who is his uncle, and he asks the man for some money from him. The man tells him that Seo-jun could have just asked his super rich father for the money, but Seo-jun says that he can't do it because he doesn't want them to know what he needs the money for. The man then tells him to stop getting into problematic stuff and offers him $3,000, which Seo-jun accepts. Young Sori sees this and understands that his father and him are really at the bottom of the social hierarchy, as they stand no way near those people in status. That is when Young Suri's father's eyes meet with his son, and this causes him to lose focus in embarrassment, and this makes him drop the bricks that he was carrying. The dropped bricks end up hitting Seojun's bike, and this makes Seojun and his uncle mad, and they yell and chew out Mr. Young. However, Mr. Young doesn't stay quiet, as he takes out the anger from these things on Young Suri and his little sister at home. We come back to the current timeline where Young Suri says that his father might just be a normal Mr. Young, but he is not, he is special and he is the best there is. We then see a beaten up and laid down Seojun on the ground, while a victorious and strong Young Suri stands atop of him. Young Suri then approaches his fat friend and asks him whether or not he still wants the lion badge that he was asking for before Seojun had come and interrupted their talk. His friend, who had just seen the destruction that was caused by him, understandably says that he must have gone mindless when he had asked for the lion badge, and makes it clear to Young Suri that he wants none of that. Young Suri then explains to him that he can just go ahead and take the lion badge that belongs to Seojun now that he is down and out, and in exchange for that, all he needs to do is to take Seojun to the infirmary and make sure he gets treated, and he needs to take the blame for being the one who beat up Seojun. His friend, Wang Dongjin, agrees to do as said to him. However, the rumors of Young Suri laying a beat down on Seojun has already gone viral around the school. The story kicks back off from where it was left off, as we see the entire school talking about Seojun getting beaten up by Young Suri. Even Gyu Sang and Choi Woo are talking about these things. However, Kang Hyo is not interested in hearing about this, and he tells the duo to leave if they don't have anything better to say. Gyu Sang replies that he should care about this, as Young Suri is a potential threat to him. However, Kang Hyo seems out of it. Gyu Sang and Choi Woo then ask Kang Hyo what really has gone wrong with him for him to be behaving like this, to which Kang Hyo replies by saying that he had asked out Kang Hae-ri, but she rejected him. This makes Choi Woo burst out in laughter, as he asks just why would Kang Hyo fall for a girl like Kang Ri, and questions his taste in women. Gyu Sang, however, says that he finds her cute, but the duo agree on the point that Kang Hae-ri is not girlfriend material. However, as they are making fun of Kang Hyo, it dawns upon them that Hae-ri might be looking forward to participate and win the Ultimate Survivor tournament that is coming up, but they convince themselves that she is not that dumb, and that she definitely knows the limits of her feminine body. However, with Kang Ri it's hard to say, because she does what she wants and she might end up fighting beasts like Young Suri if she really wants to. This part in particular strikes Kang Hae-hyo, as he wonders what would happen if his beloved Kang Hae-ri were to fight someone as infamous as Young Suri. However, he remembers how Young Suri says he is not into fighting anymore, because he needs to buy pizza for his sister, and assures himself that it will be all okay going forward. Meanwhile, in the ladies' bathroom, we see that Kang Hae-ri is looking in the mirror and checking out her appearance. She talks to herself about how no one is taking her seriously because of her body and gender, and because of that she must change her appearance. We then see her use contact lenses to change the way her pupils look, and use water to restyle her hair. She also uses bandage tape to tape her chest up to give it a more masculine look. After doing so, Hae-ri gets out of the ladies' bathroom, and all the girls are shocked seeing a guy walking out of there. We then learn that Hae-ri has decided to dial it back, and become the 3-star leader Kang Hae-hyo again, and to prove her worth and gain necessary amounts of respect, she has decided to take on Young Suri and beat him to a pulp. As this is going on, Young Suri is seen in the school corridor with his 2 badges in hand. Young Suri thinks about how he is better than his father, and how he is so very close to being crowned the winner of the Ultimate Survivor, and that the only person remaining for him to beat is 3 stars Kang Hae-hyo. Just then, the principal runs in to Young Suri and asks him if something good has happened, as Young Suri was looking very happy. The principal then asked Young Suri if he had received the belongings from his parents, to which Young Suri replied that it was obvious that the school had told their families to pack up and send these things to them. The principal replies to this by saying that despite that, the feelings of Young Suri's father could be felt within that package, so he should be happy. The principal then further goes on to add that Young Suri should stay alert, because something good is going to happen soon, and that he will hear about it soon. Saying this, the principal left the scene, and it left Young Suri wondering just what had the principal meant when he said that something good is going to happen. As he is pondering about that, Young Suri is met by an angry Kang Hae-ri, who is now in the form of the 3-star leader, Kang Hae-hyo. Hae-ri keeps it short and simple, She challenges Young Suri to fight her, and this surprises Young Suri as the challenge was abrupt to say the least. Hae-ri then introduces herself as the 3-star faction leader, Kang Hae-hyo, and puts her lion badge on the line. Saying this, Hae-ri tries to ambush Young Suri with a quick right hand. However, despite the quickness of the blow, Young Suri easily manages to dodge it and get into fighting position for himself. This leaves Hae-ri shocked, as she didn't see Young Suri being this quick. However, as she observed his footwork and stance, it became obvious to Hae-ri that Young Suri is someone who specializes in the art of boxing. Young Suri then tells Kang Hae-ri that it was cheap of her to attack him so abruptly. However, he is glad to have found her so quickly, because he was going to look for her and fight her anyway. Young Suri accepts Hae-ri's challenge and puts his lion mark jacket on the line, saying the winner of their bout will be the only deserving holder of the said jacket. As the fight is starting between the 3-star leader and Young Suri, we see the conversation between Kang Hyo, Gyu Sang, and Choi Woo continue. Gyu Sang and Choi Woo are a bit shocked on how confident Kang Hyo is about Hae-ri and Young Suri not fighting. Kang Hyo reassures them, saying that Young Suri does not want to fight anyone because he has a sister who he wants to buy pizza for. The duo seem a bit skeptical because of this. However, Kang Hyo tells them that Young Suri is not the type of guy to fight girls, and that he is not that big of a deal. Kang Hyo says that Seo Jun wouldn't have lost the fight against him if it weren't for Seo Jun misjudging him. Kang Hyo adds that Seo Jun is not used to fighting strong guys, which is why he takes everyone lightly, and he also adds that Seo Jun is fighting wrong, because despite having very strong kicks, he focuses on punches only. He adds that one should focus on their strengths to win fights. Choi Woo and Gyu Sang are curious to know what is Kang Hyo's specialty, to which he replies by saying that he has none. This leaves the duo confused, as Kang Hyo is a very good fighter. Kang Hyo then explains it by saying that he is someone who has mastered the arts of fighting in general, so he is good at grappling, kicking, fighting, everything. This makes Choi Woo and Gyu Sang are a bit annoyed by Kang Hyo's arrogance, but they get the point. The duo then asks Kang Hyo what he will do if Young Suri were to beat up his girl, to which Kang Hyo says that he will definitely beat up Young Suri, as he had already promised everyone that he would be protecting his girl no matter what. The duo makes fun of him for saying this, as despite calling Hae-ri his girl, he actually got rejected by her. Kang Hyo then tells them about how he is someone who has never had a girlfriend. Maybe it was because of him being too preoccupied with his fighting and whatnot, but love was something which had always avoided him. So when Hae-ri told him that she liked him, it was the first time he ever felt that way, because it was the first time anyone had told him that they liked him. Even if it was fake, it was special to him. Just at that moment, we see Seojin's ex-girlfriend, Sang-ah, show up out of nowhere and tell Kang Hyo that he should date her instead, because she is way hotter than the tomboy that is Kang Hae-ri. Gyu Sang and Choi Woo are shocked by this, as they see Sang-ah as Seojin's girlfriend, but Sang-ah tells them that it is old news and that she left Seo Jun. Sang-ah then gets near Kang Hyo and tells him that he should definitely choose her, as she will give him anything he wants, be that money or anything else. Sang-ah is an attractive girl, so Kang Hyo can't help but feel a bit shy from this sudden burst of attention. However, just then, someone comes to the classroom to report about the fight between 3-star factions Kang Hae-hyo and Young Suri going on. This shocks Sang-ah, as she thought Kang Hyo was the leader of the 3 stars. Whereas Kang Hyo, Gyu Sang, and Choi Woo also rushed to the scene, as their worst nightmare had come true. As they arrive there, what they see shocks them, as they see a male version of Hae-ri standing tall and donning the jacket of the lion mark, while Young Suri is down on the ground. Kang Hae-ri notices that Kang Hyo is also there, and she uses this as an opportunity to lay down the challenge. Kang Hae-ri calls him the fake 3-star leader and tells him that as the winner of the Ultimate Survivor, she is the best, and she would love to solidify that by beating Kang Hyo. However, Kang Hyo doesn't even recognize her and thinks about just who she is. As time goes on, Kang Hyo feels like he has seen her somewhere, but just then, Sang-ah gets near Hae-ri, thinking she is a guy. Sang-ah says that she would love to date a sexy and strong man like Hae-ri, because after all, she has beaten up the man who had beaten up her ex-boyfriend, so it puts Hae-ri on the top of the food chain, which is why Sang-ah wants her. However, Kang Hae-ri doesn't have any of it, and pushes away Sang-ah like she was an afterthought. Kang Hae-ri then tells everyone to move aside, asking why they have gathered, and if they have never seen a fight taking place before. Sang-ah feels weird, she has never been rejected by anyone, yet here she got rejected by the leader of the 3 stars, and not only that, she has also been pushed down by this person, and despite that, it makes Sang-ah like Kang Hae-hyo even more because she sees them as a bad boy. Kang Hyo wonders just who this guy is, and why they are calling themselves the leader of the 3 star, when it was supposed to be Kang Hae-ri. Yu Sang then informs Kang Hyo that the person challenging to her fight is none other than the Kang Hae-ri that he likes. This shocks Kang Hyo as he doesn't believe that Kang Hae-ri has gone on to become like that. Kang Hyo then tells Yu Sang and Choi Woo to fix Kang Hae-ri and tell her to go back to being Kang Hae-ri, as she looks weird this way and that it doesn't suit her. Choi Woo and Yu Sang apologize to him, which leaves him confused, as he has no idea why they are apologizing. However, the duo then explain themselves, saying that they apologize because they won't be able to take his side in this battle, because whether she is a girl or guy, doesn't matter because she is their leader and they will be taking her side no matter what because she is their friend. We then see the duo, and even Sang-ah leave with Kang Hae-ri. This leaves Kang Hyo alone and wondering just what is even happening. We then see the 3 star faction going to meet Seo-jun, who lays down all injured. Hae-ri then informs Seo-jun about how she had defeated the unbeatable Young Suri. This shocks Seo-jun as he says that it is unbelievable that she did beat him, considering the fact he fought him and thinks that he was way stronger. Hae-ri says that she beat him by using his weak points against him. Seo-jun guesses that she used his boxing background against him by using kicks against him, but Hae-ri tells him that she used wrestling against him and grappled her way to victory. We then see a flashback of the fight, where Kang Hae-ri directly went for the double leg takedown. Young Suri saw this, and was prepared to fight his way out of it. However, as he tried to fight her off, he felt her chest, which put him off track. This moment of hesitation allowed Hae-ri to get the upper hand in the fight, and she took the back control. Even with Hae-ri on her back, Young Suri couldn't help but think of perverted things, and about how a girl is the real leader of the 3 star faction. This allowed Hae-ri to slip in a rare naked chokehold, and by the time Young Suri realized that he was being choked out, it was too late, and he had already fainted out, giving Hae-ri the victory. We see that Young Suri is also thinking about this in his bedroom. Young Suri thinks about how he let himself down with that loss and that he lost his first fight ever to a girl of all people. He then thinks about what the principal had told him about good times coming, and about how his father packed the item for him with great care. He checks on the stuff to see his father had sent him photos of his father and mother from his boxing days. Young Suri understands that it wasn't just the alcohol which made his father like that, and that maybe the fact that he became a weak person despite being a boxing champion also hurt him. That being said, he still feels off-putted by all the pictures his dad sent him. Meanwhile, Kang Hyo is thinking about what Yu Sang and Choi Woo told him about them backing Hae-ri instead of him because she is their friend. He also thinks about the stuff Pai-han said about him being an awful friend, and wonders if those are true because he doesn't have any friends. As that is being said, we see a helicopter around the ultimate high school, and it carries Choi Suk-hwan and his buddies, who are going to join the school, and they can't wait to meet their friends. We then see unrest being caused at TH school as the helicopter carrying Choi Suk-hwan and other students from the rural area lands. The students are left wondering what is happening, and even the teachers are left perplexed about this. Teacher Lee asks the principal just why the students from the rural area have arrived, when they were supposed to come a month or so later, to which a confused principal says that he has the same question in mind, and that he doesn't even have the answer to it. Teacher Lee is weirded out by this, and says that if the principal has no idea about this situation, how can someone else? A flashback is then seen, where we see that Pai-han-ul is confused by the teacher feigning innocence, and saying that he has no idea about the fight between Kang Hae-hyo and Seo-jun taking place, even though he watched it through his laptop. Pai-han then tried checking on the laptop to see what is really going on. However, he presses some wrong commands and this activates the second action as stated in the laptop. Pai-han got scared by this and ran away. Back to the present time, principal says that he doesn't know who or what started the second action before it was supposed to start. However, he says that he will be taking care of the inner workings, so teacher Lee should go and welcome the new students warmly and don't let them start a fight with the existing student, because they don't want any more blood to be shed. Teacher Lee then goes to check on the students, and we see that the principal gets on the phone with someone from the higher-ups. The principal is then shocked to know that the second action was activated by him. The principal can't believe that it happened from his computer. The person on the call then asks the principal about Kang Hae-hyo and how he has been doing lately. The principal replies that Kang Hae-hyo is currently in a fight with a female student called Kang Hae-ri. The higher-up asks if the fight between the two Kangs is something that has to do with romance, to which the principal says that it is a genuine fight. This baffles the higher-up as he asks why would a top-tier prospect like Kang Hae-hyo be fighting with a girl, and asks if Kang Hae-hyo was even the right choice for the prospect. The principal says that he isn't sure about that, but he clarifies that Kang Hae-ri is the leader of the Three Stars faction, and that she is also called Kang Hae-hyo, and that she had gone back to being Kang Hae-hyo, and that the fight is actually Kang. This, understandably, confuses the higher-up, and he states that to the principal, who keeps on talking about how in a fight between Kang Hae-hyo and Kang Hae-hyo, Kang Hae-hyo will come out as the winner. The higher-up gets pissed off and tells the principal to ignore these things and focus on picking out a prospect from the rural area students instead. He specifically tells him to keep an eye on the student called Choi Suk-hwan. We then see that Choi Suk-hwan has stepped foot within the grounds of the school, and everyone has gathered to see just who he is. Choi Suk-hwan, however, only has Kang Hyo in his mind, and he is thinking about getting his hands on the man who he has been yearning to beat up. Choi Suk-hwan then yells out Kang Hae-hyo's name and asks him to come forth, so that they can meet up after ages and settle their differences. Everyone, including Kang Hae-ri, is left confused by what Choi Suk-hwan means. Pai Han-ul notices Choi Suk-hwan from a distance, and he quickly runs towards him to meet up. Pai Han-ul is happy seeing his old buddy Suk-hwan, and is glad that he is here, and now he won't have to fear Kang Hyo anymore, because after all, Pai Han was scared for his life ever since he got beaten up by Kang Hyo, and has been eagerly waiting for this day. However, instead of getting accepted and embraced by his friend, Pai Han gets kicked in the guts by Suk-hwan. The kick is quite strong, and it drops Pai Han to his knees. Suk-hwan then stomps on Pai Han's head to assert his dominance, and asks Pai Han just what made him think that he can run away at first, and then when it is beneficial to him, he can come back and pretend to be Suk-hwan's equal again. Pai Han has no answer for this, as he succumbs to the much stronger Suk-hwan. That being said, we see Won-dong-jin stepping up for Pai Han-ul. Won-dong-jin tells Suk-hwan that as a new student, he should act like one and respect the older ones instead of coming here and fighting like he is some sort of a boss. Suk-hwan is disappointed seeing someone like Won-dong-jin being the one to step up to him, as it means that Kang Hae-hyo hasn't gotten full control over everything in the school yet. Suk-hwan replies to Won-dong-jin by calling him a pig, and further adds that he should keep his mouth shut. This angers Won-dong-jin as he goes to hit Choi Suk-hwan with a punch. However, he is intercepted by the huge friend of Suk-hwan, who hits him with a flying kick and asks the question as to why weak kids like Dong-jin gets to be number one in their designated area. A new era has begun for the ultimate high school. We see that the drop kick had sent Won-dong-jin flying back, and it also drew blood from him. Everyone in attendance was shocked by this, as they couldn't believe how a heavyweight guy like that managed to fly across the air like that. Pai Han wonders who that guy is because he sure seemed very familiar to him. Just then, Suk-hwan calls out the guy as Hong Bor and tells him not to get too excited, to which the guy replies that he wasn't overly excited and just wanted to land a beautiful drop kick. This refreshes Pai Han's memory, as he remembers who Hong Bor is. Pai Han recalls his time at the juvenile prison in Daegu, and how that prison was dominated by Hong Bor. Even though he was just 17 years old, he was the boss. Pai Han had never met the guy in person before. However, from what he knows about him, it is for sure that the guy is a full-fledged monster like no other. Pai Han wonders how Hong Bor is so close with Suk-hwan though, because they are coming off as friends to him. Suk-hwan tells Hong Bor that his kick was lame, and that a pig can only fly so much, so the kick didn't look very aesthetically pleasing. Hong Bor corrects Suk-hwan, telling him that he is a boar and not a ping. Just then we see another guy popping up, and he has brought other guys along with him. The guy chews out Hong Pig and Suk-hwan for leaving him high and dry. Hong Bor is pissed off by this, as he only considers himself a boar and not a pig. The guy doesn't pay much attention to this and instead decides to check out the school campus, as he states that the school isn't that bad after all, and says that they must have used his dad's tax-paying money to make it so damn large and luxurious. The guy then changes his attention to the people of the school, and he is not entirely pleased by seeing all the guys looking at him with malice in their eyes. As he is checking them out, one of the students speaks up and tells him that he is a real shame. The guy continues on, saying that the future of South Korea's boxing, Yoo Myung-in, is a delinquent is a shame. This angers Yoo Myung-in, as he asks who dared to take his name, and then talks crap about his boxing, and tells them to show up. We then see that the person who showed up is none other than Young Suri. Young Suri talks about how he had once considered Yoo Myung a rival for him in boxing. He further adds that it is a real shame that South Korea's chances of a future gold medal in boxing just went down the drain. Yoon Myung-in is left confused by all this info dump, and so he asks Young Suri who he is, and as he is about to introduce himself, Yoo Myung-in throws a rapid fast punch at him and tells him that he shouldn't be talking about boxing to him. The punch is very impactful, and despite the fact that Young Suri had managed to block it, the impact had sent him sliding back. Young Suri was stunned by the speed, and Yoon Myung-in was also shocked by the fact that Young Suri managed to block a punch from him. Yoo Myung-in gets excited by the prospect of competition and challenges Young Suri to a proper one-on-one boxing-style fight to test out who the better man is. Young Suri accepts the challenge, and the fight is on. As the fight is about to begin though, Kang Hae-ri had arrived downstairs to stop them, alongside Choi Woo and Gyu Sang. Kang Hae-ri tells both Yoo Myung-in and Young Suri to stop, stating that they're all in the same situation and that fighting is the last thing they should consider. The angry audience yells at Kang Hae-ri, calling her 3 stars Kang Hae-hyo, and telling her that she must have chickened out and that she should talk for herself only. This confuses Choi Suk-hwan, as he doesn't remember Kang Hyo looking like this, and what confirms it even more is the jersey she is wearing. It's the one he made for his internet group chat tournament. Kang Hae-ri walks up to Suk-hwan and asks him why he had been calling out her name so passionately. This makes Suk-hwan laugh and scoff. He tells Hae-ri that he has no time to deal with imposter wannabes such as Hae-ri, so she should just step back and bring out the real Kang Hae-hyo. This pisses off Hae-ri a lot, and she decides to teach Choi Suk-hwan a lesson. Hae-ri loads up a punch to hit him. However, her punch is caught from behind by Kang Hyo, who tells her that Suk-hwan wasn't looking for her. Hae-ri then steps back, and Kang Hyo comes to the front. Kang Hyo tells Suk-hwan that he knows that he is there to fight him, and he can't wait either, so they should just go ahead and get this over with. However, instead of fighting, Suk-hwan hugs Kang Hyo and tells him that he was missing him. This somewhat melts Kang Hyo as he thinks that Suk-hwan wasn't here to fight after all. Meanwhile, Kang Hae-ri is surprised to see that Suk-hwan was a friend of Kang Hyo's and wonders just how weird and surprising can Kang Hyo get. Choi Woo and Gyu Sang are also surprised to see that Suk-hwan is Kang Hyo's friend. However, they are glad knowing that, as they wish to get to know more about Kang Hyo's past through Suk-hwan. Suk-hwan's friends are also pissed off. Hong-bor in particular is mad that Suk-hwan was pretending that he was pissed, when in actuality, he couldn't wait to meet his old friend. However, Yoo Myung-in says that to him, it looks like that he couldn't wait to end this old friend of his. We then see Suk-hwan using the bear hug he had on Kang Hae-hyo to hit him with a judo slam to the ground. Kang Hyo is taken by surprise thanks to this, but Suk-hwan is on the offense and he goes forward to punch him while he is on the ground, while saying that he always considered Kang Hae-hyo a friend, but he always considered Suk-hwan a lackey of his, which is why he will take revenge on him. As he is about to land the punch, Kang Hyo gets his legs up to block the punch, and Kang Hyo asks Suk-hwan just what he means by lackey. Kang Hyo then flips out of the ground and gets into position, before telling Suk-hwan that he never considered him a lackey. In fact, he considered Suk-hwan to be his best friend. Kang Hyo tries to retaliate with a punch of his own. However, Suk-hwan dodges it and tells Kang Hyo that he doesn't believe the best friend crap that he is sprouting. This pisses off Kang Hyo, as he dodges a kick by Suk-hwan and about to hit him with a shot of his own. However, Hong-bor intervenes and hits Kang Hyo with a kick. Suk-hwan uses this chance to punch him in the face, which makes Kang Hyo bleed. Hong-bor and Suk-hwan then make fun of Kang Hae-hyo, saying that he lacks friends as always. The beatdown of Kang Hyo then continues, as Suk-hwan and Hong-bor unload their best blows on a helpless Kang Hae-hyo, who is unable to defend himself from said beatdown. Kang Hae-ri sees this, and being unable to see such an unfair beatdown continue, Kang Hae-ri decides to step in and help out Kang Hae-hyo. But before she is able to do so, Choi Woo stops her and tells her that it is for the best that she doesn't step in. Kang Hae-ri is confused by this, but Choi Woo explains that despite being unfair, the fight is taking place between two old foes, so it should stay between them. Meanwhile, we see that Seok-hwan and Hong-bor are still continuing their relentless beatdown on Kang-hyo, and Seok-hwan says that he is doing this for all the times Kang-hyo has tricked him, and that he will have none of that anymore. As he is getting beaten up, Kang-hyo wonders just what is Seok-hwan even on about, because Seok-hwan was the one who stabbed Kang-hyo in the back and not the other way around. Hong-bor then says that he is going to finish this off with an emphatic blow, as he jumps up to drop his body weight on Kang-hyo. Seok-hwan tells him to stop, as he wants to be the one to finish this fight. However, it is too late and Hong-bor is going to do it. Just as he is about to crush Kang-hyo, Seo-jun suddenly comes to the scene and hits Hong-bor with a kick which sends him flying back. Seo-jun's sudden appearance shocks just about everyone, and even Hong-bor acknowledges that the kick from Seo-jun was a damn strong one, despite the man's skinny build. Seo-jun then speaks up and says that it is very unfair how two people are beating up one guy. Seo-jun then yells out at everyone who watched this all go down and made fun of them, saying that they should be embarrassed for staying put when new guys like Seok-hwan and Hong-bor were acting up, and pretty much made them all look like clowns. Seo-jun then riles up everyone, telling them to man up and step up to the front lines, saying that if they really are the #1 fighters from their designated area, they should show it. This fires up everyone, and they are ready to step forward to help take out these new kids. Sang-ah is once again back on the Seo-jun train thanks to this, as she finds his leadership capabilities incredibly sexy, and thinks about not letting him go after all. Meanwhile, we see that Kang Hae-hyo is losing the consciousness that he had till now, and he says that his head has been spinning wildly. We then see a mini flashback where someone random is seen asking Kang Hae-hyo about who Seok-hwan is to him, if he is a friend or not. To which Kang Hae-hyo replied by saying that he is like an errand boy at best, and that he is not a friend to him at all. Back to the present time, Seo-jun is seen telling Choi Seok-hwan to stay in his limit and behave like ideal freshman. Seok-hwan replies to this by saying that he is willing to behave like the average freshman in high school. However, just the fact that Seo-jun and everyone else in the school is so weak makes him not want to respect them, and so he has decided to not show them respect after all. This was the final straw for everyone watching, as they say that they had enough and charge on to attack Seok-hwan and other new guys to show them what is needed to be done to people like them. Whereas Seok-hwan also charges towards them with his lackeys and several other guys who had joined the school that day, to show the old guard that they are nothing but a bunch of second-rate losers. As this is going on, Kang Hae-hyo revisits the scene of him getting run over by a truck, which caused the major memory loss for him again. And while he is at it, he notices that the person who ran him over was none other than a very pissed off and jealous Choi Seok-hwan. This fires up Kang Hae-hyo as he gets up from falling flat. This shocks everyone, and Choi Seok-hwan is impressed too, as he says that Kang Hae-hyo has the same incredible endurance as he always had, and says that he is glad that he is back up, because he still has a lot of pent-up anger to take out on this friend of his. Kang Hae-hyo means business though, as he tells Choi Seok-hwan to get ready and drop the whole friend act. The big fight is on. Kang Hae-hyo then tells Choi Seok-hwan that they should keep this fight between themselves and not let others get involved. Seok-hwan replies that he is fine with fighting Kang Hae-hyo one-on-one, and in fact, he actually wanted to fight one-on-one with him for a long time. After all, they never had the opportunity to fight properly despite everything. As this is being said, Seok-hwan already threw the first kick of the fight to the head of Kang Hae-hyo, which Kang Hae-hyo manages to block swiftly. Kang Hae-hyo then swiftly turns around and hits a spinning heel kick to Choi Seok-hwan, as he said that he never had a reason to fight trash like Seok-hwan or his buddies, and that is why they have never fought. The kick is parried away Choi Seok-hwan, however, he still felt a bit of the impact from it. We also see Kang Hae-ri and others saying to Kang Hae-hyo that he shouldn't keep this one-on-one, because their sentiments were also hurt by these new lads, so they want their share of the meat too. It is seen that the old guard of Ultimate High School start their battle with the new rural area students, and it soon gets very ugly. As the fight is going on, Yoon Myung-in watched on carefully, but he is once again called out by Young Suri, who challenges him to a fight, saying that even though he is ashamed to consider someone like Myung-in a rival, it is best for them to fight each other. Yoon Myung-in makes fun of Young Suri, saying that he is really something for randomly calling a top-tier boxer like him a rival. Young Suri replies to this by adding that he is not challenging him to a boxing bout, but a fight, and that a fight is much different than a boxing bout. This angers Yoon Myung-in as he says that people like Young Suri deserves a proper beatdown for being brats, and he throws the first punch saying that. Young Suri avoids the punch. We also see that a fight between Seo-jun and all the bullies are going on. As Seo-jun is fighting those bullies, he is hit with a flying kick by Hong-bor. Hong-bor then tells Seo-jun that he is a great kicker, and that his kicks are quite expensive. Seo-jun, who manages to take the kick well, says that he is quite rich, so he can pay for the expensive kicks. But that being said, Seo-jun wants to pay for this all by beating up Hong-bor. We then see both Hong-bor and Seo-jun going at it with their kicks. Just as the fight is going on, another helicopter arrives to the scene, and it makes everyone stop fighting for the moment being. The helicopter lands, and the ones to come out from it are none other than the father of Young Suri and his little sister, Soo-young. Young Suri is shocked after seeing this, and he wonders just why his father is there, and realizes that he might have joined to be a teacher. His father asks Young Suri what he is up to, and his little sister Soo-young runs towards him to give him a hug. Teacher Lee then explains to Young Suri that this is the gift that the principal had told him about, and she further explained that his father has joined the school as a physical education teacher, and will also operate as a boxing instructor due to his incredible boxing accolades. She also adds that they allowed his sister to come here, so that she can live with her father, and not be left alone at such a young age. Young Suri's father tells him that he won't be going easy on him, despite the fact that he is his kid. Teacher Lee then tells everyone to stop fighting and gather at the school hall for a meeting. Choi Suk-hwan tells Kang Hae-hyo that he was saved by the teacher, or else he would have finished him off for good. Meanwhile, Kang Hyo replied to this by saying that this is his line to say, and that he would be the one finishing Suk-hwan off. However, as everything has stopped, we see that one fight is still going on. It is seen that a girl is dragging Sang-ah by the hair. Sang-ah tells her that her hair is expensive and that she should totally let go off it. However, the girl aggressive and doesn't let go. Teacher Lee tells the girl to stop from fighting in front of the teachers and holds her back. The girl yells out that she won't be stopped by anyone, teacher or not. However, the girl turns around to see that it is Teacher Lee, and even Teacher Lee is shocked to know that it was Hyunju of all people. As this is all going on, we see the principal watch it all from the school building with his binoculars. Hyunju then tells Sang-ah that she is lucky that she is letting her off for now, and that this is not over between them, because she will eventually get her back and teach her a proper lesson. Hyunju is frustrated that a girl like Sang-ah, who has no capabilities and can't fight to save her life, is getting on top of the school for no reason. We then see that Sang-ah has closed her eyes, and she adds that she can no longer feel the pain. Maybe it is because of getting too many times. Just then she notices that she is being guarded by Seo-jun, who tells her that she is not looking very well, and that she should just go to the infirmary to get herself treated. This action really touches Sang-ah's heart, and she is also moved to tears. However, Sang-ah does not want to be seen in such a way by her boyfriend, so she decides to leave the scene immediately while clutching onto her face to hide it. She even trips and falls on her way out. Seo-jun is understandably worried about her. However, it is seen that Hyunju has seemingly fallen for Seo-jun as well. Hyunju thinks to herself that Seo-jun is really perfect as he is manly, and has the celebrity face to boot up, so he is exactly her type in that sense. Seo-jun then calls out Hyunju to confront her over what just happened. However, Hyunju is too damn into him, so she calls him her prince in reply, which makes Seo-jun understand that he should probably quit trying to talk to her seriously. Later on, Sang-ah is having a conversation with her friends, and she is surprised to know that her lackeys think that even if the three of them teamed up, they would be unable to beat Hyunju. Her lackeys tell her that Yoo Hyunju is the second oldest of 6 siblings, and that the 5 other siblings are Al brothers. Maybe it is because of the fact that she grew up with only brothers, but she is really a tough girl, and the 3 of them would stand no chance against someone like her. Sang-ah is at a loss of words after hearing this, and she adds that maybe they can't really do anything after all, and that they would have to live under the shoes of Yoo Hyunju from now on. However, one of her lackeys tells Sang-ah that there is someone who can definitely fight her and beat her, and that someone is none other than Kang Hae-ri, because like Hyunju, Hae-ri can also beat up guys. Sang-ah is skeptical of this idea, because of the obviously sour relationships between her and Hae-ri. However, her friends tell her that there is no other way out of it, because Yoo Hyun-ju is not a normal girl, and she did tell her that she will come back to get the better of Sang-ah again, and not to mention, that girl didn't even bother hitting her in front of the teachers, so even if their relations with Hae-ri is bad, they need to approach her for help. The lackey adds that Hae-ri does not really have any friends, so if they behave well with her, and ask her nicely to be friends with them, she will definitely help them with this Yoo Hyun-ju situation going forward. Sang-ah understands the point, however she adds that she has no idea about the whereabouts of Kang Hae-ri, and says that she hasn't seen her in ages, to which her lackeys also say that they have not seen her either. Sang-ah wonders just where is Kang Hae-ri nowadays. As this is going on, the scene changes and we see that Kang Hae-ri, in her Kang Hae-hyo form, is fighting on Choi Suk-hwan. We see that the fight is not going well at all for Kang Hae-ri, as she is getting beaten to pulp by Suk-hwan. Suk-hwan dodges through several kicks from Hae-ri, and uses his palm to block her vision and disguise a punch, which he hits her with and it sends her go flying back. Suk-hwan tells Hae-ri that even though she has some decently quick kicks, and has the necessary technique, she does not have the power to compete with him, and that is why he is going to put her down with ease now. Hae-ri does not like the fact that Suk-hwan is looking down on her, and tries to attack him front on. However, she is no match for the speed and brilliance of Choi Suk-hwan, who picks her apart like she is nothing. Choi Suk-hwan makes fun of her for being the number one, and laughs at how weak she really is, before he once again uses his palm to distract her from the real punch combo which he throws at her, and the combo knocks her out cold, and leaves her bleeding. Sang-ah saw all this happening at the rooftop, and went back to report it. As all of this takes place, we see Kang Hyo going up to Seo-jun, who asks him if he has anything important to say to him about anything. Kang Hyo blushingly tells Seo-jun that he is thankful to him for helping him out with the fight against Suk-hwan, and says that if it wasn't for him, he would have been crushed by Hong Bor. Seo-jun gets annoyed by this, as he says that he had expected something important from him when he wanted to talk this late at night instead of going to sleep. Seo-jun tells Kang Hyo that he had no intentions of helping him, and that he only went up there because he felt disrespected by the freshmen, and says that he found the whole situation rather unfair. Kang Hyo says that he does not know why he helped him, but he adds that he did something for him which no one else did at that point, and that it was something only friends do. Seo-jun replies saying that Kang Hyo is very childish for someone who is such a deadly fighter. He says that friends are nothing special and that friends are someone who you hang out with a few times. Seo-jun also adds that he had though that Suk-hwan was also a friend of Kang Hyo's, despite him fighting with Kang Hyo. Kang Hyo understands the point he was making, and realizes that from the bits and pieces of his memory of the past, he does remember being great friends with Choi Suk-hwan, and remembers hanging out with him a lot. However, he recently also remembered a memory about Suk-hwan being a total nobody, and that he only considered him a lackey of his and not a friend. Kang Hyo wonders just why had he thought of his best friend as some errand boy. Kang Hyo's head then starts hurting as he wonders just what even are these memories of the past, and why do they always leave him with more questions than answers. Seo-jun tells Kang Hyo take these things easily and tells him to go to sleep, as he himself is also very sleep. However, just at that point, Sang-ah comes to the scene and tells Seo-jun and Kang Hyo that Kang Hae-hyo is fighting with Choi Suk-hwan on the rooftop. She then explains that it is the second Kang Hae-hyo who is fighting Suk-hwan up there. Kang Hyo understands that she is talking about Kang Hae-ri fighting Suk-hwan and rushes up to the roof to see it. Upon going there, Choi Suk-hwan asks Kang Hae-hyo why he is there, and that he thought he was already fast asleep. Choi Suk-hwan then tells Kang Hae-hyo that he is done beating up the fake number one with ease. Kang Hae-hyo sees the knocked out Kang Hae-ri and gets pissed off real bad. Kang Hae-hyo then asks Choi Suk-hwan if he feels happy about this whole situation. Choi Suk-hwan is confused by this, and asks Kang Hae-hyo just what he means. Choi Suk-hwan then asks him if he had lost to this fake number one Kang Hae-hyo, because from what he can tell from fighting the person, he can tell that they are quite weak. However, Kang Hae-hyo is very pissed and he directly goes on the attack against Choi Suk-hwan with a punch, while asking if he is happy about the fact that he just fought and beat up a girl so badly. The punch by Kang Hae-hyo lands on Choi Suk-hwan's face, and it sends him flying back down to the ground. Suk-hwan starts bleeding from the blow, while everyone else goes into shock knowing that the three-star faction's Kang Hae-hyo is a girl. Sang-ah then asks Seo-jun about this whole situation, and what Kang Hyo means when he says that the other Kang Hae-hyo is a girl. Seo-jun then tells her that 3 stars Kang Hae-hyo was a girl all along, and this makes Sang-ah giggle. Sang-ah is quite happy to learn that Kang Hae-hyo is a girl, because she thinks about the time she got rejected by her, and understands that she was only rejected because Kang Hae-hyo was a girl. She finds happiness knowing that her charm is still well and truly alive. That is when Seo-jun tells her to stay there and take care of Hae-ri. This shocks Sang-ah, as she asks Seo-jun what he means by taking care of Hae-ri all of a sudden. Seo-jun then reluctantly informs her that the 3 stars Kang Hae-hyo is actually Kang Hae-ri, and this sends Sang-ah into a state of shock. Sang-ah feels disgusted that she actually asked to go out with Hae-ri, and instead of taking care of her, Sang-ah runs away from the scene in embarrassment. This confuses Seo-jun, because he has no idea what happened. As this is going on, Hong-bor steps up to Seo-jun and tells him that he should stop playing this romantic game for now, and instead focus on him because he has a score to settle with him. Seo-jun agrees to this, and hits Hong-bor with a spinning kick as he says that he will settle the score on behalf of Hong-bor. As that fight begins, we go back to the ongoing fight between Kang Hae-hyo and Suk-hwan, where we see Kang Hyo landing yet another critical punch to the face of Suk-hwan. Suk-hwan is left groggy after that shot, but he takes his time to explain to Kang Hyo that he didn't know about Kang Hae-ri being a girl. However, as they have started fighting over that, Suk-hwan wants a genuine fight to take place between the two of them. Suddenly Kang Hyo feels curious, and he asks Suk-hwan if they were ever really friends. And this question pisses off Suk-hwan, who replies by saying that they were never really friends from Kang Hyo's side, as he always saw him as nothing more than a slave. This makes Kang Hyo giggle a bit, as he says that Suk-hwan was his lackey after all. And this manages to piss off Suk-hwan even further, as he swings hard for a hook and misses, all the while saying that from his end, they were friends. Kang Hyo gets away from him and says that his suspicion was true after all, as he assumes that Pai Han-ul and Choi Suk-hwan had betrayed him. But an angry Choi Suk-hwan replies by saying that he was the one who had betrayed Han-ul and Suk-hwan. Suk-hwan then further goes on to add to this by saying that Kang Hyo might as well should consider Suk-hwan to be a lackey at this point, because there will be nothing more fun for him to beat Kang Hyo up as a lackey. We then see Choi Suk-hwan putting his patented technique to use, as he uses his palm to block Kang Hyo's vision, and uses that as an opportunity to land a thunderous punch. Choi Suk-hwan then speaks up and says that today he will show Kang Hyo who is stronger between a bona fide badass and a mere lackey. Saying this, Choi Suk-hwan once again uses his palm technique to land a solid blow to the chin of Kang Hyo, which shakes him up. Kang Hyo wonders just what is this weird technique that Choi Suk-hwan is using, and why is a mere lackey beating him to an inch of his life. Choi Suk-hwan keeps mocking Kang Hyo, and hits him with a straight kick to the sternum, before he hits a kneel-down Kang Hyo with a devastating elbow to the shoulder blades. As Kang Hyo is left devastated by all of this, Choi Suk-hwan explains his technique, saying that a fight is about landing the strikes, and that a fight is won 90% of the time by the ability of dodging and making your opponent miss. Which is why fighters spend their blood, sweat, and tears to go out there and train themselves to accommodate these skills into their repertoire. They train their bodies so much that it starts moving the way they want it to on instinct without any input from the brain. And that is where Suk-hwan's new technique comes into play. He uses his palm to create a distraction, which triggers the body's instincts, and this allows Suk-hwan to pick apart the opponent at will. Saying this, we see Suk-hwan deliver an otherworldly right to the face of Kang Hae-hyo, which knocks him down. Choi Suk-hwan then brings out another example. He talks about the former WBC flyweight champion of the world, Chang Yong-koo, and how he uses to randomly raise an arm while fighting to throw his opponents off guard, and that is where Choi Suk-hwan has gotten the inspiration to create his own move to cause distraction. Choi Suk-hwan then goes on the attack once again as we see Kang Hyo getting back up. Suk-hwan says that this is the moment he waited his entire life for, and went to deliver a punt kick, but Kang Hyo is able to slide away from harm's way. Suk-hwan notices this, before scoffing at Kang Hyo and saying that even if he manages to dodge a few blows, it will be all thanks to luck, and that he is too much in the deep for him to make a comeback from here. As this is going on, we see Kang Hae-ri slowly opening her eyes, and she sees that Kang Hyo is getting beaten the heck out of by Choi Suk-hwan. Kang Hae-ri notices this and gets shocked seeing Kang Hyo going into such a dangerous fight for her. And as we see that Kang Hae-hyo is nearing the end, Choi Suk-hwan loads up one final blow to finish off Kang Hae-hyo for good. And as he is about to pull the trigger on it, Choi Suk-hwan notices a hand popping up in front of his face. He is left baffled by this, and as the scene pans out, we see that Kang Hae-hyo has already adapted to Choi Suk-hwan's special technique, and has put it in to use against the guy who specializes in it. Kang Hae-hyo asks Choi Suk-hwan if that was all he had to offer, before committing in to delivering a huge punch of his own to turn the tides in this battle of attrition. The punch connects flush on the mouth of Choi Suk-hwan, and it sends him down to the ground on sheer force. A groggy Choi Suk-hwan wonders just how did Kang Hae-hyo pick up on this tactic so quickly as he falls down, as if he wasn't telling him about it the entire time. Kang Hae-ri also sees this go down, and can't help but be impressed, seeing how skilled Kang Hae-hyo is, and how he managed to use the opponent's move effectively against him. Choi Suk-hwan comes back into the senses, and Kang Hae-hyo notices this, so he tells him to get back up soon, as he is very pissed off and wants to end him quickly. Choi Suk-hwan gets annoyed by Kang Hae-hyo, and quickly regroups himself into first, trying a spinning double leg sweep. Kang Hyo is able to dodge both attempts with ease, however, Choi Suk-hwan uses the momentum from the spin to get back up, and use the motion to try a spinning hook kick to the head, which Kang Hyo also dodges. Kang Hae-ri is impressed by the skills of Choi Suk-hwan this time, as he had thought of him as a one-directional upper body fighter. However, his kicks are just as technically adept as her taekwondo master friend Gyu Sang, as he just pulled off the triple kick. Kang Hae-hyo is also a bit taken back by this maneuver, and he asks Choi Suk-hwan if he is going to depend on kicking to get away with this fight now. However, Choi Suk-hwan once again uses his palm technique, as he tells Kang Hae-hyo that he just fell for the trick he was pulling off. Kang Hae-ri sees this and understands that Choi Suk-hwan is going to hit the Superman punch after the triple kick, and she realizes that the move is very dangerous if it hits. As Hae-ri predicts, Choi Suk-hwan goes for the Superman punch. However, to his utter disbelief, Kang Hae-hyo manages to catch the punch in mid-air, and he twists the arm of Choi Suk-hwan for added damage. This leaves Choi Suk-hwan squirming in pain, but Kang Hae-hyo still had his arm in his grasps. So Kang Hae-hyo used his elbow to attack the vital elbow fold of Choi Suk-hwan. Choi Suk-hwan is hurt a lot by this. However, he knows that he can't stop in this fight, so he goes forward to do his next move, which is like a hybrid version of a bicycle front kick. As he is about to hit the move, Kang Hae-hyo sees this coming and hits him the knee with the elbow, destroying all momentum gained for the kick. Kang Hae-ri is shocked seeing how Choi Suk-hwan is getting dominated by Kang Hae-hyo, and she understands that even Suk-hwan is no match for him. Kang Hae-hyo then loads up a punch and tells Choi Suk-hwan that his life as a lackey was coming to a crushing end. The scene then changes, and we see an embarrassed Sang-ah running away. Sang-ah can't get over the fact that Kang Hae-ri was the three-star faction's Kang Hae-hyo, and that she asked her out. However, it soon dawns upon her that Kang Hae-ri is the leader of the three-star faction, which means that she is one of the strongest people in the entire school. Sang-ah realizes that with the help of Kang Hae-ri, she will be able to easily destroy someone like Yoo Hyun-ju without any problems. Sang-ah then makes up her mind that she will be going to Kang Hae-ri now, and befriend her, which is how she will use her against Yoo Hyun-ju and destroy her. She just doesn't want to get Yoo Hyun-ju beaten up. She also wants her to be her lackey moving forward. As a giddy Sang-ah is making her way back to the rooftop, she notices that all the girls she knows is captured in the same spot and being bullied by Yoo Hyun-ju and her friends. Yoo Hyun-ju also notices Sang-ah walking away, so she calls her, presumably to teach her a big lesson for her big mouth and cockiness. Meanwhile, back to the rooftop, Kang Hae-ri is left wondering just how strong Kang Hae-hyo is, as we see him beating the ever-living crap out of Suk-hwan. As we see Suk-hwan crawling on the ground, Kang Hae-hyo walks up to him and lifts him up by the collar. Kang Hyo then asks Suk-hwan if he was ever his friend, or was he always a lackey to him. As Kang Hae-hyo has him up in the air, Choi Suk-hwan admits that they were indeed friends. This hits Kang Hyo with guilt, so he lets him off right then. A little flashback is shown, where Choi Suk-hwan goes to visit Kang Hyo in the orphanage. Kang Hyo is a bit embarrassed about Choi Suk-hwan coming there, and asks him how did he know about his whereabouts. Choi Suk-hwan says that friends should know where their buddies live. Even if it is embarrassing to Kang Hyo, he doesn't find this to be a big deal. He further goes on to ask Kang Hyo what kind of orphanage this is, because it is located deep inside the woods and took him a while to get here. Kang Hyo hastily tells him that he will answer his questions at school. Suk-hwan tells him that he just wants to know the answer to the question he wanted to ask. The question being regarding the truthfulness of the rumor that Kang Hyo sees him and Pai-han as mere lackeys. Just then, a figure who is not shown asks Kang Hae-hyo where he was. This sends Kang Hyo into a bit of a panic mode. He quickly punches Suk-hwan in the face, dropping him. Kang Hyo then goes off on Suk-hwan, asking him who he was. He berates him for thinking he was Kang Hyo's friend and tells him to leave right then. An embarrassed Suk-hwan leaves the scene. The unknown figure comes to Kang Hyo and asks him if that was his friend. However, Kang Hyo denies it, saying that he was just nice to the guy, which made him think he was his friend. The guy tells Kang Hyo that it is fine if that is the case, and tells him to not trust anyone at all. Back to the current time, Choi Suk-hwan tells him about all this, and when Kang Hyo is distracted, he decides to attack him. He calls him out for always thinking of them as lackeys and using them. Hae-ri, who was watching all of this, thought that what Choi Suk-hwan did was cheap. However, that does not bother Choi Suk-hwan, as he hits a massive body blow to hurt Kang Hae-hyo. Despite being hit, Kang Hyo is not overtaken by pain or anger. Instead, he starts tearing up as he recalls what he had done to Suk-hwan. This makes him apologize to Choi Suk-hwan, leaving him shocked. Choi Suk-hwan doesn't buy this and calls it another instance of Kang Hyo acting, as he punches him in the face. This bloodies Kang Hyo, but he still doesn't fight back. Suk-hwan makes it clear that he will never trust Kang Hyo again, before hitting him with a kick to the face. Kang Hyo still refuses to fight back, as he sits down on his knees. He tells Suk-hwan that he remembers what happened, and that in actuality they were always friends. He says that he doesn't want to lose his friends again, before demanding one last chance to prove himself to Choi Suk-hwan. Meanwhile, Sang-ah is being held captive by Yoo Hyun-ju and her squad. She has her hands over her head. Sang-ah tells her that she and Seo-jun are no longer together. This makes Yoo Hyun-ju happy, as she believes she has a chance with Seo-jun. Sang-ah tells them that she was the one who dumped Seo-jun, as she believed she was too pretty and sexy for him. This pisses off Hyun-ju, as she doesn't think a nobody like Sang-ah gets to dump her prince, and starts beating up Sang-ah. She believes Sang-ah is looking down on them, and doesn't like that. She beats him up some more for putting her hands down. The beat down is long. After a while, Hyun-ju offers Sang-ah to smoke, which she doesn't agree to do, as she feels that she will be hit if she gets her hands down. However, Hyun-ju puts forward a deal for Sang-ah. The deal being if she helps her get together with Seo-jun, she will let him off. The deal is a big opportunity for her, as usually Hyun-ju doesn't let her pets go so easily. Sang-ah considers it, but she doesn't want someone like Hyun-ju to go after Seo-jun. Hyun-ju tells her to have a smoke with her to accept the deal, but Sang-ah denies it. She states that she doesn't smoke, because smoking affects the softness of one's skin. This angers Hyun-ju again as she starts beating her up. She doesn't like the fact that Sang-ah is implying that they are not going to be a good match for Seo-jun, and besides that, it seems like she is jealous and doesn't want to share her ex-boyfriend with anyone. Sang-ah cannot handle the beat down, so with no choice left, she lies. She says that Seo-jun already has a new girlfriend. This angers Hyun-ju, as she asks just who it is that is in her way. Sang-ah lies about it being Kang Hae-ri. Not only does it get her off the hook for now, it also sets up a clash between Kang Hae-ri and Yoo Hyun-ju. Hyun-ju gets ready to investigate the person called Hae-ri, vowing to get her sacred prince Seo-jun from her. On the other hand, the fight between Seo-jun and Hong-bor goes on. Hong-bor is doing well with his acrobatics. However, Seo-jun is sensing that he is tiring him out. Hong-bor goes for a flying kick, which is dodged by Seo-jun. However, the follow-up leg sweep ends up knocking Seo-jun down. Hong-bor taunts him, telling him he is quite good for someone with skinny legs, but his story ends there. He jumps up and tries to stomp the heck out of Seo-jun, but Seo-jun fights it off with a breakdance-esque maneuver. This manages to parry the stomp away, and Seo-jun uses his spinning momentum to hit a leg sweep kick of his own to knock down the bigger man. Seo-jun calls out Hong-bor for his lack of stamina. saying that he is bound to get slowed down when he works with such a flashy style. Moving his obese body for those flamboyant kicks must have taken a toll on him. The good thing about it is that he is very unpredictable. Most of his opponents don't see his kicks coming, so they get taken out by them. However, it did not work effectively on Seo-jun, because he already had those kicks scouted from his fight with Kang Hae-hyo. After some banter, Seo-young does for the finish. However, Hong-bor tries his best to fight back. Hong-bor tries to catch Seo-jun with an outwards angled kick, but Seo-jun ducks underneath it. Seo-jun finds it funny that Hong-bor is still trying to kick him despite knowing that those won't be working on him. However, he is shocked to notice that Hong-bor had perfectly telegraphed an axe kick instead of an outward angled kick. Hong-bor is happy with this. After all, he has just defeated Seo-jun. But when it comes to the feel, he just doesn't feel anything under his heel. This is because Seo-jun did a front flip to counter the axe kick, and lands a somersault kick of his own. Meanwhile, Choi Suk-hwan still doesn't want to believe Kang Hae-hyo, and is about to deliver a devastating blow. Hae-ri is worried about Kang Hyo. The punch doesn't hit Kang Hyo though, it ends up brushing against his tears, as he was sitting there, not defending himself. Choi Suk-hwan really wanted to punch Kang Hae-hyo in that moment. However, he couldn't muster up and do it, which is why he misses the punch. After that, Kang Hae-hyo was surprised that Suk-hwan didn't hit him, while Suk-hwan was frustrated with himself. Suk-hwan decides to leave the place after what happened. However, Kang Hyo called out to him. Kang Hyo asks Suk-hwan if they're still friend. This question seemingly messes up Suk-hwan even more, as he frustratingly tells Kang Hyo that he is open to thinking whatever he wants to think. This ends up making Kang Hyo very happy, while Suk-hwan wonders just why does Kang Hyo have to ask such difficult questions in a blunt manner. He was always his friend. Back to the fight with Seo-jun and Hong-bor. Seo-jun's flipping kick landed on Hong-bor. It hurts Hong-bor a lot, and sends him a few steps back. Seo-jun sees the opportunity to talk some trash. He asks Hong-bor if that crappy kick he just attempted was his best move, before telling him to get ready for Seo-jun's best kick. Seo-jun brings his leg up for a straightforward roundhouse kick, which leaves Hong-bor confused. He thought it was going to be a special kick. However, at the very last second, Seo-jun changes the angle of his kick to catch Hong-bor with a Brazilian stab kick. The kick knocks Hong-bor down for the count. Hong-bor tries his best to get back up, while Seo-jun asked him if he really wanted to continue, because it looks like he can't even get back up at the moment. Hong-bor notices that there's no chance for him to get back into this fight, which is why he calls it quits. Seo-jun stands tall as the victor of the battle. After the fight, Seo-jun wonders what's up with Kang Hyo's situation, and if he is done with his fight. Subsequently, Seo-jun goes to see what's up with Kang Hae-hyo, and sees him crying. Seo-jun asks him just why he was crying, to which Kang Hyo replied that he was crying because he found his old friend back. Seo-jun understands the sentimental value of that, and asks Kang Hyo if he can be his friend too. Kang Hyo is too caught up in the moment to answer, which places doubt in the mind of Seo-jun. As this was going on, Kang Hae-ri was shocked to see just how good Kang Hae-hyo is at attracting people to him. The school principal watches this on his laptop. The guy can't help but laugh when he realizes that Kang Hae-hyo is indeed the person he thought he was. The scene changes to the school ground, where Young Suri's sister is seen. She walks around the plain ground, looking up at the night sky. There she sees the shining stars, and thinks that one of those stars must definitely be her mother. As she is too concentrated on that, the little kid falls down and scrapes her knee. During this time, two bullies had come to the ground to do their usual stuff. They're a bit amused to see a little girl there, as she makes for a good bullying target. However, the little girl is innocent, and refers to them as appas, while asking for help. The appa coming from her totally melts the two bullies, and they quickly attend to her wound. She says that she's fine but it hurts a bit, but the guys are adamant. One of them picks her up on his back and takes her to the infirmary. On their way, Young Suri's sister says to them that they're really good people, to which both the guys are happy and agree with. That being said, the little girl did ask them what they were doing at the ground during that time. She hears that only bad boys and girls go there during that time. The guys are a bit taken aback by this, but they make up a lie. They say that they go to that place to teach good stuff to those bad people, and make them good again. The little girl buys that, and starts respecting them for it. Eventually, the girl asks them for a favor, saying that she wants them to teach good stuff to her brother too. She states that her brother, Young Suri, was a nice guy, but nowadays he has gone rough. She adds that Young Suri started fighting with their father after her mom passed away. The duo condemn this type of behavior, stating that no son should act roughly with their father. They also accept her request to fix her brother, unknowing of who it really is. Later, Yu Sang and Choi Woo rush to the school to check on Kang Hae Ri, as they had learned about her fight and subsequent loss against Sukwan. What they see upon getting there ends up surprising them. Kang Hae Ri had stopped cross-dressing and pretending to be like Kang Hae Hyo, and was back to being a girl again. They're a bit shocked, but in a glad way about it, as Hae Ri tells them that she has decided to accept her identity. As the three-star faction trio have a conversation among themselves, Yu Hyun-ju shows up. She came prepared with her crew of lackeys. Yu Hyun-ju asks Kang Hae Ri if she is the so-called Hae Ri that everyone talks about. At the principal's office, Teacher Lee informs the man himself that there are lackeys developing within the school. The principal finds this quite absurd. How can lackeys develop in a school with the strongest students in the region? He asked. Teacher Lee explains that even though the students are all strong, there is a hierarchy within the system. She further adds that more strong students are developing in other schools. The principal is concerned by this, as if things stay this way, they won't be the top school for strong students anymore. He then asks Teacher Lee about the students who are lackeys. Lee tells him about Nam Dongpal and a few other guys. She also talks about a particular group of students who aren't lackeys, but group up and have a hierarchical system. She further adds that there are some cases among female students too. Principal is shocked by this and wants to know more. Teacher Lee says that recently, Im Sang-ah was beaten up by a student because she wanted to steal Sang-ah's boyfriend. The teacher finds this incredibly childish and wonders just who had done it. Teacher Lee informs that the student is none other than Yu Hyun-ju. Principal asks if she's talking about that Hyun-ju, to which Teacher Lee confirms that it is indeed his daughter. Principal is shocked by this, as he didn't expect his own daughter here. She was supposed to be a good student. Teacher Lee blames the lack of parents ruined her upbringing, as her father was always busy with the school. Principal disapproves of that theory and asks to see his daughter right away in anger. Meanwhile, Hyun-ju started telling Hae Ri that she wants to fight him for her boyfriend Seo-jun. Hae Ri has no clue why she thinks that about Seo-jun and Hae Ri, so she denies both the claim and the challenge. Hyun-ju says that Hae Ri is lying and trying to act all tough. Hae Ri asks her just who was it that told her this, to which Hyun-ju asks Sang-ah to explain. Sang-ah lies, saying that Hae Ri was the one who said this to her. Hae Ri is stunned by this, and her hair is immediately grabbed by Hyun-ju. Yu Sang and Choi Woo try to intervene, but are stopped by Hyun-ju, who wants this to be a girl's only matter. Hae Ri tells her to let go, stating that if she does not, there will be hell to pay. Hyun-ju calls bullcrap on that, saying that Hae Ri can't do anything when her hair is caught up. But Hae Ri proves her wrong right away, as she throws a punch to her abdomen. This hurts Hyun-ju. She says it was a cheap shot and she tries to retaliate right away, but Hae Ri catches her with a kick to the face, which knocks Hyun-ju down. Hyun-ju's lackeys rush towards Hae Ri to attack her, but are immediately taken out by a Hae Ri who is cake walking through all of it. Once the lackeys are down, Sang-ah realizes just how good this all turned out and wants to be on good terms with Hae Ri. Hae Ri tells a knockdown Hyun-ju that she didn't take a cheap shot. It was Hyun-ju who grabbed her hair first. Right then, Seo-jun walked in and was amused by the fight. Hae Ri immediately starts teasing Sang-ah by flirting with Seo-jun. She refers to Seo-jun as her boyfriend. Seo-jun is shocked by this and makes it clear that his girlfriend is Sang-ah. Hae Ri tells Seo-jun that this was made up by Sang-ah herself, so she thought of giving it a shot. Seo-jun is at a loss for words when Sang-ah admits to her misdoings. She says that she said this on a whim and didn't mean it. She hugs Seo-jun and asks for his forgiveness about the whole situation. Yu Hyun-ju understands that she got played by Sang-ah and vows to get her revenge. Meanwhile, Kang Hae Hyo stands on the rooftop, wondering about what Sukwan said to him. Sukwan told him that he didn't lose his memories because of a truck accident. That day, Sukwan didn't run him over. They just went there to beat Kang Hyo up. However, they were stopped by the mysterious figure from before. The mystery figure was mad at Kang Hae-hyo for not having the capability of handling a few lackeys. This angers the group that Suk-hwan brought along, and they wondered if the mystery guy can still talk this way when they attack him. They all charge at the mystery guy at once. The one to take the lead at first was Pai Han-ul. He attacked the mystery man, hoping to teach him a lesson. However, he gets countered and beaten up badly for his attempt. Following that, another guy jumped into the fight, but he got his leg caught. The mystery guy elbowed his leg and broke it. Suddenly, all of the guys who attacked the mystery man start falling. One by one, he clears out the field. Suk-hwan wondered just what is happening at this point. He also recognizes the guy as the same person he saw at Kang Hyo's orphanage. The mystery man notices Suk-hwan watching all the chaos in shock. He asks Suk-hwan if he won't be attacking him. Suk-hwan knew oh too well that he stood no chance against such a monster. He saw how he cleaned up the field in no time, so there is no point in doing that. The guy starts digging into Suk-hwan, calling him a mere lackey. He calls him someone with a lack of resolve and calls him out for cowardice. Suk-hwan starts getting pissed off by this and starts walking towards him. The guy calls him a lackey of Kang Hyo's and tells him to come crawling to him if he seeked forgiveness. This angers Choi Suk-hwan even more, as he stares at the guy with malice. However, Kang Hae-hyo intervenes. He tells both of them to stop where they were. The mystery man ends up berating Kang Hyo for not being able to manage a lackey. He said that loser lackeys like Suk-hwan need to be brought back to their places from time to time. They are not deserving of kindness. This angers Choi Suk-hwan beyond the point of holding back, as he tells the guy he is not a lackey. Suk-hwan is about to punch the man, but Kang Hyo once again tells them to stop, and suddenly, Suk-hwan gets punched in the face for his efforts. Meanwhile, back at the school, Young Suri's little sister, Soo-jong, is playing around in the garden. She is brought beautiful flowers by the two bullies she called Appa, Na Dong-pal and Want Gwang-soo. She is very happy to see those beautiful flowers, and asks the duo where they had gotten it from. They say that they had gotten the flowers specially for her, and that is their gift to her. Soo-jong is elated thanks to this. In actuality, they had stolen the flowers from the principal's personal botanic space. As Soo-jong is conversing with Dong-pal and Gwang-soo, a few other guys come to the scene. They call out Dong-pal and Gwang-soo and ask him why they are playing around with a little girl. Dong-pal and Gwang-soo are dreaded to see those guys and hope that nothing bad happens. However, those guys accuse Dong-pal and Gwang-soo for being weirdos who are going after a little girl, Drake style. Dong-pal and Gwang-soo bid farewell to Soo-jong, telling her that they'll meet later. After Soo-jong leaves, the guy introduces Dong-pal and Gwang-soo to the boxer guy from earlier, Yu Myung-in. He tells Yu Myung that those two are useless pieces of crap, so he can have his way with them. Soo-jong overhears this and retaliates right away. She says that her appas are not useless by any means. She tells them how Dong-pal and Gwang-soo are nice guys who help re-educate bad guys. This makes the guy laugh out. He finds it hilarious that Dong-pal and Gwang-soo lied to the little girl about their identity. The guy then starts bullying Dong-pal, as he slaps him around and asks him to re-educate them. This continues for a while, until Soo-jong is pissed off. Soo-jong bites the guy in the hand to take revenge. The guy is annoyed by this, so he pushes Soo-jong down to the ground. This extracts a sense of anger out of Dong-pal, as he talks back to the bully. The bully is shocked by this show of defiance from Dong-pal. He questions just how did Dong-pal dare to talk back rudely to him. Dong-pal instantly regrets the decision he made, because he pays the price for it. The guy starts beating up Dong-pal in all kinds of ways. Punches, kicks, headlocks, etc. After a while of getting beaten up, Dong-pal realizes the reason why he fears the guy. He feared him because he didn't know how the guy was as a fighter. The mystery created a sense of intimidation within him. However, now that he knows what the guy is like, he doesn't care anymore. He wonders just how worse can it get, as he decides to throw hands. He loads up and throws a punch at the guy, but before he could hit him with it, another guy's punch did. It's Young Suri, who quickly attends to his sister. Soo-jong lets her brother know how those bad guys were the ones who had attacked Dong-pal first. Dong-pal and Gwang-soo are shocked to know that Soo-jong was Young Suri's sister. As Young Suri looks up, he sees that Yu Myung-in was standing there. This makes Young Suri mad, as he confronts Yu Myung. He asks him just how big of a turd does he have to be to stoop down so low. Meanwhile, inside the school, Kang Hae-hyo is walking around. He has the lion badge logo with him, as he thinks about what Suk-hwan told him. Suk-hwan said that the logo of the orphanage was the same one as the logo of the internet chat room contest that they made. He wonders just what could that logo mean, and tells Kang Hyo that it must be deeply connected to Kang Hyo as a person. As he is thinking about all these things, the principal and a boy with a lot of books walk by him. The principal asks Kang Hae-hyo to help him, the other student, with carrying the books. But Kang Hyo is too invested in his own world, so he just walks right past them. The principal is angered by this, as he doesn't like how Kang Hyo ignores him. On the other hand, he praises the silver-haired kid for helping him carry the books. He wonders why such a good student is at this school. The guy lets the principal know that he is far from a good boy. In fact, he is much worse than Kang Hae-hyo. As the guy says this, he has an evil smile on his face. The principal finds this very funny, and tells Ji Woo-bin, the silver-haired kid, that he is quite the comedian. On a serious note, the principal stated that it is a shame that someone like Ji Woo-bin, who is a top-tier student, has to deal with someone like Kang Hae-hyo. However, he assures him that he will take care of the situation. Ji Woo-bin, still smiling creepily, says that he appreciates the principal looking out for him. On his inside, though, Woo-bin finds it funny that adults will consider anyone with good grades to be a model student. Meanwhile, Kang Hae-hyo is still thinking about the logo. He remembers what Suk-hwan told him about that guy. Suk-hwan said that the guy fought using the exact same techniques as Kang Hyo. He also adds that the guy was very strong, and asks Kang Hyo if he knows who he was. Kang Hyo replied that he doesn't know about that. He is really trying to remember his face, but nothing is coming to his mind as of now. Suk-hwan suggests that he keeps looking at the logo, as it seems to be an integral part of his past. Kang Hyo finds this quite weird though, because this is the logo that Suk-hwan came up with for the Beast Cafe thing he was doing. Suk-hwan denies making up this logo though, stating he has no idea about it. Kang Hyo finds this quite funny, as he reminds Suk-hwan of how he had made this logo for that contest, and even promised Kang Hyo a sweater with the same logo. He also promised to take him to a karaoke. Suk-hwan is a bit embarrassed by this. He says that he remembers all that, but he wasn't the one who made the logo. Suk-hwan states that this logo was the orphanage's logo. In fact, after the truck incident, he actually trailed back to the orphanage to check up on Kang Hyo. So it must be important to Kang Hyo in some way. Before leaving, Suk-hwan wanted to ask another question. However, the scene shifts back to the present, where Kang Hyo runs into Kang Hae-ri. She says that she has something she wants to give to Kang Hyo. Back to the flashback, Suk-hwan actually asked Kang Hyo if the girl he fought at the rooftop was his girlfriend. Kang Hyo is flustered by this, as he states that even though it is not the case now, it is only a matter of time until she becomes his girlfriend. Suk-hwan can't help but laugh, calling Kang Hyo selfish. He says that just because he likes the girl doesn't automatically mean that she will like him back. However, he does state that he saw something in her eyes for Kang Hyo. Kang Hyo starts blushing from this, as he adds that maybe Hae-ri likes him back too. Choi Suk-hwan says that he feels the same way too, and wishes Kang Hyo best of luck about this. Kang Hyo is touched by this. He says that he is blessed to have a friend like Suk-hwan who understands his feelings. He also adds that Suk-hwan will forever be his best friend. However, Suk-hwan, with a mischievous smile, makes fun of Kang Hyo's taste in woman. This embarrasses Kang Hyo, so he chases after Suk-hwan, who runs away. They have some fun little banter while doing so. In the present again, Kang Hyo is smiling like an idiot. Hae-ri gives him a bag. Kang Hyo is surprised by this, as he wonders if Hae-ri really likes him now. Kang Hyo, all flustered up, asks Hae-ri if this is a gift for their one-day anniversary. He also says that there was no need for a gift, and that she could have just told him directly. Upon checking the bag though, he finds out that it's just the Beast Cafe t-shirt. He asks Hae-ri what is it about. Hae-ri replies that it seemed to her like Kang Hyo was the rightful owner of this shirt, so she is here to give it to him. Saying that, Kang Hae-ri leaves the scene. However, Kang Hyo goes into almost instant depression, followed by emotions of anger and frustration. As he empties the bag in frustration, all the Beast Cafe badges fall out. Suddenly, someone picks one of the badges up. In the forest, Dong Pal and Guang Su realize that Su Zhong was asking them to help fix her brother, and that brother is Yung Suri. They promise to fulfill her request, so that means that they are toast now. However, Yung Suri is rather nice to them, as he tells them to not fear. He also asks them of a favor, telling them to take Su Zhong to the gymnasium safely. They quickly accept, and Yung Suri tells his sister to go with the good oppas. The guys quickly pick Su Zhong up and leave the scene with her, while giving her a special ride. After that, Yu Myung and replies to Yung Suri's earlier question, stating that he only followed the guy who wanted to show off his lackeys to him. Yung Suri understands the situation and apologizes for calling him a huge turd. However, Yu Myung tells him that there is no reason to be sorry. After all, he wants to fight Yung Suri because he hated him from the moment he first laid his eyes on him. Yu Myung attacks Yung Suri, and a fight is seemingly on the cards. Back to the school, and the who picked up the badge was Ji Woo Bin. He tells Kong Hae Hyo that it has been a long time since they've last met. Kong Hae Hyo is a bit taken aback by this, as he asks if he knew Kong Hae Hyo in the past. Ji Woo Bin, with his usual evil grin, says that he knows him oh too well. Kong Hyo is confused, as he wonders how does this guy know him so well. Woo Bin insists that he does, but just then, Woo Bin gets hit on the head from the back. It was Gyu Sang and Choi Woo who did it. They look down on Woo Bin, calling him a nerd and treating him like a lackey. They then start talking to Kong Hae Hyo, asking him if he knows where Hae Ri went to. They state that Hae Ri was last seen leaving with a shopping bag with a gift. Was it for Kong Hyo? And are they dating? This hits Kong Hae Hyo in the weak nerves, as he tells them that it wasn't a gift. Instead, it was just a normal lion badge shirt. The duo starts making fun of Kong Hyo in a nice way. They tease him about him dating Kong Hae Ri and whatnot. Choi Woo then turns his attention back to Ji Woo Bin. He asks him if he knows Kong Hae Hyo. Woo Bin, now with a completely different and innocent attitude, says that knows Kong Hyo quite well. This shocks the duo, as they think he is good friends with Kong Hae Hyo. They wonder just how could a lackey like Woo Bin be friends with Kong Hyo. Kong Hyo thinks that if Woo Bin knows him well, as he says, then he must have some sort of lead on his past. However, Woo Bin makes it clear to them that while he knows Kong Hae Hyo well, it doesn't seem like he knows Woo Bin at all. This angers both Choi Woo and Gyu Sang, as they start raining down stomps on Woo Bin for being a dork, because by his logic, even they are well acquainted with the president of the country. After beating Woo Bin up, they move on ahead. Choi Woo asks Kong Hae Hyo if he felt upset on seeing the supposed gift from Hae Ri. Kong Hyo says that he did feel a bit disappointed. Choi Woo giggles, as he told both Kong Hyo and Gyu Sang that they are hopeless. However, he knows a way for them to get all the girls they want and not just Hae Ri. This surprises Gyu Sang and Kong Hyo, as they definitely want to know the way to get all the girls. Choi Woo tells them that the secret way to get all the girls is to become like Lee Miho, who is a popular South Korean actor. He says that they need to be tall, handsome, and rich like Lee Miho, only then can they get girls. But he tells them that it is useless because they can never be that way. So both of them should give up on getting girls. Even for a unique one like Hae Ri, she is still a girl, so she will get attracted by those traits only. As Choi Woo makes fun of them, it dawns to Kong Hyo and Gyu Sang that Choi Woo is worse off than them. They point out how he is the shortest one of the group, probably has the smallest house, and has the worst percentile in the national exams. Now they start laughing at Choi Woo, which annoys him. Just then, Seo Jun shows up with Sang-ah, and Seo Jun asks just what is it that they are laughing about. He offers them to join him for snacks. Sang-ah lets them know that Seo Jun rented out the entire cafeteria for them. But the trio deny to go there, stating that Seo Jun is a bad luck sign for them. After all, he fits all the criteria of being an ideal man. Seo Jun is left perplexed as to why he is supposedly a bad luck sign. Back to the fight between Yu Myung and Yung Suri. Both hit each other with simultaneous punches and go down. Yu Myung admits that Yung Suri is better than he thought, and that he needs to get serious now. Yung Suri finds this funny, as Yu Myung is trying to imply that he was going easy on him until now. He throws a punch at Yu Myung which is blocked, but Yung Suri tells him that boxing is different from fighting on the streets. Yu Myung starts fighting back, as he tells Yung Suri that boxing and street fighting aren't different at all. Both have you wanting to hit your opponent, and both have you wanting to knock your opponent out. Saying this, he delivers a solid punch, which is blocked by Young Suri. Young Suri can't help but admit to himself that Yu Myung is just the better boxer of the two. He follows it up with a left hook which connects, and he closes it out with an overhand right to shake up Young Suri. Back in the school, Kang Hyo asks Gyu Sang and Choi Woo about Woo Bin, stating that he wanted to know if Woo Bin knew about his past. The duo play down Woo Bin, calling him a loser. They say that he might be handsome and has good grades, but that doesn't matter anything here. Besides, they aren't sure how someone like him even made it to the school in the first place. And tell Kang Hyo that Woo Bin probably remembers wrong about knowing him. Meanwhile, a beat-up Woo Bin was walking by when Choi Suk-hwan runs into him. Choi Suk-hwan is flabbergasted upon seeing him, as he realizes that Ji Woo Bin is the same guy who was mentoring Kang Hae Hyo in the past. Woo Bin also recognizes Suk-hwan, greeting him as he walks right past him. A look of dread flashes across the face of Suk-hwan as he realizes just who Woo Bin is. Woo Bin notices this and makes fun of Suk-hwan for being so scared. Suk-hwan comes back to his senses and lets Woo Bin know that he is not scared at all. In fact, he was waiting for an opportunity to meet him because he wanted to beat him up as revenge for the past. Woo Bin says that Suk-hwan has sure grown a pair since last time. However, he wonders just how will someone who got the piss beaten out of him last time going to beat him now. Suk-hwan gets pissed off and decides to show off just how he will beat up Woo Bin. He uses his signature palm to the face distraction technique, but it seems to be not working on Woo Bin, until suddenly, Woo Bin starts acting scared and ducks down. Suk-hwan wonders why he is behaving that way and decides to punch Woo Bin in the face. As he punches him down, Suk-hwan notices that the principal and Yoo Hyun-ju were behind him. Suk-hwan is scared. The principal tells Woo Bin that he will make sure that appropriate punishment will be given to Suk-hwan for what he did. Suk-hwan realizes the reasoning behind the sudden personality change of Woo Bin, as Woo Bin laughs at him discreetly. To the principal's office, Yoo Hyun-ju and Ji Woo Bin have been summoned. Hyun-ju asks why she was called. The principal is pissed off at her and is about to yell, but he remembers what Teacher Lee said. Teacher Lee told him that if word got out about Hyun-ju being the principal's daughter, he will be seen as a bad parent. The principal controls his rage for the moment. He spins around the topic and tells Hyun-ju that her skirt seems too short. Hyun-ju finds this ridiculous and pulls her skirt down. The principal and Woo Bin are shocked as to why she is undressing, but it turns out she was just adjusting her skirt down to make it more appropriate. The principal wonders if his daughter was always like this. Hyun-ju then asks why Woo Bin gets to dye his hair when she has to follow such etiquettes. The principal explains that it is because Woo Bin is a model student. Hyun-ju finds it obnoxious how adults only care about grades. The principal tells Hyun-ju to get along with Woo Bin, as they're in the same grade. Hyun-ju sarcastically calls Woo Bin her nerdy friend and is about to leave. The principal is glad that it went well. He almost yelled at her, but because he needed to protect his own image, he stopped. He knows that there is no way that they can reveal about Hyun-ju's relationship with him, because it will make him a laughingstock among students. Just then, Yoo Hyun-ju comes back and calls her principal her dad, and asks for his help to get Seo-jun. Woo Bin is shocked to learn this. Meanwhile at the forest, the fight between Yoo Myung-in and Young Suri continues. Yoo Myung lands another solid punch on Young Suri. He outboxes him during the entire fight. During the final few moments, Young Suri tries to fight back, but all his punches are slipped through easily by Yoo Myung. After that, Yoo Myung hits him with a straight one which drops Young Suri. Yoo Myung makes fun of him, saying that a fighter like him stands no chance against him. As he starts the countdown to end the fight, Yoo Myung says that he might know a thing or two about boxing, but he is not the real deal. Young Suri also understands this. He now knows why Yoo Myung-in was considered to be the best boxing talent in the world. Young Suri then thinks about with his father when he first came. He visited him at the gymnasium and was glad to know that he was going to work as a boxing teacher and not a utility worker. His father explained that it was because the principal had asked for his help. Besides, he didn't have a real job or anything, and it also allowed him to see his son. He also makes it clear that this job is temporary only. Young Suri doesn't quite understand this part. However, his father explains that he is going to be a temporary coach to build a boxing team for the school. It's the principal's way of showing off the school's prowess. King of like how prisons also make boxing teams. That being said, Jung Suri's father doesn't see much potential for boxing at the school. Jung Suri explains that the school has the strongest fighters in the region, so this shouldn't be hard for him. But his father disagrees, stating that street fighting and boxing isn't the same thing. A street fighter is strong, but no match for a real boxer in a ring. Jung Suri informs his father that he is also a trained boxer. His father said that he is aware of that because the gym he trained at was his students. Jung Suri is shocked to know this. His father explained that this was the reason behind the gym not charging his son for training. He further adds that he heard his son's abilities from his student. He said that he is quite good and has potential, but he doesn't have the work ethic to improve, which is why his father makes it clear to Jung Suri that he is of no use to him in the school boxing team. Back to the present, Yu Myung counts to 10 and calls a knockout. Jung Suri gets up and praises Yu Myung for being really good at boxing. Yu Myung asks Jung Suri if he still wants to fight more. Jung Suri says that he definitely wants to, but they need to raise the stakes. He adds that if he loses again, he will be Yu Myung's lackey. But if Yu Myung loses, he needs to rejoin boxing. Yu Myung finds this quite weird. He doesn't know why Jung Suri wants him to rejoin boxing. Jung Suri informs him that he is really good at it, so his father would love him in the boxing team. Besides, Jung Suri doesn't know why Yu Myung quit in the first place. This seemingly hits a note for Yu Myung, who tells Jung Suri to not talk about what he doesn't know. He starts the fight right away, stating that he can never lose, so he is fine with the term. If anything, he is excited by the prospect of Jung Suri being his lackey. The fight starts off like a boxing match, Yu Myung showing early dominance. Eventually, Yu Myung is left shocked as he was going for a punch. It is because Jung Suri had stopped boxing and hit Yu Myung with a kick to the body. The kick takes the wind out of Yu Myung. He struggles right away from it. He can't believe that he just got kicked so hard. Jung Suri asks him if that kick hurt too much and if he can even stand up now. Yu Myung swings wildly for punches, stating that one kick is not going to bother him. Jung Suri dodges his punches and adds that it looks the kick already bothered him. He has already slowed down from it, and it looks like he is extra cautious of the kick now. Yu Myung denies this and tries to fight. However, deep down, he knows that the kick got him good and that he is now going to be worried about the kick. Jung Suri hits Yu Myung with a low kick next, followed by head kick, which is mostly blocked. Yu Myung realizes how dangerous the kicks are and that the longer this fight goes, the worse it will be for him. Jung Suri hits another leg kick which hurts Yu Myung. This makes Yu Myung decide that he has to end this as soon as possible. He waits for the right chance, and as Jung Suri goes for a body kick, he manages to catch his leg. Yu Myung tells Jung Suri that his kicking game is over now, before going for the big shot to end it all. However, before he can do so, Jung Suri uses the caught-up leg as leverage to get up and hit Yu Myung with a question mark kick. This knocks Yu Myung out cold. Jung Suri tells him that he now must join the boxing team as was promised. After a while, he realized that Yu Myung is unconscious and says that he expects Yu Myung to be a man of his words. Dong Pal and Guang Su are back and are amazed at the skills of Jung Suri. Just then, Jung Suri notices that they are back and asks them for another favor. He asks them to take Yu Myung to the infirmary. This shocks Dong Pal and Guang Su though, as Jung Suri had referred to them as his good friends. They get to work when the first bully who had been knocked out wakes up. He thinks that he got knocked out by a useless guy like Dong Pal. However, upon waking up, he sees Dong Pal standing over Yu Myung. This makes him think that Dong Pal beat Yu Myung too, and he starts wondering just what will happen to him now because Dong Pal is a beast. Dong Pal instructs Guang Su to pick up the guy, while he takes Yu Myung with him. Back inside the school, Sang-ah thanks Hae Ri for getting the jacket back from her. Hae Ri asks her why she is taking back a jacket that was given to her. Sang-ah says that it is because it's a couple jacket that matches with Seo Jun, so she must keep it. Hae Ri asks if she is going to pay her back for this. Sang-ah is happy to do that. She said the jacket is an originally branded one from Europe. It cost them 200,000 won when new. However, the jacket is worth more to her on a personal level, so she can give her 300,000 won for it. Hae Ri is shocked by this and asks if Sang-ah is a charitable monk or something. because who in their right mind pays 300,000 won for a jacket that is worth 200,000 when brand new? Sang-ah says that Hae-ri wouldn't know, because she says never fallen in love. This makes Hae-ri laugh a lot, as she asks how is it love when Sang-ah dumped Seo-young for losing a fight. Sang-ah admits that she made a mistake, but she has now realized that it is true love. She also advises Hae-ri to find love for herself if she wants to live like a girl. Hae-ri is still laughing at this, as she finds this true love thing to be quite hypocritical coming from Sang-ah's mouth. Sang-ah finds this annoying and leaves, telling Hae-ri to be lonely forever if she doesn't like the concept. Hae-ri is also unsettled by this, as she wonders what true love even is. She thinks about the time when Kang Hae-hyo asked her out when she wanted to fight him. He seemed quite serious about her. However, she found it weird that he was asking her out when she wanted to fight him. Later, he protected her and claimed to be her boyfriend during one of her fights. This makes Hae-ri realize some unknown feelings within her, as she wonders if Kang Hae-hyo loves her. Meanwhile, Yoo Hyun-ju and Ji Woo-bin make their way out of the principal's office. Once they are out of there, Yoo Hyun-ju makes it abundantly clear that she doesn't consider Ji Woo-bin to be a friend of hers. She only acted friendly with her because her father wanted her to. Outside of this, she doesn't even want to associate herself with a loser like Woo-bin. So she tells him to act like a friend around her father, but don't even try to do so away from him. As she is saying all this, she notices that Ji Woo-bin is looking the other way. She yells at him, asking if a loser like him is avoiding her. That's when we see that Choi Suk-hwan has brought along Kang Hae-hyo to introduce him to Woo-bin, telling him that he is the mysterious guy that they were talking about all this time. Kang Hae-hyo and Ji Woo-bin stare at each other, as their fated clash is on the cards. Choi Suk-hwan says with great assurance that the guy in front of them is indeed the mystery guy. So he tells Kang Hae-hyo to beat him up and figure out the stuff from his past. Kang Hyo seems a little reluctant about all of this. Yoo Hyun-ju is worried about this and asks Woo-bin how he had gotten into trouble with someone like Choi Suk-hwan. She tells him that he might not know about this, but Choi Suk-hwan is one of the strongest guys in the school. So if he doesn't want to get beaten to a pulp, he should just beg for mercy. Woo-bin finds this laughable, as he tells Yoo Hyun-ju to not be afraid. He says that if he wants, he can send Kang Hyo and Suk-hwan running back like chickens. Hyun-ju replies that even though he is in front of a girl, there is no need for him to act so brave in front of her. Suk-hwan intervenes and says that they have a score to settle with Woo-bin, so he should come with them to the rooftop. Woo-bin scoffs, saying that he doesn't know about any scores to settle. He adds that if Suk-hwan wants to apologize, he should do it here by getting on his knees. Suk-hwan gets pissed off by this and is about to throw a punch. Hyun-ju is scared, as what she thought ends up becoming a reality. Right at that moment though, Woo-bin calls out to the principal for help. Suk-hwan and Kang Hyo can't believe the trick Woo-bin just pulled off, so they quickly run away from this situation. As the two of them are running away, Woo-bin shows Hyun-ju that he just did what he said he could do. Hyun-ju finds this extremely foolish of Th guy, as this just made Suk-hwan even madder than before. She also wonders just where is he getting this kind of confidence from. On the other hand, Woo-bin is thinking about Kang Hyo, and how it must be bothering him because he doesn't remember his past. However, he thinks of the past, where Kang Hyo was seen standing alone in a group of people with blood all over his body. He thinks of that and wonders why he wants to know his past, as the past memories will be even worse for him. He giggles thinking of this when the principal comes out of his room, asking why he was called. Hyun-ju is about to explain what happened, but Woo-bin stops her. Woo-bin instead tells the principal that he and Hyun-ju have started going out. The principal is proud of her daughter for making such a good choice. Meanwhile, Kang Hyo and Suk-hwan have successfully managed to flee. Suk-hwan states that he didn't quite believe that Woo-bin would call the principal. He also wonders if they were seen. Kang Hyo says that he doesn't feel that Woo-bin is the mystery guy. After all, Woo-bin is a coward lackey who always gets bullied. Suk-hwan shuts him down, stating that Woo-bin is just a fox under the mask of a sheep. Kang Hyo makes fun of him, saying that he probably meant wolf instead of fox. Suk-hwan thinks that it doesn't matter. After that, Suk-hwan talks about how Woo-bin is acting like a victim for some reason. But that acting won't fool him, because he recognizes him as the guy who once humiliated Suk-hwan. Suk-hwan is about to tell Kang Hyo that Woo-bin pretty much admitted that he is the same guy to him. However, Kang Hae-ri shows up and asks if she can talk with Kang Hyo. Suk-hwan is initially angered by someone interrupting him, but upon seeing Kang Hae-ri, he is mesmerized. He instantly falls for her and asks Kang Hyo about who she is. He tells Kang Hyo to hand her over and step aside, because Kang Hyo already has a healthy and strong crush on someone else. Kang Hyo steps up and says that the girl is Kang Hae-ri of the 3-star faction. She is the healthy and strong crush he talked about. This shocks Suk-hwan as he thinks about the version of Kang Hae-ri he saw and the version that he is seeing now. He can't believe that the two are the same people. Kang Hae-hyo then tells Suk-hwan that he will be going with Hae-ri now and walks away with her. While Suk-hwan is left feeling jealous as he finds Kang Hae-ri to be quite beautiful. That is when he learned to not judge a woman by her looks alone. Later, at the classroom, a class is being conducted, and all the students are bored as heck. After all, they're all delinquents. However, Ji Woo-bin is paying attention to the teacher. Hyun-ju finds this obnoxious, as she doesn't know how one can be that diligent. She then thinks about how her plan to start dating Seo-jun got ruined by Kang Hae-ri, and now Woo-bin is trying to ruin it even further. She understands that nerds like him are also interested in pretty girls like her. But she has to make it clear to him after the class that she doesn't like him at all. Woo-bin notices that Hyun-ju is staring at him and mocks her, while wondering why she stared at him that much. Hyun-ju is mad about it, but controls her anger. After the class is over, Hyun-ju goes over to Woo-bin and tells him that they need to talk outside. Woo-bin cockily tells her that they're already talking, which angers Hyun-ju. Just then, Woo-bin gets kicked in the head by Suk-hwan. Suk-hwan, flanked by Hong-bor and others, calls Woo-bin a two-faced person. He says that he has had enough of that, so he will expose him now at the rooftop. Choi Woo and Gyu-sang wonders just what is it that Woo-bin did to get on Suk-hwan's bad books while laughing. Meanwhile, other violence mongers can't wait to see Woo-bin get beat up. Woo-bin knows that the rooftop has cameras, so he doesn't want to fight there and ruin his reputation. He should have realized that he can't depend on the principal forever and get away with this, which is why he cooks up an idea. Woo-bin tells Suk-hwan and Ko that they don't need to go to the rooftop. He suggests they fight right there, because it won't take much time for Woo-bin to beat up Suk-hwan and his friends. Hyun-ju wonders if Woo-bin has gone mad. At the rooftop, Kang Hae-hyo stands with Kang Hae-ri. A certain amount of tension could be felt between the two. Hae-ri tells him that there is something that she wants to tell him. She then asks Kang Hae-hyo if he would like to go out with her. Kang Hae-hyo is totally bamboozled by this, as he didn't expect it at all. Hae-ri asks him why he is shocked now. Wasn't he the one who asked her out in the first place? Does he not want to go out now? Kang Hyo tells her immediately that he would love to go out with her. He starts getting too excited and borderline creepy at one point, attempting to hold Hae-ri in an inappropriate manner and telling her that he loves her. Hae-ri quickly stops him and tells him that she doesn't want that. Kang Hyo is confused. He thought that Hae-ri wanted to go out with him. Hae-ri says that while they are going to date, she has some rules to lay out before they do so. Hae-ri says that there will be no skin touching involved in their relationship going forward. She says that he can't be hugging her, holding hands with her, or even put his arms around her. This also includes no kissing. She also puts it down so that no one else other than the two of them will ever know that they're dating. This should be a secret. Kang Hyo listens to this, with a disappointed look on his face, and walks away. Hae-ri calls out to him, asking where he is heading to. Kang Hyo tells her that there is no need for her to get into a relationship with him if she doesn't want to. The way she described it, it didn't feel like they were going for a relationship, so he is fine with not having her. This doesn't feel like true love to him. After all, he knows that she doesn't like him. Kang Hae-ri wonders if Kang Hyo is dumb, and what kind of girl asks a guy out if she doesn't like him. She soon realizes how hard love really is, and starts feeling the pressure. Meanwhile, Choi Suk-hwan and Ji Woo-bin are getting ready to duke it out in the school hallway. Everyone is quite impressed by Woo-bin's courage to step up against Suk-hwan, as they think of him as a loser, while others think of him as someone who has gone out of his mind. Gyu-sang wonders if they should let this go on, as Ji Woo-bin can get seriously hurt in this fight. However, Choi Woo doesn't want them to stop. To him, this is going to be a fun watch, so he wants it to continue. As the two stand face to face, about to go at it, Hyun-ju comes to Woo-bin. She tells him that it's obvious that he has gone mad, but she will still suggest him to stop this and make a beeline for the principal's office. That way, he will be saved. Woo Bin finds this assessment quite interesting and asks Yoo Hyun-ju about the possibility of him winning. He wonders just what will she do for him if that was the case. Yoo Hyun-ju finds this hilarious, as she is sure that there is no way that Woo Bin will beat Choi Suk-hwan. Woo Bin says that if he ends up winning, she wants her to do one thing. Yoo Hyun-ju, still not serious, says that she will do anything that he wants if he wins, which won't happen. Woo Bin is quite happy with the deal he has on hand and gets ready to fight. Choi Suk-hwan wonders how Woo Bin is so confident all of a sudden. He also asks Woo Bin if he will be dropping his innocent boy mask now. Woo Bin replies by saying that Choi Suk-hwan will need to pay a big price for interfering with his plans and messing them up. Choi Suk-hwan says that Woo Bin needs to pay an even bigger price for getting into it with him. He informs Woo Bin that not even Kang Hae-hyo was able to handle him and his buddies. Saying that, Choi Suk-hwan throws his palm forward to create a diversion, as he usually does. Woo Bin is unaffected by it. He grabs Suk-hwan's hand and starts breaking his fingers one by one. Suk-hwan feels the bone-breaking pain. Woo Bin is shocked to know that someone like Kang Hae-hyo lost to Suk-hwan and his buddies. He ducks down and hits Suk-hwan with a thunderous open hand strike to the chin. Woo Bin quickly follows it up with a straight punch to the face, knocking out Suk-hwan on the spot. As he is doing so, Woo Bin says that Kang Hae-hyo must have gone easy on Suk-hwan and his buddies. If it weren't for that, the old Kang Hae-hyo that he knows would have destroyed both Suk-hwan and his friends with ease. This one-sided beatdown of Suk-hwan leaves everyone in utter shock. As Suk-hwan goes down from the blows of Woo Bin, no one can quite comprehend what just took place. Yu Sang says that for a loser, Woo Bin sure fights really well. However, Choi Woo has seen through the facade. He tells Yu Sang that he isn't a loser, he is a proper monster. Hong Bor watches Suk-hwan down and out, and in an attempt to take revenge, he decides to take on Woo Bin. Hong Bor starts the proceedings with a skipping head kick, but Woo Bin manages to duck through that. As Hong Bor is in mid-air and out of control, Woo Bin decides to attack. He hits him with a leg kick. This disbalanced Hong Bor. And to end it, Woo Bin hits Hong Bor with a swift head kick which knocks him down and out. Everyone was left in utter shock, as they couldn't believe that the nerd of the school would so easily beat Suk-hwan and Hong Bor too. Yu Sang and Choi Woo wonder just what was the reason behind Woo Bin acting like a loser until now. Woo Bin himself says that he kept his promise of it not taking too long to finish off Suk-hwan and his friend. He then turns his attention to a Yoo Hyun-ju, who was in utter shock. He walks up to her and asks her if she remembers the promise of doing any one thing he wants if Woo Bin won. Saying this, Woo Bin starts getting closer and closer to Yoo Hyun-ju. As he nears her lips, Hyun-ju thinks that just a kiss wouldn't be too bad, so she closes her eyes to get it done and over with. However, Woo Bin was just teasing her. He didn't go for the kiss. Instead, he teased her more by asking her if she thought he was going to kiss her. This embarrasses Yoo Hyun-ju. After this, Woo Bin says that he will be saving up his wish for later, before walking away. This leaves Hyun-ju wondering just who is the guy. Why did he act like a nerd until now? Whatever that it may be, Hyun-ju started to find him quite hot. This leaves her in a dilemma. After he leaves, other students start the cleanup procedure by dragging away Suk-hwan and Hong Bor. Hyun-ju's friends ask her what is the whole deal with her. She explains that Woo Bin actually likes her, and she finds him quite cool after this fight too. One of the friends doesn't understand the problem part of this, but the other one explained the situation Hyun-ju has with Seo-jun. They weigh up both options. Woo Bin is the guy with 4-star looks, 5-star intelligence, 5-star fighting skills, and 3-star money.
Woo Bin also seemingly likes Hyun-jo.
On the other hand, Seo-jun is the guy with 5-star looks, 3-star intelligence, 4-star fighting skills, and 5-star money. Seo-jun doesn't like her and needs to be seduced. One of the girls vouches for Woo Bin, saying that he is the better choice overall. And besides that, Woo Bin already likes Hyun-ju, so it is going to be easier than Seo-jun, who has a girlfriend already. However, the other one is still firmly on Team Seo-jun, saying he is the one with a lot of money. He is the heir to a big company, so he is the better choice, even if it means seducing him. They argue quite a lot, going back and forth on how intelligence matters more, which is why Woo Bin will get a great paying job. However, the other one thinks it doesn't compare to the money that Seo-jun will get from his inheritance. It's basically an argument between someone who doesn't think money is the most important part versus someone who considers it the most important thing in life. The two girls get close to getting physical with each other as their ideals clash hard. Seeing this, Yoo Hyun-ju steps in and tells them to stop. She says that she already has her stuff figured out, so there's no problem. The girls get excited and wonder if she chose Seo-jun or Ji Woo-bin. After building it up for a bit, Hyun-ju reveals that she has decided on going for a love triangle. That way she can have both. After all, she is not obligated to be committed to either of them. She's not married after all. This is why she chose this. She also starts understanding why some women decide to date multiple men. The scene shifts after some time passes by. Kang Hae-hyo is down from the rooftop. As he is walking, he thinks about the stuff Hae-ri said and the conditions she presented to him. It makes him think that Hae-ri never liked him after all. However, after putting some thoughts into it, he wonders why would Hae-ri ask him out in the first place if she didn't like him? This makes him flustered up, as he assumes that Hae-ri did all of this because she feels shy about the relationship. But another part of him says that there's something more to it than what he knows. He is left a confused mess, as he can't quite figure out just what is it that Hae-ri wants. Just then, he bumps into Ji Woo-bin, who is playing his innocent character again. Kang Hae-hyo is a bit pissed off, but Woo-bin apologizes. As they ran into each other, Kang Hae-hyo asks Woo-bin for some advice. He asks Woo-bin what should he do when he likes a girl but can't quite figure her out. He asks him because he knows that Woo-bin is smart. Woo-bin says that he has no idea about these things. He is good at solving mathematical equations and doing entrance exams, not romance. Kang Hae-hyo is disappointed by this, as he thought that Woo-bin was smart enough to give him a solution. As Kang Hae-hyo is about to leave, Woo-bin calls out to him. He tells him that he should not be focusing on girls at this, because he has a lot coming up in the future. Kang Hae-hyo is bothered by this, as he wonders what right does Woo-bin have to tell him what to do. Woo-bin then tells him to visit the infirmary when he can, because he has left a few gifts for him there. This makes Kang Hae-hyo happy, as he forgives Woo-bin for now as he has prepared gifts for him. Later on, Kang Hae-hyo goes on to visit the infirmary, as was suggested by Ji Woo-bin. Upon arriving there, he notices that his friend, Choi Suk-hwan, is severely injured. He has bandages on his face and nose, while his fingers are broken. Seeing him in this stage makes Kang Hae-hyo mad, as he wonders if nerdy Ji Woo-bin is the perpetrator behind all of this. Kang Hae-hyo is worried about Suk-hwan. He tried to call out to him, but Suk-hwan didn't respond. That is when Hong-bor gets up from his bed and tells Kang Hae-hyo that it was indeed Woo-bin who beat them both up. Choi Suk-hwan had asked for Hong-bor's backing for this fight, because apparently it had something to do with Kang Hae-hyo's past. This shocks Kang Hae-hyo, as he asks Hong-bor if they both had gotten beaten up by the nerd. Hong-bor says that they did. It was because Ji Woo-bin uses a technique that they had never seen before. He them in an instant, and this caused them both to go down. He clarifies that he got kicked in the knee very early on, which rendered him useless. He also adds that Suk-hwan didn't want to tell Kang Hae-hyo about this. This makes Kang Hae-hyo emotional, as he realizes that Suk-hwan wanted to protect him by not letting him know of this. He understands just how great of a friend Suk-hwan really is, and declares to himself that Suk-hwan is his greatest friend ever. He asks Hong-bor if Suk-hwan had gone into coma from the beatdown. Hong-bor, kind of embarrassed, says that Suk-hwan was only sleeping. Kang Hae-hyo thinks Hong-bor is hiding something, as he points out at his serious injuries. Hong-bor tells him that he only broke his pinky finger, and the rest are cuts. Kang Hae-hyo asks him if that was the case. Then why did Suk-hwan tell him to not tell Kang Hae-hyo about it? Hong-bor replied that it is because the whole situation was embarrassing. He didn't want to admit that he got his butt hooped by the nerd. Kang Hae-hyo immediately takes back all the great things he said about Suk-hwan as a friend. On the other hand, Pai-han-ul invites Ji Woo-bin to a discreet place to discuss something. Upon arriving there, Woo-bin asks what is that Pai-han wants from him. Pai-han said that he wants the two of them to team up. After all, they seem to have the same goal. Woo-bin doesn't quite get it, so Pai-han explains that both of them want to wipe out Kang Hae-hyo, which is why the two of them should team up. Woo-bin asks why he should team up with someone like Pai-han. So Pai-han explains how Kang Hae-hyo has tons of friends. Gangnam's strongest, Seojun, the 3-star faction of Gangbuk. He is also tight with Choi Suk-hwan now. This makes him a well-protected man. So no matter how strong Woo Bin is, he won't be able to ski down Kang Hae-hyo on his own. Woo Bin states that he likes the sound of the idea. Pai-han is happy, so he further elaborates that if they team up, he will set up the rest of the guys to go after them. Woo Bin scoffs, saying that none of the guys at the school are strong, so it doesn't matter anyway. Pai-han doesn't agree with that. He puts forward an example. If someone puts 2 predators in a cage with each other and starve them, what will they do? If someone thinks that they'll start attacking each other, then they are wrong. They will just wait for the right opportunity. When the opposite side gets weakened, they'll pounce on the opportunity. Just like that, the school has tons of sleeping lions within their ranks. Kang Hae-hyo and his friends might just be the number 1 squad at the moment, but once the sleeping lions are mobilized, they'll be in trouble. Pai-han suggests that they can be using all of those guys to beat the Kang Hae-hyo faction and rule as the definitive number 1s. Ji Woo-bin smiles and says that it is quite a nice idea, before going to deliver his answer. As his answer, Woo-bin hits Pai-han in the midsection, dropping him. Meanwhile, Kang Hae-hyo is mad and is looking for Ji Woo-bin. He makes his way to the section where Ji Woo-bin stays. After going there, Kang Hae-hyo intimidates everyone with his sheer presence. He asks the student there for the whereabouts of the nerd. The students quickly grasp that they are talking about Ji Woo-bin. They inform Kang Hae-hyo that Ji Woo-bin has gone to meet someone. A guy who wears a cap, to be exact. Kang Hae-hyo thinks about it for a bit before thinking to himself, if the guy who wears a cap is Pai-han. Back to the other scene, Pai-han is down on his knees. As the wind has been knocked out of his lungs thanks to the blow from Ji Woo-bin. He says that the 2 of them had the same goal. Then why did Ji Woo-bin decide to strike him? Ji Woo-bin explains his reasoning behind the sudden attack, stating that he did it because he despises Pai-han's thinking. Pai-han refers to people like himself as sleeping predators. He says that they are waiting for the perfect moment to strike, when in actuality they're a whole lot of nothing. They aren't predators. They're more like pet cats who have left their house. They got nothing on him. Pai-han, devastated, asks Ji Woo-bin if he plans on taking on Kang Hae-hyo and his squad on his own. Ji Woo-bin replies that he doesn't plan on doing that. In fact, he already has his plan ready. His brothers from the orphanage from where he and Kang Hae-hyo come from are already in the school. They all hate Kang Hae-hyo a lot and won't think twice about ending him. Back to the hostel room, the guys who were acting innocent have suddenly turned evil. They surround Kang Hae-hyo. After that, they ask him if he really forgot about them, or if he is just pretending not to know them. This overwhelms Kang Hae-hyo, and he falls down on his ass. The guys ask him just what had happened to him. They get it that he lost his memories, but is he weak now all of a sudden? They wonder how the angel of destruction, who tormented them in the past, has become like this. The guys then decide to lock the door down, as they want to beat him up in a captive area. They don't want him to run away. Kang Hae-hyo is even more bothered by this, as he realizes that now there won't be anyone coming to help him, and he can't run away either. The guys are genuinely surprised seeing Kang Hae-hyo being so scared. They ask him how the angel of destruction had such a huge downfall. Kang Hae-hyo is confused. He asks them just what do they mean when they refer to him as the angel of destruction. The guys tell Kang Hae-hyo that he already knows that they won't be answering questions. So if he really wants the answer to his question, he has to beat them all up. Only then will he get the answer. Kang Hae-hyo realizes the kind of pickle he has gotten himself into and wonders if they can somehow solve it with words. Outside the room, Sang-ah is teaching Kang Hae-ri how to walk sexually. Kang Hae-ri tries her best to look sexy, but fails. She says that walking like this is difficult. It makes her back hurt. Sang-ah explains that of course it will hurt her back, because she is walking with her but popping out. Sang-ah told her to walk while having some shake on the booty, but she is over-exaggerating it. Hae-ri tries a different approach next, but Sang-ah shuts it down as she has her belly out. Hae-ri tries to adjust again, but she's once again back to the uncomfortable position. Sang-ah tells Hae-ri to stop. She says that she is not cut out for this. Hae-ri says that she thought she was doing well. Sang-ah asks her just why is she wanting to be sexy all of a sudden? Kang Hae-ri explained that it is because she lived her entire life as three-star factions Kang Hae-hyo until now. Living as a boy, she was always jealous of seeing girls being cute and gossiping with each other. She wanted to do that too, but felt it was too late to do so. However, now that she is back to being a girl, she wants to try it. Sang-a doesn't believe it, and suggests that Hae-ri is doing it to seduce someone. Hae-ri initially denies the allegation, but eventually, she admits to having a crush on someone. Sang-a wants to know who she has a crush on before teaching her. Hae-ri tells her that it is a guy. Sang-a walks away, saying that there is no way that she has a crush on a guy. Hae-ri threatens to beat her up if she doesn't teach her. Sang-a suggests her to beat up the guy she has a crush on to make him her boyfriend. Hae-ri finally snaps and is about to punch Sang-a. Sang-a also gives in and accepts the punch that is about to hit her. However, Hae-ri doesn't hit her. Hae-ri breaks down, saying that she doesn't know why people don't believe her. Even the guy doesn't believe that she likes him. She cries and says that maybe it's not possible to become a girl after 16 years of living as a boy. Sang-a realizes that Hae-ri is serious and tells her that she is willing to help her with it. However, she first wants to know who the guy is. Hae-ri is about to tell her who it is, but the time she says Kong, a door beside them explodes. Hae-ri and Sang-a wonder what it is about. Is it a fight? The bald lackey of Ji-woo-bin falls out, and out comes Kang Hae-hyo with blood all over his face. Kang Hae-hyo asks the guy to tell him who he is. Kang Hae-ri is shocked to see that it was Kang Hae-hyo, different from his usual jolly nature. The bald guy, hurt, realizes that Kang Hae-hyo is still indeed the angel of destruction, despite the fact that he has lost his memories. Kang Hae-hyo tells him to quicken up and answer him about his identity, or else he will take his life right there. Behind Kang Hae-hyo, the huge guy shows up and grabs a hold of Kang Hae-hyo. He tells Kang Hae-hyo that he will be the one whose life will be taken away, as Kang Hyo struggles to get out of the hold. The bald guy gets back up and tells the giant dude to hold Kang Hae-hyo still, as he is about to unload some strikes onto him. As the bald guy is going to do so, Hae-ri gets pissed off. She runs after the guy, finding the two of them ganging up on Kang Hae-hyo to be very cowardly. However, Hae-ri's help is unneeded, as Kang Hae-hyo catches the baldy with his legs. He wraps his legs around the baldy's head and twirls his body around with a lot of power to perform a head scissor. The baldy goes down, and Kang Hae-hyo is also out of the giant one's grasp. However, Kang Hae-hyo is in a tough predicament, as the giant guy is about to hit him. Kang Hae-hyo pushes into the giant with full force, before using that momentum to grab a hold of him and slamming him down judo style. Kang Hae-hyo makes sure to slam him down on top of the bald guy. This knocks out the both of them. Kang Hae-ri is genuinely shocked by this display of brutal strength and intent from Kang Hae-hyo. She quickly goes over to check up on him as he is bleeding. However, Kang Hae-ri is met with a demonic stare by Kang Hae-hyo. Kang Hae-ri gets scared immediately, as Kang Hae-hyo doesn't look at her like this. He is looking at her like he is about to take her life in that instance. Just then, it is revealed that Kang Hae-hyo was actually not staring at Kang Hae-ri. He was in fact staring at the dastardly Ji-woo-bin, who was standing right behind Hae-ri. Kang Hae-hyo still stares with a demonic intent before asking Hae-ri who she is. This both shocks and pisses Hae-ri off. She asks Kang Hae-hyo if it is nice to behave like this with someone who just came here to attend to his wounds. However, Kang Hae-hyo asks her to reveal her identity right away, or he will make her pay. Just then, Ji-woo-bin speaks up and says that Kang Hae-hyo seems to be getting his memories back. Kang Hae-hyo is confused. He asks Ji-woo-bin just who he is and which group he is affiliated with. Besides that, what does that group have to do with him? Ji-woo-bin understands that Kang Hae-hyo still hasn't recovered most of his memories, which makes it even more impressive that he managed to beat 3 of his top guys without his memories. Hae-ri asks Kang Hae-hyo if he knows who the guy is, to which Kang Hae-hyo says that he doesn't quite know yet. Just then, the third lackey of Ji-woo-bin crawls out of the room while he is beat up and bloody. He says that Kang Hae-hyo used a cheap trick to beat them. Ji-woo-bin says that he already told them not to tell Kang Hae-hyo about their identities, because that way, the 3 of them wouldn't be able to handle him. The guy replies that they were aware of that. However, Kang Hae-hyo came off as so weak and without any memories of the past, that it made them think they could teach him a good lesson. They were about to do so until Kang Hae-hyo went cheap. A flashback is shown of that incident. The three of them were about to beat up Kang Hae-hyo, but Kang Hae-hyo told them to wait. Kang Hae-hyo wanted to say something to them. Despite being opposed to it at first, they later allowed to let him say what he wanted as a last will of sorts before finishing him off for good. Kang Hae-hyo took this opportunity to take his show out and told them that they were now done for because he has his shoes off. The guys were confused by this nonsensical statement, but just then, Kang Hae-hyo threw the shoe at the light of the room. This made the entire room go dark. Back to the present, the guy explains that they had thought that they had the advance. However, once the light went off, Kang Hae-hyo went ballistic on them, which is why they lost. Ji Woo-bin laughs at this. He tells Kang Hae-hyo that it is honestly surprising that he used his brains to win this one. The old him would have never done that. Kang Hae-hyo replies that he doesn't care about the old him. He just wants to know who the heck Ji Woo-bin is. Ji Woo-bin laughs again and agrees to tell. Meanwhile, at the principal's office, Hyun-ju is summoned. She has been told by the principal to break off all ties with Ji Woo-bin. Hyun-ju shames her father for telling her to break up with Ji Woo-bin just because he grew up in an orphanage. She didn't think he was so low. He can't be telling her to do something like that for such a reason. The principal scolds her, saying that she doesn't know about the inner details, so she should stop talking. Hyun-ju goes silent, so the principal asks her why she has gone silent. Hyun-ju replies that it is because the principal told her to not talk. The principal yells at her again for talking back. He dismisses her and complains about her short skirt again. Hyun-ju takes this opportunity to get back at her father, telling him that she will tell her mom that he has been watching a lot of X-rated videos lately. On a serious note, Hyun-ju thinks about how this messes up all her plans. She wanted to use Hyun-ju to get rid of Im Sang-ah and Kang Hae-ri, but now all of that has gone to ruins. Hyun-ju unexpectedly starts tearing up after that. She believes it's a cheap move for her father to behave this way just because Ji Woo-bin is an orphan. Because in her own eyes, she is no more than an orphan herself. The principal feels bad seeing his daughter cry that way. He didn't even tell her to do this because he is an orphan. He told her to break up because of the real dark identity of Ji Woo-bin. Back to the school hallway, Hae-ri and Kang Hae-hyo are both shocked. As Ji Woo-bin launches himself at Kang Hae-hyo, saying that he will definitely remember who Woo-bin is after getting beat up. In a fraction of a second, Ji Woo-bin beats the heck out of Kang Hae-hyo. He hit him with 3 straight jabs. The power and speed is so much that it sends Kang Hae-hyo flying back. Kang Hae-ri gets chills down her spine from what she just witnessed. In less than a moment, Ji Woo-bin somehow got in 3 straight punches. All of them were so powerful that it absolutely destroyed Kang Hae-hyo. She wonders if Kang Hae-hyo is even okay after that. Kang Hae-hyo sees his eyes slowly fading away. He starts seeing everything go blurry in front of him until he gets knocked out. Just as Woo-bin had said, the punches really made him remember the past. Kang Hae-hyo started seeing his time in the orphanage. There, they were all following a knife-based martial arts training session. This all seemed very militaristic. Everyone was practicing with a partner there. And Kang Hae-hyo's partner there was none other than Ji Woo-bin, before he dyed his hair to silver. Suddenly, things start going blur once again for Kang Hae-hyo. The next thing he knows, he is back at seeing the present time inside the school. There he sees the same face, Ji Woo-bin. Meanwhile, the principal was thinking about why he stopped his daughter from dating Ji Woo-bin. It is because all the kids from our orphanage are all trained assassins. They are made to be used as weapons to take human lives. Kang Hae-hyo was being rushed at by Ji Woo-bin, who looked set to finish him off. However, this time, Kang Hae-hyo looked more determined than ever. As Ji Woo-bin charges in at him, Kang Hae-hyo tries to flip him over, but Ji Woo-bin is too critical with his striking, so he connects a clean hit. Kang Hae-hyo is hurt again, and this triggers another memory retention for him. He remembers the time when he and Ji Woo-bin were fighting each other at the orphanage. It was a competitive fight. Kang Hae-hyo is confused. He doesn't know what all these random memories are about. As he is distracted, Ji Woo-bin tries to take over and unload on Kang Hae-hyo. Hae-ri noticed this and wanted to make it fair. Kang Hae-hyo was already injured. She goes to hit Ji Woo-bin with a kick, knowing full well that he won't be able to dodge such a sudden kick. However, Ji Woo-bin uses Matrix-like reflexes to dodge the kick. Hae-ri is genuinely shocked by this, but tries to catch him with an axe kick instead. Ji Woo-bin uses cat-like agility to get out of the way. Hae-ri can't believe the reaction speed of Ji Woo-bin. Just then, the guy who crawled out of the room tells Ji Woo-bin to take care of Kang Hae-hyo, as he will be taking care of Hae-ri. Ji Woo-bin warns the guy, telling him that she is not just some random chick with kicks. However, the guy is confident because it is a girl after all, and thus begins a vicious two-way fight.